Bluetooth radio, or portable pellet grill with a qualifying PAR deck package purchase. But hurry, offer ends soon. Visit par.com for details. PAR, your total home building source. Go where the builders go.
Let's go!
This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma.
This hour is brought to you by the Harnish Auto family.
Get in the freaking auto!
This is Brock and Salk
Brock Ewert is my hero.
Jay Buhner just punched me in the kidney.
on Seattle Sports.
We're going to excuse you on the interview.
Doesn't really work that way, Sherm. This is a show that has my name on it.
It kind of does, though.
Brought to you by Simply Seattle.
Now here are your hosts, Brock Ewert and Mike Salk.
Hello! Good morning. We got the full crew back. We have a Mike. We got Justin and Maura, and not Mike Salk. Mike Lefko here with you on a fine Tuesday morning. You guys were not here on Friday, but my theory was, and I'll throw it out there to see if you agree. So you just heard Salk say, Jay Buhner punched me in the kidney. I think that Salk secretly went to Buhner Buzzcut, and that's why he hasn't come back yet. So Jay shaved his head, punched him in the kidney again, and Salk is now spending this week recovering. What do you think about that?
Photoshopping pictures of the vacation.
Well, Justin was there, so he could
I know.
confirm or
Oh, yeah,
deny.
I never got to pay it off. Yeah, Buhner
Oh,
buzzed
there
my
we go.
head.
Oh, now it's kind of grown back.
I know.
And
Well,
you got lucky because, Cal is bald. Yours looks like just a buzz cut.
right. So I went because I had to go to a wedding this weekend. I went the day before and was like, I'm going to get cleaned up. Because it's not like Jay Buhner's going to, take care of the
Really?
neckline and do
All
the,
right.
whatever.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm going to a wedding. I need at least to get, the back part,
Yes,
whatever.
at this wedding that has a bull ring and a sequin costume, so
I
you
was
need to
going
make
to say,
sure
I
your
don't
hair is
think a
perfect.
bald head would have been
But
really out of the ordinary.
I watched, so I told when I sat down to get my head shaved by Jay, I was like, hey, I'm putting a number 2 guard on this thing. He's like, yeah, okay, whatever, doesn't care. What Cal tried to do a similar thing, and then the actual Mariners barber came
Right.
over and was like, hey, let me finish it up. And then went way, way, way buzzed. And that's not what Cal had originally, I guess, said he wanted. So he got himself swindled.
Well, he didn't have a hit for the next 5 at bats. So
Yeah.
everyone was jokingly saying, well, that's the reason why he lost his power.
Changed something up.
Yeah, shaved it all off. Hey,
Man of the
welcome
people,
back.
though.
Yeah,
Thank you.
welcome back.
Thank you.
Well, Maura was back yesterday. Justin, the only talk I want to have in this segment is hearing stories about your wedding. So we have plenty of time to get to
Well,
Mariners.
it wasn't my wedding. I
No,
should
the
make
wedding,
sure
it's
we
true.
clear that up.
Well, Betsy doesn't exist anyway, as the people of this show think. So
Yeah.
I want to hear stories about the wedding you attended because everyone listening, we have plenty of time to get to the first game of this Mariners Guardians series. We'll talk about Seahawks, talk about Mariners. We have Jeff Passan joining us at 8:30. One of the new voices of Madden joining us at 7:30. No, it's not Brock Ewert. He'll be here a little bit earlier. Kate Scott, who is calling the game with him. So that's going to be fascinating to talk to a play-by-play voice of a video game. Be a lot of fun. Of course, she calls Seahawks preseason games as well. But all that's later. Justin, you had
I'm
a
more
wedding
interested
that
to know what it was like to spend hours and hours with Brock.
Oh, jeez, true. I honestly, I don't think they were in the same room a lot. So we'll get clarification. I think they were able to record on their own time and separately, and then they kind of pieced it together. But I'm sure there was some back and forth. You're right. That and in a closed room with Brock for many, many hours sounds awful. So hopefully it was just a short period of time. But you kind of gave some of the description, Maura. And Justin, what was going on at this wedding?
This was
Not your wedding,
first
the
of
wedding
all,
you
not
attended.
My wedding.
Yes.
This has set a new bar for weddings that I've ever been to, ever. It was already hyped very, very well by the bride and groom because that's, part of their lives is that they like to have absurd times and parties and get-togethers, and that's probably why they're so great together.
With Golden Tate.
Golden Tate was at the wedding. Yeah. There was actually another NFL player at the wedding as well who played for Boston College, who the groom went to college with, was his roommate. He didn't have a long career. His name was Matt Tennant. He played for the Saints and I think the Eagles.
Jeez. Sorry for all the Matt Tennant fans listening. Justin just dismissed you like that.
Matt's a man. He's from Cincinnati, so he grew up a Bengals fan, which is good for me. But he was there. Golden was there, and then it was sort of like a 3-day event because people were flying into Austin, which is where it was held. We're like, okay, well, what are we supposed to do for the 2 days leading up to it if we get there early? So they had a bunch of things lined up, and we got there Friday, and they had a party at the Austin Motel or Hotel that's right there on South Congress, and they had a belly flop contest. So that was fantastic because everybody got to have intro music, and the groom did a little intro for you as you came down to the pool to get your belly flop. The parents of the bride and groom were the judges, so they had a table with numbers to flip over. In-N-Out catered that part of it. So it started off high, and then Saturday was the actual wedding.
Did you win the belly flop
costume wedding?
contest?
I did not get into the belly flop costume.
Disappointed in you? That's all right.
I'm sorry. I did not do that. But the actual wedding was the costume wedding, which was themed either gold, silver, or white, and that was kind of what they were hoping people would wear. Everybody showed up in different, states of dress, and then busts 40 minutes outside into the Texas Hill Country, some town called Lockhart.
Town. Like they aren't great and famous for their barbecue. Come on.
Apparently they are, and people get stranded out there because they Uber out there to get barbecue, and they can't get back home. And was out in this area that was built by some rich guy, and it honestly felt like a Mexico wedding because of the way that it was set up and the way that it looked was like very treed in and jungly, and a blast. They had a live band. They had fantastic food. And like a fortune teller on one side, they had a tent set off where you could go like give a video confessional to the bride and groom. There were things hidden around in the trees, so if you were like exploring out in the woods, you'd find like a big treasure chest full of Jello shots. Like,
so it was a survivor wedding. You're hunting for an immunity idol out there.
It was a survivor wedding because another one of my friends ended up having to go to the hospital because he choked on a piece of pizza.
The adventures you have.
Your life.
Yeah. But then you did some minor league scouting, right? Before you made it back here.
So
you did some prospect scouting.
Wedding was Saturday. Like, what are we going to do Sunday? Because we decided to like have a day to ourselves. Another couple of my friend Justin and Megan and I decided with Betsy to go out and watch the Round Rock Express play the Tacoma Rainiers, which was a ton of fun. That's a cool little stadium. And the Rainiers absolutely destroyed the Express. We got to see Josh Young and a rehab start back there. And for some reasons, on Sunday, Father's Day at the Round Rock Stadium, Dell Diamond Stadium, they had Christopher McDonald, I think is his real name.
Just say the name.
Shooter McGavin.
Okay. No one cares about his real name.
Shooter McGavin was on hand to throw the first pitch and take pictures with fans on Father's Day.
I was going to say, of all days, that's the perfect day because think about the age of people who loved that movie who are now fathers. Like that's the target demographic. They are grown up. They're fathers now.
1,000%.
Great marketing promotion there, I guess, by the Round Rock Express. And you, of course, got a picture.
Yes, we did.
It's going to be your new station profile pic.
It should be. I should probably change that to my email signature.
Your email signature as well. So, all right, the full crew's back. That's going to be a lot of fun. The best thing that maybe has happened recently, though, and it's going to be a clip that, you know how Brock just endlessly plays things over and over again. And, ad nauseum. Yes, I figured you two would be familiar. I'm familiar, and I've only been here a couple of times with him. But I think we found our new favorite thing because all the way last Monday, we know what happened with the Cal Raleigh ejection. Not Cal Raleigh, the Scott Service ejection, saving Cal Raleigh after the White Sox umpire had a bad call in a key situation in the 8th in that White Sox-Mariners game 1. And Cal's back there. He gets heated. He's telling him, look, that's a terrible call. You haven't been calling that all night. But the best thing that happened was last night, John Boy, who's this, internet personality. He has a huge baseball following. He's become famous for his lip-reading breakdowns. And maybe the most famous one is the most famous one's the Astros scandal back with the buzzer. But in relation to us, the most famous one is the Mariners-Angels brawl from a couple years ago. And he does this incredibly comprehensive 9+ minute breakdown. So what he dropped yesterday was the lip-reading breakdown of Scott Service, Cal Raleigh, and that umpire. And we can't play 95% of it because it's filled with expletives, but this is the part that I'm going to play over and over again. Well, hold on. When my computer turns on, I'll play it.
I was up at 3:30 this morning. Oh, I'm sorry.
Anytime I make a mistake, just
that's what you're gonna scream.
And that was his voice, his impression of Scott Service with the arms up there. Whoa, I'm sorry. Fine, because the umpire is admitting to him.
I was up at 3:30 this morning. Oh, I'm sorry.
It was Chris Gucci.
I don't know how to pronounce his last name, so I'm just gonna say the umpire in that one.
Chris Guccione, yeah.
Chris Guccione. Okay, so We're going to drop that on an unsuspecting Brock at some time to be determined. But yeah, going to be a lot of fun. Kate Scott coming up at 7:30 to talk about the Seahawks and Madden. Jeff Passan at 8:30. Those conversations always entertaining. And then a lot to preview before the Mariners take on the Guardians in a huge series between two division leaders. So we'll get to that next. Everything you need to know about this series. Mike Lefko in with you. This is the Brock and Salk Show on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
Seattle Sports, your home for Wyman and Bob.
He is the one, the only John Morosi with us.
They need at least one bat at the deadline. But just as quickly, number two is they are good enough that adding a bat is such a clear and obvious approach that the front office has no choice but to do it. This time, this season, with the rotation as strong as it is as clear of a buyer as I can remember covering.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Summer's here and it's time for you to put yourself in the game. But you don't have to do it alone. Come visit the incredible showroom and the all-star team at Toyota of Kirkland. With a large selection of over 70 brand new Tundras and Tacomas on the lot, you'll be able to test drive one and take it home the same day. And don't forget about that lifetime powertrain warranty. Now that's how you become the MVP. Come in today or visit online at toyotaofkirkland.com. toyotaofkirkland.com.
Hey everybody, Bob Stelton here. I recently met with Anthony, the owner of Asset Roofing, to talk about a metal roof which can last twice as long as ordinary shingles. Asset Roofing is seeing a huge push in the market for metal roofing. They create each metal roof at their headquarters, custom to each job, and that allows them to offer metal roofs with up to a 30% discount over their competitors. Check them out at assetroofingco.com.
Certified work that's never in doubt. Asset Roofing, excellence is on the house.
Overburdened with a bunch of stuff you don't want anymore, but feel bad throwing it away? John here with Happy Hauler, Seattle's eco-friendly junk removal. We prioritize donating and recycling. We'll help get your items to those in need instead of going to the landfill. At Happy Hauler, we pride ourselves on responsibility, community, and sustainability. We're a family-run small business that provides junk removal, donations, and recycling. Make yourself, your community, and the planet happy. It's time to reclaim your space. HappyHauler.com, hauling with a heart.
A slow network is no network for business. That's why more choose Comcast Business. And now we're introducing Ultimate Speed for Business, our fastest plans yet. We're up to 12 times faster than Verizon, AT&T, and T-Mobile. And existing customers could even get up to triple the speeds at no additional cost. All from the company with 99.9% network reliability and advanced cybersecurity. It's Ultimate Speed from Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Don't miss out on our fastest speed plans yet. Get started with internet and security for $49.99 a month for 12 months with a 2-year contract. Plus, ask how to get up to an $800 prepaid card with a qualifying internet package. Don't wait. Call 1-800-501-6000 or go to ComcastBusiness.com to switch today. In 62324, restrictions apply. New customers only with 150 megabits per second internet and security edge. Eco-bill and auto-pay required. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra. Compares Comcast Business 1.25 gig to 100 megabits per second of Verizon 5G Business, AT&T Wireless Broadband, and T-Mobile for Business. Up to 3 times download for existing essential and standard internet customers.
Whether you own a local business or a global one, you're always looking for ways to position your operation to create opportunities and move on them faster. With Bank of America, you get access to experts, award-winning insights, and business solutions so powerful, you'll make every move matter, locally and globally. Visit bankofamerica.com/banking for business to learn more. What would you like the power to do? Copyright 2024, Bank of America, N.A.
Find what you love, love what you find. A Total Wine and More. There's so much waiting for you. Spirits and beer, thousands of wines. Guides in the know and prices so low. It just might blow your mind. You're gonna find what you love and love what you find.
Only at Total Wine and More. Drink responsibly. Be 21.
You want to talk about this, Park? You really want to do this? I do. You want to get into this?
Yeah, I got some questions.
All right. Well, I got answers.
The Brock and Salk Show is brought to you every day by Simply Seattle.
Lexus is electrified, and the first ever RZ450e has the performance and range to get you where you need to go with the exclusive Lexus Direct 4 all-wheel drive technology. Lexus of Bellevue has over 50 RZs available for immediate delivery with electrifying savings up to $17,000 lease cash on every RZ450e. Visit lexusofbellevue.com.
O'Brien.
On approval of credit through LFS, lease cash from Lexus available on select 2024 RZ styles. Must take delivery by July 1st, 2024. A documentary service fee up to $200 may be added to the purchase price or capitalized costs. See dealership for details.
Are you still using allergy pills and sprays to treat your allergy attacks? I'm Dr. Ryan Stern with the Stern Sinus Center. Nasal congestion, sneezing, runny nose, snoring, facial pain are just a few of the sinus symptoms we can help you out with. From allergy workups and treatments to modern nasal breathing procedures to advanced outpatient balloon sinuplasty, we can diagnose and treat your problems. Let us help you get relief, easily, quickly, and permanently. Find us in Federal Way or Auburn or at sternsinus.com. That's sternsinus.com.
Free consultations, no fee guarantees, 5-star reviews. J.P. Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains the importance of going beyond these familiar offerings.
Accident victims want an attorney, Tom, that satisfies their needs. Someone who handles those needs with the highest degree of care. Pendergast Law offers the no-fee guarantees and free consultations, but these only scratch the surface.
Okay, explain more.
We make sure that every member of our team is genuinely passionate about helping others. Customer service and communication are our top priority. It's how we take care of our clients so they always feel one step ahead of the insurance companies. Our strong reputation for high standards provides comfort and confidence when it's needed most.
Pendergast Law offers the free consultations, the no-fee guarantees, and, of course, they are 5-star rated. But what really makes them different is their genuine passion for helping others. I can't recommend them enough.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
That's PendergastLaw.com.
This hour is brought to you by the Harnish Auto family.
Need to know.
15 minutes past every hour with Brock and Salk.
Here's what you need to know. Up first.
Huge series between two division leaders begins this afternoon in Cleveland. Couple of 3:40 first pitches the next 2 days. That means pregame coverage begins right here on Seattle Sports at 2:30 and a 10:10 first pitch on Thursday. Hey, congrats. Shorter show for you guys in the morning here. That'll be nice. It's a Guardians team that comes in doing many of the same things. They did well in the series way back in early April when they took 2 of 3 against the Mariners.
They had a game plan. They were going to stay super aggressive. They were going to swing. They were going to put the ball in play, which they're really good at. And we didn't make some plays behind them. So it certainly got away from us early, and before you know it, we were out of the ball game.
That was Scott Service after the series finale loss when the Guardians really had some success on George Kirby, shut out the Mariners, got the win. They also, the game before, put up 10 hits on Luis Castillo. So they will not see Kirby this time, but they will see the trio of Bryce Miller, who starts it off getting the ball today. Ryan Wu, he's back. He gets the ball on Wednesday. Luis Castillo in the Thursday finale. And yeah, Cleveland, they strike out the fifth fewest rate of any team in baseball. They also have the best home winning percentage in the league as well, 21-8 this season. It is going to be a heck of a matchup, and it begins today at 3:40.
Here's the second thing you need to know.
If you are watching on the video stream, you might see Maura Dooley wearing a Celtics jersey this morning. Congrats, Maura. The Celtics won their 18th NBA title last night. I'm sure it's been a long, interminable wait for you long-suffering Boston sports fans. No, I know. Hey,
that's a whole new team.
I know. It's been a while. It's been a while for the Celtics, to be fair. I get that. It has been a long time for the Celtics. So if you're a Celtics fan, it has been a long wait. So congrats to Maura Dooley.
You have a team in every
Celtics.
city, so you get to experience stuff all the time, too.
Man, the shots are coming early. Don't have an NBA team, though. Yeah, okay. It's been a really, really long wait for me. But yes, the Celtics did win their 18th NBA title last night. You got to make sure when Bump gets in to remind him of that, because I know that's gonna hit him the wrong way. They passed the Lakers for the most titles. So that Celtics-Lakers rivalry alive and well between Maura Dooley and Michael Bumpus. The 106-88 win over the Mavericks. The real interest, though, lies in what... actually, you know what? Let's hear that for Maura's sake. Let's hear the celebration, the Celtics win.
And now Dallas will dribble it out. This crowd on its feet, the best team in basketball all year. All the work, all the sacrifice, handling the enormous weight of massive expectations. Ends tonight here. It's over. Time to say it again, Boston. Anything's possible. Banner number 18 has been secured. The Celtics are NBA champions.
Okay, the Jason Tatum moment was very cool. The near identical celebration. I thought he was going to say the exact same line.
Deuce.
Yeah, his son came over, and then people were putting side by side the Kevin Garnett and Jason Tatum, where they just had the same disbelief, kind of tough to comprehend in the moment, the surreal realization that, you're an NBA champion. That is a cool moment for Jason Tatum and his son. Everyone else, it's all right. Don't need to have the Celtics win anytime soon again, but congrats to Jason Tatum and Tamora. The real interest now, especially here, though, lies in what could be the most important offseason and should be the most important offseason yet in the quest to bring the NBA back to Seattle, because Adam Silver keeps talking about it. And again, he was on ESPN Radio with Mark Hestisher and PJ Carlissimo. He says they're going to look at some markets that may involve Seattle.
The next round of expansion will be more focused on continental United States. And in that case, the factors go to the amount of interest there are in those markets. Certainly markets that maybe have historically had NBA teams. You would know that well, PJ. You know, that comes into the mix as well. So those are largely the factors. And yeah, I'd say we also look where other leagues have done, where we've seen success for major league sports.
Well, that all sounds like Seattle. And Adam Silver, a little over a week ago, on with NBC Sports Boston on their pregame show, did mention 3 cities by name. He said Seattle, Vegas, and Mexico City. Hearing him there saying the continental United States, well, you can kind of put the pieces together, and it sounds like it is closer than ever. Now, the timeline, that's the great unknown, because Adam Silver has also previously said it'll come after their new media rights deal is finished. There have been numbers out there. There's a reported deal out there, but nothing finalized yet by the NBA. So it's just, all right, wait and see when that media rights deal gets finalized, and then we'll see what's next.
Here's the third thing you need to know.
Wide receivers needing new contracts. That's been the overarching storyline of the NFL offseason. That includes 49ers wideout Brandon Ayuk, who skipped minicamp, and then yesterday, Ayuk posted a TikTok of himself FaceTiming his former college teammate Jaden Daniels, recently drafted by the Commanders. And in it, Ayuk says, "They don't want me back." And Adam Schefter weighing in on what's actually going on between the Niners and Brandon Ayuk.
The 49ers have made repeated efforts to sign Brandon Ayuk. The two sides were unable to work out a deal. And now the problem that I think has entered into the situation, the scenario, is that some of these other wide receiver deals have gotten done at big numbers. And so when the talks break down, now Brandon Ayuk is saying that they don't want him back in a TikTok video. Well, they do want him back, but they don't want him back at the price that Brandon Ayuk wants to be back at.
Yeah, so certainly sounds like a negotiating tactic, but hey, there's some friction in San Francisco this offseason, and that's a pretty good thing for the Seahawks. A couple other things you need to know. The Panthers have a chance to close out the Stanley Cup final. They host the Oilers in Game 5 tonight. And for the college baseball fans out there, hey, it's a fun sport. Don't sleep on the college baseball postseason. Tennessee and Texas A&M in the catbird seat of the double elimination College World Series. They'll face the respective winners of UNC Florida State and Kentucky Florida today. And then because they're in the winner's bracket, Tennessee and Texas A&M, they need to beat those winners just once, and then they'll get to the championship series of the College World Series. That's a fun event. I don't know if either of you two have watched that, but it really makes you appreciate how good MLB pitching is. Because you get these insane, crazy games where they're like 9-9, and then Tennessee had a walk-off comeback against Florida State. They scored 4 runs in the 9th. The first 3 games of the College World Series all involved walk-offs. And yeah, the pitching really not as good at the college level. And after watching a lot of Major League Baseball, you certainly will appreciate that. But it's fun in its own right. And unfortunately, it's about to be a slow sports time. No more NBA. That's done. The NHL is probably over for the season tonight. College baseball's wrapped up. Everyone's in mourning. Salk probably in mourning because the U.S. Open is over. So no big golf tournament for another month. You're getting to the dog days, and it is just baseball the entire time. But luckily, there's a lot of exciting baseball to watch. The Mariners and the Guardians. First game of that series comes up a little bit later this afternoon. We did get some good football discussion yesterday, and this is the quietest time on the football offseason, but there's a lot more to get into, and that was everything you need to know. But there's still a lot to discuss around the Seahawks, even though they are off for, a little over a month. The NFL kind of goes silent. We will talk about that later. But up next, there's an interesting conversation that Brady Henderson and Brock had yesterday with ESPN's Dan Graziano about the Seahawks and about how teams now have to build around quarterbacks and the make-or-break situation that puts you into when you decide to go all in with a quarterback or try to manage around all of that. So we'll hear part of that conversation up next. It is Mike Lefko in with you on the Brock and Salk Show on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
Get the national perspective on the Mariners.
Swing and a miss.
miss and a slider, strike three.
With Jeff Passan, Tuesday mornings at 8:30.
I don't think that it is unrealistic to believe that they have the talent and the ability to win a championship with this team.
And John Morosi, Thursdays at 5 p.m.
Their DNA remains intact. This is a rotation-dependent team.
We are Seattle Sports, the home of the Mariners.
Hey, it's Mike Salk here for Window Nation, and this is such a busy time of year. School's ending up, and kids' sports have their big moments, vacations for a lot of folks. So if you missed out on Window Nation's semi-annual sale, you're in luck. They've extended it. Right now, you can get 50% off all window styles, plus 0% interest for 5 years, and an additional bonus if you schedule an appointment this week. Daryl, his local Window Nation team, was out at my house. You may hear some similar offers from other window companies, but I got to tell you, I trust Daryl and his team because Window Nation's professional installation teams have over 10 years of experience. They can install your new windows in just 1 day or less. And yes, they do use those customized windows by Milgard, which are made locally here in the Northwest for our climate. And yeah, weather impacts your windows, right? Especially the hot days, cold nights, which we get this time of year. That can cause cracking, seal failures, condensation. That's why Window Nation only uses top-of-the-line materials. Get a free, no-obligation quote now. Call 866-90NATION or visit windownation.com to schedule. That's 866-90NATION or windownation.com.
Saving for retirement was tough enough for us.
Yes, and navigating markets can be challenging at times.
I understand. That's why at Fisher Investments, we take a disciplined approach with your investments.
Tell us more about that.
We take an active approach to money management, positioning your portfolio for opportunities we see ahead.
So all your clients get the same portfolio?
No, we tailor your portfolio to your individual goals and needs.
What about communication? We don't like being left in the dark.
We check in regularly to keep you informed on the markets and your portfolio.
Which means you'll help us stay on track.
Yes, our goal is your comfortable retirement. And as a fiduciary, we always put your interests first, because we do better when you do better. At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
This is the story of the one. As head of maintenance at a concert hall, he knows the show must always go on. That's why he works behind the scenes, ensuring every light is working, the HVAC is humming, and his facility shines. With Grainger's supplies and solutions for every challenge he faces, plus 24/7 customer support, his venue never misses a beat. Call quickgrainger.com or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Now your ideas don't have to wait. Now they have everything they need to come to life. Dell Technologies and Intel are creating technology that loves ideas, loves expanding your business, evolving your passions. We push what technology can do, so great ideas can happen right now. Find out how to bring your ideas to life at Dell.com. Welcome to Now.
Bonneville International radio station contests are open to participants 18 years of age or older that are residents of Washington State unless otherwise specified. Employees or agents of the station, Bonneville International Corporation, other area radio stations, or any entity associated with the contests are not eligible to win unless the station otherwise specifies at its own discretion. Persons who have won in the last 60 days from a station contest or event may not be eligible. Full general contest rules are available on seattlesports.com or in person at the station during regular business hours.
Listen throughout the week to the Mariners Player Spotlight.
Ever since I got here, I want to win a World Series in Seattle, and this city's starving for another winning team.
Presented by Muckleshoot Casino Resort.
Looking for the best synthetic turf in the Northwest? At Synthetic Turf Northwest, we resell our premium line of Northwest Pro natural products to both businesses and consumers. From industry-leading supplies to expert advice, we have everything you need to complete your installation, whether it's for your customers or your own DIY project. Call us today and discover why we're the Northwest's trusted source for quality synthetic turf. Get started with Synthetic Turf Northwest and elevate your outdoor space. SyntheticTurfNorthwest.com, 425-788-0718.
It's Dave Wyman for R&R Foundation Specialist. R&R Foundation Specialist doesn't just restore and repair settling foundations. They're also able to pull retaining walls back into place. Erosion of soil and poor installation are just a couple of reasons retaining walls begin to fail. So if you have a retaining wall on your property that is leaning or cracked, you can save thousands by having R&R Foundation Specialist restore the wall rather than dealing with the enormous cost of replacement. R&R drives steel piers horizontally deep into the soil to re-anchor the wall and put it back into place. They also use incredibly strong carbon fiber straps to repair cracks and restore the structural integrity of the slab. This solution even works on seawalls. So if you suspect your foundation is settling or have a retaining wall that's leaning, it's important to have it fixed properly. Have R&R Foundation Specialist come out for free and tell you what the issue is like they did for me. Schedule your free estimate at rrfoundationspecialist.com.
Are you curious about who offers the best deals on top-rated Samsung, LG, and Sony TVs? The answer is surprising. It's not online, and it's not the warehouse clubs. The best deals on top-rated TVs are at Video Only. Don't believe it? Then check out the trade-in deals at Video Only. How about $500 for your old TV? Try doing that online. Before you buy that new TV, drop into Video Only. If you don't, you'll be sorry.
Rock and Salk's Rewind is presented by Toyota of Kirkland.
You're listening to Brock and Salk.
Weekdays 6 to 10.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Well, the market is buzzing, man. You can feel it. It's one of the things that I love about doing daily radio, Brady, is there have been a number of times over the years where you can start to feel the emotion like right back at you through your microphone, right? Where you just know. And yesterday, T-Mobile was just rocking 45,000, biggest crowd of the season right there with opening day. A baseball team that has just fueled the hope and the optimism, sitting at 8.5 up. And, as we talked about at the start of the show, this is a market that way back when in the 90s, when I was at Washington, the early 2000s, when you were in high school, it was a Mariners market, man. It was the kid. It was A-Rod. It was, 116 wins. And, man, you're starting to feel some of that emotion a couple years ago and in the drought, and certainly what they're doing right now, 8.5 games up. So we'll get back to the Mariners in about 30 minutes or so. But we'll bring on one of your buddies over there at ESPN. Dan Graziano wrote a great piece at the end of last week. And I'm going to guess, Dan, knowing how this business works a little bit, we're probably not the first market in the country you've talked to about your awesome story on NFL roster construction, because as fun as baseball is, the NFL sure seems to be 365. So how many markets have you talked to about your great piece that you wrote?
I would say I did 2 or 3 interviews toward the end of last week. But, yeah, it was a fun story to write, that's for sure. Get up a bunch of GMs talking about concepts behind roster building and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, it's been pretty good. No one seems angry, which is weird. When you write about multiple teams, usually you tick somebody off. But
wow.
Fan base wise. But I think this one was good. Steered away from that.
I heard Maura tell you. You know who I'm partnered with today. You partnered with the Hitman,
yes.
Brady the Hit. You know how he got the name, the Hitman, right?
I do not.
Tell him, Brady.
I'm not. I am not the self-styled hitman. Okay.
Fine. Then I'll say it. We play. He got that because he wrote a hit piece on Russell Wilson. That was according to the Denver. Yeah, our Denver peers, the Denver market, the Denver radio shows. Yeah, they just labeled Brady the Hitman Henderson because it was such a hit piece on Russell, even though everything.
Right, and then Russell went there and played so great.
I wonder how that story looks in Denver now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Anyways, Dan, really loved the article that you wrote, and I'm curious about just how forthcoming GMs were to you in as you were writing that story. There's some comments in there, including the comment from John Schneider about being pretty forthright about whiffing on Tedrick Thompson when they should have drafted George Kittle. Yeah, how sort of honest and open did you find GMs to be as you were asking them these questions?
Some more than others. There were some that didn't want to do the story at all. There were some that wanted to talk to me, but only on background or off the record. And then there were the few that I really appreciate that went on the record, like John. And I thought it was great. I found them to be very forthcoming. I asked everybody for like a story about like a lesson that they've learned, either a mistake they made or a success story, whatever. And I got some interesting responses there. I found out. I thought the anecdote about Ryan Poles keeping a log of all his decisions that he's made since he's become GM, I want to know more about that. Yeah, I think it was good. The ones that talked to me, Brandon Beane in Buffalo, Jason Light in Tampa, Les Snead with the Rams. I might be missing one or two, but yeah, I thought that the ones that went on the record were very forthcoming and very willing to discuss what they do. People like to talk about work.
Dan Graziano from ESPN here with us, and you can go read his piece on roster construction. And you mentioned, John, there, and the openness and the transparency. So fast forward to the roster that he and Mike McDonald have assembled here for 2024. As you look at it on paper, as we get ready for, well, the next news cycle is going to be training camp. What do you think of this talent, that acquisitions and otherwise, that this crew has put together for this season?
Well, I think one of the key aspects of the offseason was making sure to get Leonard Williams re-signed, right? I mean, that seemed like it was a priority, and obviously I think the contract he got reflects that. But, I think when you look at the Seahawks, you see a team that tends to have a pretty good roster year to year, right? And so, there's not, major overhauls. So the question is, who's going to be better this year than they were last year? That's a big element, obviously, as you guys know, of what they do there. So, is Jackson Smith and Jigba going to be a big part of the offense, to reflect his draft status? Does that mean somebody else is kind of being phased out in terms of the veteran receiver? So I'm interested in Seattle. I think I tend to expect them to be a contending team because they tend to be. I know they're behind Geno Smith. I know that, they've been close but not quite where they want to be the last couple of years. But, yeah, I mean, I think with Mike McDonald coming in, there's a lot of new. What will the defense look like? His track record indicates that, it should be pretty good once they get the concepts down. And I don't know how long that all takes, but I know, I think it's exciting. I think the idea of new there is exciting. Not that there's anything wrong with anything, Pete Carroll necessarily did, but sometimes it's time for a change. And I think that, I think you'll see the defense reflected, the difference reflected on the defensive side of the ball.
I'm curious, I forget if it was the Tampa Bay GM or if it was Les down in L.A. that just talked about you have to know where you are in your cycle, right? That you don't live on the equator where, it's the same season all year round. You have multiple seasons in a year in the NFL. You have multiple cycles. As you kind of just laid out there, the Seahawks for 14 years with Pete and John, I don't think there was ever this, we're in go-for-it mode. Certainly in 12, 13, 14, with all their young talent growing and assembling. But do you feel like you have to be in a rebuild, you have to be in a go-for-it, you have to be in a cycle, or can you do what you just said, and, the Seahawks have illustrated, kind of be a constant winner?
Yeah, I was at Seahawks training camp some years ago, and I had a nice talk with Pete Carroll and sort of asked him about the concept of knowing where you are in your roster cycle and, are you a rebuilding team? Are you, and he kind of I'll never forget it. He looked at my recorder. He said, turn that thing off. And then he started talking. He says, I'd never believed in that rebuilding stuff. He's like, I think you go for everything you possibly can every single season. And I always remember that conversation. And I always felt like, Seattle's always in this position. There are some teams in the league that do it this way, right? Pittsburgh never wants to be a rebuilding team, right? They're always going to try and field a contender no matter where they're. But yeah, I think when we're talking for the story about knowing where you are in your roster's life cycle, I think a lot of that's tied to the quarterback, right? A lot of that is tied to, how far along is he in his development, and then what are you doing around him? Where are you picking in the draft? Where do you need to reinforce? And so I do think that no matter who you are, and no matter whether you're a rebuild team or you're a contender or whatever you want to call yourself, I do think that there's an element of sort of knowing where you are in your roster's life cycle. I mean, look, Seattle traded Russell Wilson because they didn't feel like they were going to pay him another big contract, right? But they also felt decent about the quarterbacks they had, right? They felt like Geno Smith could at least go play, right, and give him something. And so, assessing that, I think is a big reason why maybe they made that move when they did, as opposed to a year earlier. So I think that's an example of not necessarily strictly, hey, we're rebuilding, we're contending, but also sort of, well, where exactly on that spectrum are we, and how equipped are we to make this move?
Yeah, that's both a really good feeling and a really disappointing feeling, Dan, when you are talking to a source and they tell you to turn the microphone off because you know you're about to get something really good, but you also know that you can't use it. But I want to go back to the story you wrote, and a big piece of it was, okay, first identifying your quarterback and then figuring out how you're going to pay him and afford everything else. And I think the timing of the story was great because it was right around the time that Trevor Lawrence's extension got done. And $275 million, $55 million per year, which I believe ties him with Joe Burrow for the highest paid player in the NFL. Now, okay, if we're ranking quarterbacks in the NFL, where does Trevor Lawrence rank? Okay, is he somewhere around 10, 11, 12? I mean, what I'm getting at here is this is the way the quarterback game is played typically, is if the guy is in like the top 10 or 15, then generally whenever it comes time for him to get his deal, he's going to be up there. Like, he's going to set the market. And I'm just curious if we're going to start to see teams say, and maybe small market teams say, we're not going to play that game. We're not going to make this guy the highest paid quarterback or the second highest paid quarterback and have to do all the things you got to do to compensate for that roster wise when this guy is maybe the 10th, 11th, 12th best quarterback in the NFL. Do you think we're going to see more of that as these quarterback contracts continue to skyrocket?
Well, I mean, you would hope so, but it's going to take some guts, right? Like, so talking to these GMs for this story, Brandon Beane in Buffalo, he was talking about, like, you know, what do you have at quarterback? Do you have a guy? Do you have a top 5 guy? Do you have, you know, not a top 5 highest paid guy, but do you have a top 5 guy? And if you don't, can you get away with paying him like one? And I think that's, you know, that's where you are if you're Jacksonville. That's where you are if you're, I mean, I don't know, Dallas. Like these are the kinds of decisions these teams have to make. Like, if you don't have Mahomes, right, who can make up for the deficiencies that are created elsewhere on your roster when the quarterback takes up a huge percentage of the cap. So I think that's a big part of it. And then, like, talking to Brian Gutekunst, the Packers GM, you know, I was like, hey, you didn't get a break. Like, you never got the Jordan Love rookie contract benefit because you were carrying Aaron Rodgers' big number the whole way, and now you got to pay Jordan. And he said, yeah, it's just cost of doing business. He said, like this, it's just, there's no such thing as too many resources at the quarterback position. So, I mean, I guess that's a couple different ways to look at it, but you very rarely see teams do what Seattle did, sort of take a leap at quarterback, right? Like the most teams probably, going back a couple of years, if they were in the Seahawks position, would have given Russell Wilson the contract, which obviously would have been a mistake, as Denver found out. So it takes some guts, it takes some job security, and you know, it takes some confidence in the rest of your roster. So in theory, should it start to happen? Yes, but I don't know, man. Like, I don't see a lot of teams that are in the situation where they're comfortable enough to make that call.
Well, there's a guy that could play a role in that, and he's right here in Geno Smith. You know, who was comeback player of the year in once they moved on from Russell and just, you know, broke franchise records. Amazing. Last year was great in the clutch, but, you know, struggled because of an offensive line that couldn't protect him. I mean, Dan, as I hear you talk about that, what an opportunity for Mike McDonald and John Schneider of what they're paying Geno this year and have him under contract if they need him for again next year. I mean, can't you look at this and go, my goodness, you know, Seattle has an opportunity here if Geno in a new system, Geno with a new coach, Geno with a better defense, Geno with a little bit more help can take a step and not be the 15th ranked quarterback, but be a top 5 to top 10 quarterback. And they've got an opportunity to do some amazing things.
No question about it. But I think if you're another team looking at that situation, you have to accurately assess what happened there with Geno Smith, which is he was already there for several years, right? So he was sort of the program. He had been kind of learning and developing in a backup role, which is another thing you don't see very often in this league. So it's not just – and like, look at what Tampa did with Baker Mayfield last year, getting him on a cheap deal, and then he bounces back and plays well and leads them to the playoffs. So there are ways to do it, but you have to – this is the other part of the story, right? You have to accurately assess what's in your building in terms of the coaching staff, not how good they are, but how much they're going to buy into the player. Do they like him well enough to weather the ups and downs of his development or his, you know, whatever, his season? And, you know, does he fit the scheme? Does he, what the offense wants to do and all that stuff? So I think Seattle, yes, got fortunate with Geno, but I think you make your own luck too. And the fact that they had him in the building, that he knew they had some degree of belief in him, that he knew the surroundings and he kind of knew what was expected of him because he had been functioning in that backup role. And I'll never forget when I talked to Gino in training camp last year, he said he always told Pete, when Pete would say, all right, the twos are up, Gino would run out there and run past Pete and say, I'm not a two, coach. I'm 1A. Right. That was his attitude. So you have to foster that if you're gonna get what Seattle got out of him.
A couple great nuggets there in background. That's what Dan Graziano is all about, what he does, why he's one of the best over there at ESPN. Wrote a great piece. Go read it over there at ESPN.com. Dan, hopefully we can do this again when everybody gets back to work in a month or so and training camps begin, man. Appreciate the time.
Thanks, Dan.
Sounds good, guys. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it was a good conversation there between Brady Henderson and Brock. And it really is an interesting kind of thorough breakdown, the perspective that Dan Graziano got from front office people. You don't usually get the GM perspective like that from John Schneider, Les Snead, a couple other guys. They were pretty forthcoming, and we know in the NFL how secretive everyone is.
Well, and he said some GMs he talked to were
That's
like
true.
that.
Yes.
But he did get quite a few to open up.
So going back to the thing that everyone was talking about with the Rams and Byron Murphy, I was surprised that they allowed that much access or that to get out.
Me too.
Them discussing all those intricacies of trying to move up in the draft, because now you kind of understand, and I'm glad they did. I mean, it's a fascinating inner working of what goes on in a war room on draft night. And I made the joke yesterday that, how do you feel if you're Jared Verse? Because you hear the Rams talking, and they're like, okay, we really want Brock Bowers. All right, yes, let's go. We want Murphy. Nah, Murphy's not getting past 16.
I wanted to know what Salk thought, too, because he wanted Jared Verse, I think, over Byron.
Really?
Murphy. Yeah.
Over Byron Murphy. Wow.
Now, I wonder if he changed his tune knowing that Sean McVay, Boy Wonder, wanted him.
It's not like I wasn't excited about Byron Murphy, but that's something that did get me a little more excited. So if people didn't hear the clip, here it is. And it's tough to kind of piece it all out together because it is pulled from the documentary that the pick is in. I think it's on Roku. It's behind the scenes look at the draft, which is pretty cool that it came out here. But wait, did you guys already play this? I don't want to play it again if you did.
Yesterday, yeah, we played it.
All right, never mind. So, hey, you already heard it. We won't play it again. But yeah, McVay, Snead talking about trying to move up the Colts and then the Seahawks. I did like that the Cardinals had that a little bit last year, but they waited a year for it to come out. So maybe it's a motivation for Jared Verse. But the big takeaways in that Graziano piece, and you heard that discussion, it's the quarterback situation. You're either paying a guy top tier money because you think you have him, and then you have a very narrow window to operate, or you're in this situation that the Seahawks find themselves in where you're paying Gino like he is the guy, and you have a decision to make next year if you're going to keep paying him because that cost increases, and he's not a bad quarterback, but he's not a top 5 quarterback in the league either. So can you win in a situation like that? Because soon it will get much more expensive. I think that's a fascinating question. That's what every single team is dealing with. Look at the Bills, who are about to be in so much of a frenetic cap situation. They already unloaded Stephon Diggs because Josh Allen's, this is something that Dan Graziano outlined in the piece specifically with the Bills. Josh Allen's cap hit this year, $30 million. Next year, do you know what it goes up to next year for the 2025 season? $60.7 million.
I was going to say 40.
$60 million.
God.
Josh Allen is about to take up almost the entirety of the Bills' cap. So how do you build around that? You really can't. And the Chiefs have managed to kind of dance around that a little masterfully, but they also
so far he has kind of shown that he can't get it done in crunch time.
So yeah, how do you feel if you're the Bills or a Bills fan that you haven't been good enough already, and now it's about to get that much more difficult to build around Josh Allen? So their window's almost done.
Well, and it's starting to get to the point where it just feels like if you have a quarterback that's even somewhat decent and you aren't in a position to find another one, you just have to pay them the next time. Like Trevor Lawrence getting the money he got last week, I think kind of stunned everyone.
Well, that's what Brady asked, right? He goes, where would you rank Trevor Lawrence as a quarterback? And he's probably not in the top 6. He's not in the, he's definitely around 10, but you're going to pay him literally top tier money. I mean, he's making the most AAV in NFL history, along with Joe Burrow. So Joe Burrow, who has been to a Super Bowl, Trevor Lawrence, who you don't know what you have there. It's tough, and this is why this might be the last chance for the Niners as well. I mean, the Bills are in a situation where they're about to be unmanageable with Josh Allen. The Niners have to make a decision, And I think that will define this year and next year because Brock Purdy's deal is done after 2025. His 4-year rookie contract, and you don't get that 5th-year option because he wasn't drafted in the first round. So Brock Purdy, who is a nice $1 million cap hit this year, that's about to go up to what? Josh Allen numbers? Trevor Lawrence numbers? I don't know. And I'm trying to think, and I know this has been discussed, and they talked about this as well. Which quarterback do you think will be the cap, the limit? There's going to be a time where there's not going to be a quarterback good enough to surpass what Joe Burrow's getting or Allen or Patrick Mahomes. And I don't know if there's one out there yet. And I think the Niners are going to be the one that decides, hey, are we going to break the market again? Are we going to reset that number? Or are we just not going to go past that with Brock Purdy?
Man, the part that we brought this up, I think, a couple weeks ago, that makes it so hard as well is the other factor of how long your offensive coordinators and coaches stick around, and you're still paying this guy what you're paying them. And you have the quarterbacks for 6 to 8 years, and you might have had 4 coordinators in that time. Like, it's so hard to squeeze out value from somebody who's constantly having that turnover at their immediate coaching position.
And that's why this year, Geno Smith is one of the best deals in football. Because he's making the 11th most this season upcoming behind a bunch of guys that have already gotten paid these massive cap constricting contracts. So this year, it's a cap hit of only slightly over $26 million for Geno Smith. But next year becomes the decision. So just like the Niners are going to have and all these other teams that have paid money for a guy like Jared Goff or Tua's contract is coming up. The Dolphins have that decision. The Chargers are going to have a Justin Herbert decision soon. So what happens with Geno? It's good. It might be the story of this entire season.
Well, and his situation's interesting because he was such a journeyman veteran before this. He's already 33 years old, so it's not exactly like deciding to give Tua that big contract. It's if you decide after this year, okay, he's worth a deal, you still have to make it somewhat short term, right?
Yeah, but the issue is then if you're not, you're just restarting, right? You're going back in that situation where the same thing's going to happen. Then in a couple years, you'll have the same decision with Sam Howell. So it's a fascinating
quarterbacks
challenge.
are playing later, but you just don't generally see guys in their mid-30s get handed huge long-term quarterback contracts.
You're Aaron Rodgers.
And that has worked well so far. So the question for the Seahawks will be what comes next, and it shows the value of drafting well, of building around the quarterback you have, because I don't think you can win a Super Bowl now without drafting well. That's why the Chiefs have been able to go back-to-back. It's not because they have talent at every position that's better than everyone else. They have Mahomes, they have Travis Kelce, they have Chris Jones. So they have paid 3 players, essentially, and then they have drafted extremely well. Trent McDuffie. Look at all these guys that have been solid first- and second-year contributors who they have molded into this.
Yeah, and one thing I thought that was interesting in this article that Graziano wrote was that Schneider talked about his approach of how he knew the Legion of Boom wasn't going to be together forever, so he's tried to start drafting the replacements a year or two ahead. He mentions when Russell aged out of his rookie deal, that's what he started to try to do. But I think it's interesting that they never had that plan at quarterback. They always seem scared to draft another potential quarterback replacement while Russell was there, because when they went to even watch Josh Allen's workout, Russell Wilson's team freaked out.
I think Seahawks fans will enjoy that article, but I don't think they will enjoy reading John Schneider admitting that, probably should have drafted George Kittle.
He says when they were looking because he was trying to plan a year or two ahead to get replacements for Earl and Cam, that's how they ended up with Tedrick Thompson instead of George Kittle. Ooh, that's hard to swallow.
Now, I will say, it seems like they've learned, certainly. When you look at the last couple of years, and Devin Witherspoon, who surprised a lot of us on draft night, you don't need a cornerback. Why are you drafting Devin Witherspoon? And look how good he's been. So there's been a marked change in philosophy over these past few years, and you're seeing the results, at least in the draft classes, producing. Now it's about, all right, how do they grow together? How does this group build together and give you enough where you have enough of a team to lift up Geno Smith? Because Geno Smith is good enough if the team around him is good enough. He's not Patrick Mahomes. He's not Josh Allen. That's okay. There are only 2 of those guys out there. I think those are the best 2 quarterbacks in football right now. Everyone else, you need a good team around you. The Niners showed it can get done. They have been very consistent. They have gone to consistent NFC Championship games. They were a couple of mistakes away from winning the Super Bowl last year. So you can do it. You just have to kind of build around your quarterback, and it's a debate that will continually evolve in the NFL offseason. And as the salary cap gets bigger and bigger, and as the NFL just brings in more and more TV money, we are going to see some absurd contracts. But rest easy knowing that you're not a Buffalo Bills fan and you have to deal with paying Josh Allen a $60 million cap hit next season. So good luck, Bills. You got one chance, and then you have no chance for maybe the foreseeable future. All right, on that very cheery note, we are going to talk a lot more Seahawks, a ton of Mariners coming up with Brock because it's a big series beginning. Mariners, Guardians, it begins this afternoon, the first of 3 games on this 9-game road trip. Cleveland, Miami, and then Tampa. We'll get to all of that. Kate Scott will join us at 7:30 to talk being the voice of Madden along with Brock and TV voice of the Seahawks, and then we'll catch up our weekly conversation with Jeff Passan. Mike Lefko here with you on Brock and Salk on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
Seattle Sports, your home for Bump and Stacy.
Someone said Cal's batting .211.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
I mean, I don't think Cal needs to do much of anything. He's so clutch. Also, Cal's not your cleanup guy. Cal is your catcher. It is okay for him not to be leading your team in average.
Yeah.
Cal is doing exactly what a great catcher should be doing. He works well with your pitchers. His average is above 200, and he's leading the team in home runs. He's slugging.
It dingers.
I don't even want him to hit third in the lineup. He's a great leader in the clubhouse. That is all I want from Cal.
Streaming live on the Seattle Sports app.
Want to listen to Seattle Sports on your smart speaker?
Hey, smart speaker, play Seattle Sports.
This message is powered by the EQC Sportsbook at Emerald Queen Casino. Emerald Queen Casino, the entertainment capital of the Northwest.
Hey, Mike Salk here. Get bonus days to save during Window Nation's semi-annual sale now through June 30th. Get 50% off all windows with no interest for 5 years and a bonus 10% savings when you schedule an estimate. Call 866-90-NATION or go to windownation.com.
Tired of a boring backyard? Want to impress your neighbors and friends with a stunning outdoor space? State Roofing has just what you need. Hi, I'm Sam Thomason, owner of State Roofing. Our expert team at State Roofing can help you create the perfect deck. From custom designs to flawless installation, we'll make sure your deck is the envy of the neighborhood. So why settle for a boring backyard when you can have the best? Contact us now to get started. Call State Roofing at 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com.
Hi, I'm Henry Winkler. My eyes are very important to me. My eyes connect me with everything I love. I loved my late father-in-law dearly. He always lit up a room, but his vision dimmed with age. He had age-related macular degeneration, or AMD. And since partnering with Apellis, I've learned there's an advanced form of dry AMD called geographic atrophy, or GA. His struggle with vision loss made me want to help others know about GA's warning signs. For some, colors appear dull or washed out. For others, hazy or blurred vision make it hard to see details, like fine print on price tags. Many have trouble seeing in the dark, making driving at night difficult. GA gets worse over time and cannot be reversed. If you think you have GA, don't wait. Treatments are available. Ask a retina specialist about FDA-approved treatments for GA and go to GAWon'tWait.com.
This is the story of the one. As head of maintenance at a concert hall, he knows the show must always go on. That's why he works behind the scenes, ensuring every light is working, the HVAC is humming, and his facility shines. With Grainger's supplies and solutions for every challenge he faces, plus 24/7 customer support, his venue never misses a beat. Call quickgrainger.com or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Put your phone on D&D, that means do not disturb when you're driving. And when you're going from point A to B, I need you to stay safe, please, so always sing with me. So put your phone on D&D, that means do not disturb when you're driving. And when you're going from point A to B, I need you to stay safe, please, so always remember this beat.
Don't drive distracted. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Guys, did you know your testosterone affects everything in your system, including how you feel and perform every day? Right now, Revive Men's Health Seattle will check your testosterone for free. Knowing your T levels is the first step in understanding if you have low T. Your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED. Maintaining an appropriate T level can change your whole life. Most men start to see changes in their hormone levels in their 30s. Experience and results matter. So what are you waiting for? Get your T levels checked today by local, experienced, and trusted men's health experts. They've helped thousands of men since 2011. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Call Revive today and schedule your free testosterone test, free exam, and free consultation. Call Revive Men's Health at 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Texting enrolls you in a recurring automated marketing text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply. I can't believe this is real. We're finally doing our big fishing trip.
This is the year I'm doing everything I've always talked about.
Something's different about you. I feel like I'm talking to a whole new man.
Between you and me, it's Nugenix Total T that's making the difference.
Nugenix, the testosterone booster?
Exactly. Turning 40 and lower testosterone made it harder to find the drive and energy for the things that matter, like spending time with family and friends. So I tried Nugenix Total T.
That really works.
Absolutely. Nugenix is the reason we're finally doing this trip. It's why I have more energy for my family.
How do I give Nugenix a try?
Send them a text for a complimentary bottle.
Text ROCK to 321-321 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T. It's the #1 selling testosterone boosting brand at GNC and Walmart. Do it now, and they'll also send you a bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, their newest, most powerful fat burner ever, absolutely free. Text ROCK to 321-321. That's ROCK to 321-321.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Let's go! This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports.
This hour of the Brock and Salk Show is powered by Star Rentals, preferred supplier to the West's best contractors.
Get his freaking auto! This is Brock and Salk.
Brock Heward and Marcus. Sorry about Mike.
On Seattle Sports.
Heward, not exactly Joe Cap there in the pocket.
Presented by Simply Seattle.
Now here are your hosts, Brock Heward and Mike Salk.
Well, good morning. Happy Tuesday. Mike Lefko and Brock Heward here with you on a nice Tuesday morning. Brock, we got the full crew back. Justin's here. Maura's here. I'm here. You're here. What a day it's going to be.
Oh, Text Chain is back too. So nice to add you back on after deleting you last time.
Yeah, I mean, it was a great moment.
You look good today, too.
One of the happiest parts of my Monday.
I
look good? Yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
You look good.
Yeah.
I'm serious. Handsome little devil.
The unshaven, unkempt Tuesday morning look.
Yeah, a little 5 o'clock, not even 5 o'clock shadow, like 2 o'clock shadow. Are you a germaphobe? I was thinking about this in the shower. Are you kind of a germaphobe
I'm
guy?
sorry, what?
That was creepy.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Had to throw that part in.
Well, I did. I got a good little workout in this morning. I am a really fast shower.
Brock, this was the look when I had to wake up this early.
I was up at 3:30 this morning. Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, I like that drop. Are you a germaphobe or no?
No.
Oh, good.
There's a running joke on our show in the afternoon, Brock, that I eat floor food.
Oh, good. Good. I like that about you. Good.
Okay. So
would you go as far as Howdy though and eat trash cookies?
If they're sitting on top, maybe.
Oh.
Seinfeld, like the eclair was right on top. You know.
Yeah, that's what Howdy did. Howdy had a box of cookies unopened on the top of a public garbage can. Did he take them and eat them?
Public? No.
Did he bring them in as if he bought them? Did Salt start gagging after he ate one and now he told him the whole story? Yeah, all those things really did happen.
I'm glad he waited till after Salt started eating it.
Yes, for sure.
Brock, it's going to be a fun show. We got Kate Scott coming up at 7:30. I know you spent a lot of time. Well, here, we had a question.
Yeah.
Did you actually spend a lot of time with her in the same room? Were you guys able to voice all your lines for Madden
Never
separately?
met Kate.
Okay.
I never met Kate. 2 years.
Well,
2 years.
She's the preseason voice of the Seahawks. You got to meet her.
I met Kate at
I met Kate.
training camp last year. You haven't met
I
Kate.
know.
We've met
Wow.
Kate.
All right.
Wow.
Yeah, no, we do all these
That'll be brought up.
sessions via Zoom, sometimes individually, sometimes together. And yeah, we'll give you all the background on old Madden 2024, 25. I think it's a year ahead. So yeah, whatever's coming out in August, we'll have some fun.
You don't know the name. You don't know the version of the.
I know McCaffrey's on the cover. Yeah, I know Tirico and Greg Olson are a part of it, and everybody's going to play with them. And hardly anybody's going to ever play with Kate and I, but that's okay.
So you can choose the broadcast team?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
I think they would. I mean, it would build up the excitement. You got a nice noon game. You're going to put Scott and Heward on the call. You got a Sunday night game. You're putting Tirico. No offense, but Tirico's the peak of his profession.
There you go.
So, and if you're playing a Thursday night Christmas game, I don't know who you're putting on there. Maybe that's not a team that exists yet on that game. But no, I'm excited to talk to her about that and some Seahawks because she is the TV preseason voice of the Seahawks. And then Jeff Passan, always entertaining conversation at 8:30. Talking about these Mariners, Brock, and a huge series coming up. A matchup of two division leaders begins this afternoon. 3:40, first pitch. Nice afternoon start. Mariners Guardians. This is going to be a big one.
Yeah, and Shannon pointed this out, and Maura brought it to our attention, I think, in the email last night, that this is important because, remember, we're not talking about just getting to the playoffs this year. Some of that narrative has changed. And, oh, by the way, the Rangers got beat by nearly 2 touchdowns last night by the red hot Mets, who've won 6 in a row. This is not just about, hey, man, let's win the American League West. Let's go be the number 2 seed. Let's get that first round bye in those playoffs. And I think they're 3 games or so up on you. They beat you in a series to begin this season, and you would certainly like to, in the way this thing is going right now, and the way that you are pitching and the way you are playing, I hope the expectations start to change a little bit that, hey, man, this isn't just about getting to the playoffs. This is about being a World Series contender, as Schoenfield told us, and I'm sure Jeff Passan will echo in an hour and a half.
Well, Brock, and I think what this past weekend showed is how good the Mariners can be in a playoff-like environment when you can line up your rotation, you pack the house, which they absolutely will do in the playoffs, and they did over the weekend, more than 40,000 all 3 games. The largest crowd of the year on Sunday. They get those big dumper seat cushions, which I did not get. I regret that. More than anything else in life, I regret not getting a big dumper seat cushion. But when the Mariners have that home field, and if you win the division, you're going to get a home field series. If you come in second, if you're one of the top 2 seeds, you get a bye, so you get a rest, and then you get a home field series. I mean, that's going to be huge, and it is big stakes here.
So here's the thing about these Guardians that are managed by the local boy that was in the Mariners' pen last year. He was first year coaching after 42 years of playing. Here's the thing about these Guardians that I was looking at the All-Star voting that came out yesterday, kind of phase 1 of the All-Star voting. I know we're going to get to that later.
We'll get to that.
I know we'll get to that later.
Some consternation about that.
Yeah, so do I. But just compare and contrast these Guardians and these Mariners, first place, and nobody's got a bigger lead in any division, thanks to, again, the Astros and Rangers being awful this year right now. When it comes to catcher, who's got a higher-rated all-star catcher, the Guardians or the Mariners?
Is this like an actual question based on the voting, or is
I
this,
got the voting right in front of me right here.
I
Who
mean,
do you think has a higher-ranked all-star, positional voter player? That makes a lot of sense. Who do you think it is?
The Mariners.
I know that would be Bo Naylor. He's 7th. Cal Raleigh is 10th. How about second baseman? That would be Jorge Polanco, 9th. A guy named Andres Jimenez is 5th. So go through this. Naylor is 7th. Jimenez is 5th. What about at shortstop?
I'm guessing it's the Guardians.
Yeah, that would be some guy named Brian Rucchio. He is 1 spot ahead of J.P. Crawford. What about first base? Well, that one's not even close. Josh Naylor is 3rd in the voting with 400,000 votes, 200,000 more than your highest vote getter in Julio Rodriguez. Josh Naylor is 3rd, Ty is 8th. How about third baseman? Well, Mariners don't even have one, even though Rojas has been awesome. And their third baseman, this guy named Ramirez, yeah, he's pretty good. 740,000 votes. He leads all third basemen. Are you tracking with me?
I'm tracking
best third baseman, 3rd best first baseman, 5th best, 4th best designated hitter. Do we have a designated hitter? Do we have a designated hitter? Mariners do not have a designated hitter in the top 10. The Guardians, 3rd, David Fry. Almost 400,000 votes. And go to the outfield with arguably with their third baseman Ramirez, their best player, Stephen Kwan. He is 4th in voting, again with nearly 500,000. And there's Julio at 10th at 219,000. So if you want to, and that's just one little fun metric to look at these two teams, these Guardians locked and loaded. I mean, their lineup is doing some damage and putting the ball in play. I think 3rd fewest strikeouts in all of baseball. Something they did in the first series that Scott talked about. These guys put the ball in play. They attack you. And the Mariners are going to, have to play to their strength that they certainly have over the last month and a half building this cushion, and that's throw it right by all of those could-be all-stars for the Guardians.
And that's a problem as well. Because guess what? The Guardians don't do.
No, they don't strike out.
They don't strike out. They don't strike out much. 5th best strikeout rate, 3rd fewest total strikeouts. So it'll be a big challenge. I mean, that's, for me, Brock, the most important thing I want to see is how these pitchers adapt compared to where they were against them way back at the start of the season.
Yeah.
Series number 2 of the year, where they won the first game, and it's looking good because you have Luis Castillo in game 2. And you have George Kirby lined up right after that. What do the Guardians do? They put it on both Castillo and Kirby.
They did.
10 hits on Castillo, a bunch of runs early on George Kirby. They really got to him. We'll hear how Scott Service broke down that game coming up in Need to Know after the George Kirby loss. So it's a team that will put the ball in play, And while we won't see Kirby, we will see Castillo on Thursday. How do these pitchers adjust? Bryce Miller today, Brian Wu tomorrow, Castillo on Thursday. How do they adjust to all those numbers we just rattled off?
Is that official with Wu?
Yes.
Are we? Oh, it is. Oh, good.
Yes.
Well, that's good. When did that come out? What was I doing?
You were
Showering,
probably having a
working
nice
out?
Father's Day moment. It came out on Sunday.
You're
For
probably
those in the know.
thinking about
Yeah.
questions for Lefko in the shower.
Did you see, by the way?
I mean, we thought tub time was creepy, but you might be worse in the shower.
No, I am. There's two things I do very quickly in life. It's very odd. And, there was a little mic'd up Mike Holmgren over the weekend that came out with Brock, faster, screaming at me in a preseason game. Two things I do very fast. Take a number 2 and shower.
Oh, okay.
Those two things I do, I'd argue, as quickly as anybody in the country. A bath, not so much. Those two, very quick.
How are you judging that?
Anybody in the country.
Yeah,
Anybody in the country. Anybody
what's your
at your crazy,
sample size?
anybody at your crazy little Texas wedding that maybe had a little too much to drink and a little sweat fest in a steam room and they had to have to go take care of business. I'll beat anybody in both of those areas.
All right. Another thing we can do quickly is go to break. So on that note, we will go to break and come back with a lot more you need to know about this series. Mike Lefko, Brock Heward with you. This is the Brock and Salk Show on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
Seattle Sports, your home for Wyman and Bob.
Your pitching will keep you in any game for the most part. It's phenomenal. It's a phenomenal rotation that you desperately need to take advantage of while it's here, while they're together. We've got 4 of the 5 who are in baseball dollars very cheap and very young right now. And you're only going to have that group together for so long. You're also in a year where the AL West is really down. Probably more importantly, don't you think? Yeah, the division is there for you to take.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
A slow network is no network for business. That's why more choose Comcast Business. And now we're introducing Ultimate Speed for Business, our fastest plans yet. We're up to 12 times faster than Verizon, AT&T, and T-Mobile. And existing customers could even get up to triple the speeds at no additional cost. All from the company with 99.9% network reliability and advanced cybersecurity. It's Ultimate Speed from Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Don't miss out on our fastest speed plans yet. Get started with internet and security for $49.99 a month for 12 months with a 2-year contract. Plus, ask how to get up to an $800 prepaid card with a qualifying internet package. Don't wait. Call 1-800-501-6000 or go to ComcastBusiness.com to switch today. In 62324, restrictions apply. New customers only with 150 megabits per second internet and security edge. Eco bill and auto pay required. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra. Compares Comcast Business 1.25 gig to 100 megabits per second of Verizon 5G Business, AT&T Wireless Broadband, and T-Mobile for Business. Up to 3 times download for existing essential and standard internet customers.
Hey everyone, Jaden Schwartz for Techline Roofing. If your summer list includes 18 holes and a new roof, give Techline a call and we'll come out for a free inspection. Trust Techline. They shoot from the tips.
Texting enrolls you in recurring automated marketing text messages. Consent are required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
I can't believe this is real. We're finally doing our big fishing trip.
This is the year I'm doing everything I've always talked about.
Something's different about you. I feel like I'm talking to a whole new man.
Between you and me, it's Nugenix Total T that's making the difference.
Nugenix, the testosterone booster?
Exactly. Turning 40 and lower testosterone made it harder to find the drive and energy for the things that matter, like spending time with family and friends. So I tried Nugenix Total T.
That really works.
Absolutely. Nugenix is the reason we're finally doing this trip. It's why I have more energy for my family.
How do I give Nugenix a try?
Send them a text for a complimentary bottle.
Text GRIT to 321-321 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T. It's the #1 selling testosterone boosting brand at GNC and Walmart. Do it now and they'll also send you a bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, their newest, most powerful fat burner ever, absolutely free. Text GRIT to 321-321. That's GRIT to 321-321.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Robert Half research indicates 9 out of 10 hiring managers are having difficulty hiring. If you have open roles, chances are you're feeling this too. That's why you need Robert Half. Our specialized recruiting professionals engage with our proprietary AI to connect businesses of all sizes with highly skilled talent in finance and accounting, technology, marketing and creative, legal, and administrative and customer support. At Robert Half, we know talent. Visit roberthalf.com today.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos. Fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at checkethos.com. That's checkethos.com.
Seahawks Football Fest, presented by King 5, is back at Lumen Field. Saturday, August 3rd, kick off your weekend with a day full of football, family, and fun. Get an inside look at your 2024 Seattle Seahawks and visit Seahawks.com for tickets.
Headed outdoors or on the water this weekend? Check in with Joey and Nellie on the Outdoor Line from 6 to 8 a.m. every Saturday on SeattleSports.com.
Discover the ultimate diamond buying experience. Unparalleled quality at unbeatable prices.
Hi, I'm Diamond Dave of Cantor Diamond. At our by appointment office, you'll receive truly personalized one-on-one service to your needs.
No high overhead of standalone stores or mall hours to pay for. We're direct diamond importers designing and manufacturing in-house, eliminating all the middlemen.
Stop overpaying at retail and enjoy serious savings on quality diamonds.
From the first consult to the final reveal, we guide you through every step, ensuring you get your dream diamond ring, necklace, or earrings without compromise.
Romantic proposals, anniversary splurges, or just because. Indulge in diamonds for less.
Call today for your private appointment for a dazzling diamond.
Call Diamond Dave at 253-272-7007. That's 253-272-7007. Or follow them on Instagram at Cantor Diamond. That's at Kantor Diamond.
June is Men's Health Month, and Swedish Cyberknife wants to make a positive difference in the life of someone listening right now. After skin cancers, prostate cancer is the most commonly diagnosed cancer among men. 1 in 8 men will be diagnosed with prostate cancer during their lifetime. Right now, it is estimated that more than 3 million U.S. men are living with prostate cancer. As men increase in age, their risk of developing prostate cancer increases. About 6 in 10 cases are found in men over the age of 65. Men with relatives, fathers, brothers, sons with a history of prostate cancer may be twice as likely to develop the disease. Prostate cancer can be silent. It's important to get checked, even if you have no symptoms. If you or someone you know is diagnosed with prostate cancer, consider treatment at Swedish Cyberknife right here in Seattle. It's one of the shortest, requiring only 5 treatment sessions. Swedish Cyberknife physicians publish a 97% effective rate. Go to swedish.org/cyberknifeprostate.
Need to know.
15 minutes past every hour with Brock and Salk.
Here's what you need to know. Up first.
Yeah, the huge series between two division leaders begins this afternoon in Cleveland. Couple of 3:40 first pitches the next 2 days. Nice 10:10 first pitch on Thursday. And it's a Guardians team that comes in still doing many of the same things well they did in the series win back in early April. Brock, take a listen to this. This was Scott Service after that game where George Kirby allowed 10 hits and 8 runs.
They had a game plan. They were going to stay super aggressive. They were going to swing. They were going to put the ball in play, which they're really good at. And we didn't make some plays behind them. So it certainly got away from us early, and before you know it, we were out of the ball game.
Yeah, uncharacteristic start there. I had only 2 strikeouts in that one. Just such a strange start, and it kind of showed what the Guardians can really be like when they're at their best.
You know what I'm morphing into a little bit as a sports fan, Lefko?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you have done that. I know you are a hyper active college basketball fan. You love it with Purdue and all of that fun stuff. Do you watch much college baseball?
Oh, I love it. Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
College World Series? Fantastic.
Yes.
I got crickets when I asked them earlier. So
Okay.
Thank you. We'll talk College World Series.
Oh, my gosh. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think obviously my son playing and enjoying baseball and seeing now the game that he's getting to play at regulation size. And when you watch high school baseball and certainly college baseball, and this is no offense to the Guardians, they play like a college baseball team.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they started right at the top with the former Beaver Quan that just puts the ball in play. They play small ball. They move. They're active. They got an edge. They play usually really good defense. They do have a few boppers right in the middle of it as well that are having terrific seasons. I remember thinking that a little bit in that second series of the season, like, yeah, man, these guys they play with an edge. And they play it like if, Stephen Vogt, the manager, could use, 52 pitchers, I think he would. The college rule doesn't have a clock, doesn't have there was some of the bullpen rules that the Major League game does. But that's what they kind of remind me of, and they're playing some still really sharp baseball.
Yeah, so Bryce Miller today, Brian Wu tomorrow, and Luis Castillo in the Thursday finale.
Here's the second thing you need to know.
Brock, you might have seen what Maura Dooley's wearing this morning. Celtics jersey. She's rocking that with pride after the Celtics won their 18th NBA title last night, 106-88 over the Mavericks. But I think the more interesting thing is in regards to what Adam Silver said with Mark Kessler and PJ Carlissimo on ESPN Radio about that topic that we know is now, again, at a fever pitch about expansion in the NBA.
The next round of expansion will be more focused on continental United States. And in that case, the factors go to the amount of interest there are in those markets. Certainly markets that maybe have historically had NBA teams. You would know that well, PJ. You know, that comes into the mix as well. So those are largely the factors. And yeah, I'd say we also look where other leagues have done, where we've seen success for major league sports.
So it's coming to Seattle. There is no question about it. They've already got a nameplate outside the locker room there in Climate Pledge that's already been built for that NBA team. We know that is happening and likely within the next 2 years. The question then, and I was actually chatting with an NBA guy yesterday on a totally different topic, and I thought it was for sure Vegas, right? Vegas. They got the hockey. They got the WNBA. They're going to have a Major League Baseball team. They obviously have the Raiders. And he said, well, not so fast. Actually, Nashville. And as much as Nashville is exploding and the money that is going into Nashville and the quality of life in Nashville and everything else, that maybe Nashville is a little bit in play as well as Vegas. But we know those Supersonics are.
Did you just drop some breaking news? Is that known that Nashville is now a more prominent one than Vegas?
I don't know if it's a more
Vegas
prominent.
Vegas seemed like the predetermined.
Yeah, I just thought it was a done deal. Yeah, I thought it was a done deal. And he's like, no, I don't think so. I think Nashville has, been bantered about. And when you look at just kind of the population growth, the economic growth, the location growth, the quality of life growth, I mean, it's very different than Vegas. That, too, is growing a ton. But those would be, I think, the three that are in play.
Well, I don't like hearing three. So now people are going to worry that means,
No,
Seattle's the odd man out.
No chance, no way. No how.
It certainly sounds like they're the perfect candidate. Adam Silver mentioned them by name a couple weeks ago. All of those categories apply to what he just said. So, all right. Seattle,
and a building. And a world-class building.
And a world-class building. Yeah, it's fantastic. It's just the when. So we don't know about the when yet. But within the next few months, I mean, it should continue to grow and get more hectic.
Here's the third thing you need to know.
Well, Brock, wide receivers needing new contracts. That's kind of been the big storyline of the NFL offseason. We've had guys skipping, guys signing deals, and now another one, Niners wideout Brandon Ayuk, who skipped minicamp, and then on a platform you're familiar with, TikTok.
Oh, yeah, big TikTok.
Yeah, big TikTok guy,
big
Brock
TikTok
Heward.
guy.
FaceTimed his former college teammate Jaden Daniels, and he said, quote, "They don't want me back," talking about the 49ers. Now, Adam Schefter, and we can get to this a little bit later as well, he says that's more of a negotiating tactic by Ayuk because the Niners have offered him a contract. Brandon Ayuk just doesn't want it. But, hey, it seems to be a little bit of a turmoil in San Francisco.
And then those Niners,
some friction there this
draft a
offseason.
couple wide receivers, one really high as well, probably indicating to Mr. Ayuk that the 49ers, a little bit like the team down south, the Chargers, are going to be teams that are not going to do what others are doing, and that's paying top dollar for a perimeter player, for a dependent player. They're going to continue to draft and develop and pay guys at the line of scrimmage. They've been very, very good at that. Certainly McCaffrey is such a hybrid talent as a running back, as a receiver, kind of 3-in-1 fella right there that they paid top dollar to. But John Lynch is pretty good managing that cap. He's pretty good at picking players, and kind of like Deebo Samuel had a really hard time getting his bag. Mr. Ayuk keeps doing this. He might not even get a bag down there in San Francisco.
Yeah, and one more thing you need to know, Brock, because you mentioned it. Because, yes, I am a big college baseball fan, especially the NCAA tournament. Texas A&M and Tennessee, they're in the catbird seat. The College World Series. You have those 2 4-team brackets, double elimination style. So they're both undefeated. They have 2 wins already. They're going to face the respective winners of UNC Florida State and Kentucky Florida today. So you have the all ACC SEC College World Series, all 8 teams from those 2 conferences. But it's a fun scene in Omaha. I haven't been there yet in person, but that's on the sports bucket list.
It is. That is everything you need to know. Our guy, Justin Barnes, as we all know, is an experiential guy. I mean, he loves life experiences. I mean, to the point that he'll ride a moped through Morocco. He'll ride, a Super Mario bike through downtown Oakland. The dude is just experiential.
Amen.
Justin
You'll
is
be high in openness, Brock.
As a former baseball player, right, as a guy that played a little college baseball yourself, ever desire to go back to the College World Series in Omaha?
Oh, yes. That is a very, very high
It's awesome.
desire.
It is awesome.
Yes.
Show field trip, sounds like.
Yeah, last year, Titus's travel team played a tournament. It's really smart. All of these tournaments, they do this, both for softball in Oklahoma City. They have big national tournaments around the College Women's World Series, and then for baseball as well. And there's always, teams from Woodinville and a great team out of Puyallup, travel team that will go and play in these tournaments, and super, super smart, right? And you'll see just hundreds of kids, travel baseball kids, sitting in the stands watching and dreaming and envisioning. And, man, that scene in Omaha and that stadium in Omaha is just awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
It's just it's like the most pure baseball left.
And then you bring in the Southerners. When you bring them down there from Baton Rouge, College Station, all the Villes down in the SEC, down there in Gainesville. So you got all these Southerners that hit Omaha as well. Sometimes they do mix with the Coasties. Not this year. Nobody from the coast making it. Not this time. Nope. So mostly Southerners down there in Omaha frying stuff up right now.
That's
good. You didn't know what to do with that, did you?
I don't know what to do with that accent. But yeah,
Kate will do that to me. Kate will do that to me every once in a while.
She'll throw an accent out there?
No. When I do something and say something crazy when we're taping our Madden stuff, and she'll just giggle and laugh and you really are nuts.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I am.
All right, well, let's learn a little bit more about that, what the experience of working with Brock Hewitt is like on a video game. It's going to be a fun conversation. Kate Scott, who is now one of the new voices of Madden, along with Brock, and, of course, the Seahawks preseason TV voice. She'll join us next year on Brock and Salk. Mike Lefko, Brock Hewitt with you on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
The Dugout. Go in depth with the Mariners.
Goodbye, baseball.
With voices like Rick Riz, Aaron Goldsmith, and Dave Sims.
This is a club that has the ability to go on another run. You never know when a team is going to get hot. This team's window is wide open.
Hear from the players and coaches and go behind the scenes with insider Shannon Dreyer.
We are seeing him comfortable with where he is at the plate. We're seeing a guy that has his timing.
The Dugout. Tuesdays at 1 p.m. on Seattle Sports.
Hey, it's Mike Salk here, and summer in Western Washington, it means trips to the beach, summer barbecues, golfing, that vacation maybe you've been looking forward to. When you take pictures this summer, don't you want to look and feel your best? Well, Eastside Weight Loss Clinic can help, and trust me, you can do it fast. I lost 15 pounds in the first 2 weeks. I lost 35 pounds overall after 8 weeks. There is time. What are you waiting for? Schedule a 15-minute, no-obligation consultation right now at eastsideweightlossclinic.com. Here's what to expect. Safe, healthy, sustainable weight loss. No exercise, no pills, no injections or surgery. Eat real food, lose weight, look and feel your very best. That feeling is just on the other end of your 15-minute consultation. What's the secret? Call Eastside Weight Loss Clinic and they'll tell you. 425-588-0080 is the phone number, or go to eastsideweightlossclinic.com. It worked for me, and I promise if you do it, it can work for you as well. eastsideweightlossclinic.com or 425-588-0080.
Dr. Ryan Coogan, D.C. Results may vary.
The online format that WGU offers worked really well for me because I was able to complete courses whenever I had a free moment. Without being able to do these things online and in my own time, there was just no way I would have been able to make ends meet financially or as a parent and still have the opportunities that WGU gave me. The advice I would give to anyone that's considering going to WGU's School of Business is to just do it.
Learn more at wgu.edu.
Hey, don't miss the Harnish Auto Family Road Trip Sales event going on now. Test drive any vehicle and enter for your chance to win a $500 road trip package. Go to harnishautofamily.com to find a dealership near you. Harnish Auto Family. People matter. See dealership for details.
Tired of a boring backyard? State Roofing's expert team can help you create the perfect deck before summer hits. We'll make sure your deck is the envy of the neighborhood. Call State Roofing at 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com for a free estimate. That's stateroofing.com.
The smarter way to clean your floors. It's time to make the swap. Swiffer Power Mop.
Introducing the new Swiffer Power Mop, the all-in-one tool that gives you a mop and bucket clean in half the time. The solution's built right in, so no heavy bucket, and the pad has hundreds of scrubbing strips to get deep into grout. Don't mop harder, mop smarter.
Swiffer Power Mop. Swiffer Power Mop.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer, he hears things differently. To the untrained ear, everything on his shop floor might sound fine, but he can hear gears grinding or a belt slipping. So he steps in to fix the problem at hand before it gets out of hand. And he knows Grainger's got the right product he needs to get the job done, which is music to his ears. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Do you know a woman who gives her all to the sports community, encourages diversity, and empowers those around her? Maura Dooley here. Seattle Sports is once again partnering with the Seattle chapter of WISE, which stands for Women in Sports and Events. We want to recognize a woman in our community, and we need your help finding her. Nominations for the 3rd Annual Women of Inspiration Award are open until July 12th, and the winner will receive a donation to the cause of their choice. Nominate an inspiring woman today at woiseattle.org.
Oh no! Your hot water heater's leaking. Don't fear, call Deere. Deere Services. We'll be there within 3 hours guaranteed. Bookmark DEARservices.net.
Kick off summer by checking out the incredible showroom at Toyota of Kirkland. With a wide selection of Camrys on the lot, including the brand new 2025 Hybrid Camry, along with the new inventory of Tundras and Tacomas. All with a lifetime powertrain warranty, you're in for a summer to remember. The unbeatable team at Toyota of Kirkland will set up your test drive, and you can take that car home the same day. Get your summer groove on at Toyota of Kirkland or visit online at toyotaofkirkland.com.
On Saturday, July 6th, Jackson Smith and Jigba host the Seattle All-Star Softball Classic, presented by Waves Lifestyle at Chidi Stadium. Tickets are going fast, so get yours today. The Seattle All-Star Softball Classic features your favorite athletes and celebrities and benefits several local 501c3 organizations. So come out and support a great cause. Tickets start at just $25 with food, drink, fun, and games for the whole family. To buy tickets and for more information, visit SeattleAllStarClassic.com.
Well, we were all hoping for good news from the feds, but without any rate cut in sight, Americans are still paying crazy high rates on credit cards and other loans. Don't wait for things to get worse. If you're struggling, act now. Hey, this is Brock Heward for my friends at Tila Mortgage. Contact Tila for information on their home equity line of credit, or HELOC. With a HELOC, you can consolidate high interest bills into one lower, manageable payment while keeping your current low fixed rate first mortgage. Tila's been helping Washingtonians consolidate debts for over 25 years, and they're experts at purchase and reverse mortgages too. Take control of your finances and improve your monthly cash flow. Don't let debt payments control your life. Call Tila Mortgage today at 206-766-8888. That's 206-766-8888 or
Tila Mortgage LLC is a mortgage broker. NMLS 2472046.
You're listening to Brock and Salk.
Weekdays 6 to 10
on Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Mike Lefko and Brock Heward with you here on this nice Tuesday morning. Going to be a great day to watch some Mariners Guardians baseball, get outside, do plenty of things. But, Brock, we got a lot to talk about because we have someone on the line who you have worked with very closely over, well, I don't even know how long it's been, so we'll ask her about it. But we're going to be joined by Kate Scott on the Emerald Queen Casino Sportsbook Hotline. Great accolades to her resume already. Seahawks preseason TV announcer, Sixers TV play-by-play voice, and now, along with you, a voice in Madden. Kate, thanks for joining this morning. Excited to talk to you about all of this.
I'm so excited to be here, you guys, and talk College World Series, talk about Brock's shower and bathroom routine. I know he already said that we have not met, and I think that's why it works, because you guys know what he's like. So
Well, I was going to say congrats on surviving.
Thanks
Brock.
for listening to the show this morning, Kate. No, for the first time. Thanks for tuning in. That's really great. Appreciate it.
I mean, you guys are popping. You know, I worked in morning radio for a number of years down in the Bay. You got to be snappy in the the and you guys are knocking it out.
You got to be quick, like Brock is doing some things. So we don't have to get back to that. But, Kate, what was this process like? This entire process of voicing all of these things needed to be in the game. I mean, take us through all of what happened with Brock and this whole behind the scenes.
Yeah. Well, it started over 2 years ago, as I'm sure Brock has let you all in. There was a long audition process, at least for me. I'm sure not for Brock. I'm sure they were like, that's our guy. That's who we want after like 3 or 4 or 5 other people said no. Brock Hewitt is our guy. So started recording in December of 2022, and it has been awesome and exhilarating and extremely tedious and challenging and monotonous some days, because it's everything that can happen in an actual football game that we all watch, right? But then it's also a video game. So is somebody going to go for 2 8 times in the first quarter? That could happen. Is somebody going to try to punt on second down? That could happen. Like, it has been wild, all the different scenarios we've had to record for. And I looked, Brock, I don't know how long you've been in the booth, but I looked the other day, I'm close to 150 hours in the recording booth over the last year and a half or so. But I know that it's made me a better broadcaster because there's so much focus on the voice. We don't have anything to see. We're working off of a script, so much of it is truly voice acting while taking all the skills we have as broadcasters in there as well. So it's been challenging and rewarding, and this guy, the guy you guys are working with, has made it so much darn fun. Even though we've never met in person, I feel like we've known each other for years.
I have my little manifest actually in my little studio here pinned up, and you have about 46 more hours than me, which doesn't surprise me because you've got a lot more lines and a lot more tedious stuff, and then I just got to come in with the utter ridiculousness, which at times I'll look at Kate's face on the Zoom and just to, pull the curtain back a little bit more. It's really funny. Like I guess this is personal day for Brock this morning, but when I was a kid, and people don't know this, I love building forts. I don't know if you were a fort kid, Lefko. I don't know if you were a fort kid. Barnes, I'm sure in Libby, Montana, our producer was a. I love built with blankets and pillows, and I built all these caves. And maybe it was my Rambo in me, right? So we'd build these forts inside, and when we go be Rambo outside in the woods and everything else. Kate and I have these little forts in our home that Madden came out and they built with like moving blankets and soundboards and really fancy mics and computers and technology. And I don't know about you, Kate, I have to kind of duck into my little cave fort where there's one computer, the Madden computer, that's got our sound producer, our script writers, our content editors, our technicians, all of them are watching on this Zoom, and the other one that's got our script. And then, Kate and I wave at each other like, hey, how's your fort this morning? Yeah, how's your fort this How you doing in your little cave?
What's going on? Yeah, totally. And I think, you guys talk about football. We all talk about football. It's the total team sport, right? But I don't think, and I know that there's a documentary at some point coming out on just the history of Madden, and there'll be a brief part on our recording the game this year that I think for folks who love stuff like this will enjoy it because, as Brock said, we've got our producer, we've got our editor, we've got our script writer. And again, my job as a play-by-play announcer in real life is to call what I see. Brock's job in real life is to listen to me, react to what I'm saying, but also break down what he saw. We're not seeing anything in these recording situations. We are working off of a script, and we are trying to imagine, okay, what's our energy? What's our enthusiasm? What's our cadence? What's our tone going to be? Somebody gets a first down, second quarter, week 3. Okay, now let's fast forward to the end of the season. We're in the fourth quarter. It's a fourth down that's going to decide the Super Bowl. What are our emotions? What are we going to sound like in those moments? And it's us encouraging each other, trying to imagine what that would sound like. It's our producer who worked in the music industry for years, Tommy, saying, oh, that was good. Let's run it one more time. Brock, I want you to punch this word. Kate, I want you. So to me, again, who loves the nuts and bolts of things, that's been fascinating because we're not seeing a video game and calling it. We're trying to imagine all of these scenarios and how we would do that, and then they'll play in the game.
Yeah, I was going to say, Kate, was that a challenge, or how did you adapt to, as you just described, everything as a play-by-play broadcaster, then going and kind of recreating that in your mind and say, well, this is not an actual game, but I have to really tailor my call to something that hasn't happened yet?
Yeah, it's been an incredible challenge, Mike, and I think some of the challenges Brock mentioned is we do some sessions together. Those are always my favorite sessions because Brock, as you guys all know, has such great energy. But I also, I don't know if the Chris Farley in him ever comes out with you guys. But like what we're doing is really difficult work. So on occasion, we're not live. We'll make mistakes. We'll have to run a line again. And Brock immediately turns into, and maybe this is too old for you guys, but you guys remember like Saturday Night Live, Chris Farley, right? Like, stupid, damn it, come on. Like that, all of a sudden that's Brock in his tiny fort. And it makes me laugh because I'm like, Brock, you are crushing this session, man. We're 2.5 hours in. Keep your head up.
I'm an idiot! You know, something like that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's the old quarterback in him smacking his helmet even though he doesn't have one on. But yeah, it's been incredibly challenging. I think the hardest days for me are the monotonous ones. And I don't know if Brock goes through this because, you know, he's not having to say, Charbonnet from the gun, Charbonnet running right, Charbonnet running left, going through every single running back in the entire NFL. You know, Walker gets it on the inside give, Walker running right. And you have to do that for all different scenarios. So the mental focus that takes has been intriguing because you're 3 hours into a session and you just want to take a nap because in reality you've called an entire football game. You've been talking for so long, but there's these little simple lines that you really need to nail, that they all have to sound the same because they could be stitching up with a line that we're going to record 2 months later. That's another thing, Brock, right? Like we don't record full lines very often. It's kind of choose your own adventure when you're playing the video game. So we'll record the first part of a line and then the second part of that play 3 or 4 weeks later. And then the end results, we'll do the touchdown calls after that. So it's been a fascinating process, but really fun and rewarding along the way.
Yeah, Kate Scott here with us, my partner in crime in the new Madden game that is coming out in August. 2 years together. 2 years together, yet we've never met. I mean, that's just, is that not the world that we live? Yes.
That's why it's working.
Nothing like working from home. You said this earlier, and I think I tend to agree with you, and I hadn't necessarily thought about it a lot, but do you think this experience has sharpened you as a broadcaster?
Yeah, no doubt about it, Brock. Because, again, we are so focused. We're in our tiny forts in the dark. You see, I just let the light of the computer screen be my light in there because it allows me to kind of imagine and focus better than I would, at least for me, if there was lots of lights and stuff on it in my booth. But I know with the focus on the voice and saying, oh, that's fascinating. Okay, I don't have to be high octane for the whole line. I can punch the touchdown. Then I can come down for 2 words. Then I can punch back up for the player's name. So breaking things down to that level for me has really helped, especially in the NBA where so much of what we call is high octane, right? There can be a Joel Embiid huge play in the second quarter, and I have to be ready to go from talking about something with my partner to Joel Embiid down the lane and try not to, again, be too high the entire line, not crack my voice, not break things. So, yeah, it's been really educational for me just as a broadcaster.
Now, you guys are going to have to go throughout the year, right? There are updates coming?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
There are. Yeah, I don't know. I think B-Rock and I are working together for a couple of hours, finally, again, next week, because, again, the joint sessions are my favorite.
That's what she calls me, by the way. Yeah, I kind of want it to stick. No one else seems to do it, but when she does it.
Does nobody else call him B-Rock?
Nah,
really,
that's okay.
No. That's
he
when I meant.
He hasn't, sung or rapped for you guys?
If it's in the game, it's in the game. So
are you kidding me?
We can start bringing it out.
Clap
there.
your hands,
all the
everybody.
time.
And everybody clap your hands. We lambda, and Omega moves.
That's why we don't call him B-Rock.
Do I rap?
Yes.
Do I know that whole Revenge of the Nerds rap? You're darn right I do.
He should. And that's the thing. I know he was joking earlier, and we've been joking over text. And we all know. Look, Mike Tirico, Greg Olson, totally get it. You can choose your own adventure with your broadcasters. But I will say, and I'm obviously biased, they have encouraged Brock and me to lean into the fun, to have a good time, that this is a video game. So I may be biased, Brock, but I think our rapport, as we're showing here on the radio, is awesome, even though we haven't met in person. I mean, Brock is throwing shade at you left and right. He's also bringing in lots of Seahawks stories, some Washington stories into the game. So I'd at least give it a try, see what you think, because Brock has a lot of fun in the game.
Are you prepared, is just last couple minutes here with you, Kate, thanks for the time this morning. Are you prepared for these Seattle Seahawks, and you're a West Coastie. I know you're out on the East Coast now, but you were Cal, Bear, and you were around Pete Carroll, and you saw all that he did at SC, and obviously you did the preseason last year with Mike Robb and Bennett and all that, just hijinks and fun. Are you prepared mentally because it was a shock to a lot of us here. I know Salk and I were it was kind of surreal the first time.
Yeah.
We went down there and there was no Pete and, a totally new regime and half the age is Mike McDonald from Pete Carroll and so much newness on the staff. Like, are you prepared mentally for what's to come here at the end of the month and into the preseason and end of next month?
Yeah, Brock. B-Rock. I'll keep going with that the rest of the interview. I'm really excited and intrigued. Because even for me, as you said, on the other side of the country, just starting to dip my toe in things with a year under my belt, it was kind of one of those relationships that you never thought would end, right? And like every great relationship in sports, eventually they have to because something's not working as well as you want it to anymore, and you've got to push things forward. So I was just as shocked as you. But, it's interesting. I just went through a coaching change last year in the NBA. Obviously, Doc Rivers wasn't with the Sixers for as many years and with as much, great things as Pete brought to the Seahawks. But it was a huge shift last year with Nick Nurse coming into the Sixers and seeing how he kept some things the same, but also made things his own. And it has been an incredibly necessary breath of fresh air out in Philadelphia. And from everything I've seen so far, obviously it's been from afar, but watching interviews, seeing little clips on social, it seems like with Mike running the defense, with Ryan running the offense, I know you're very familiar with that, Brock.
Yeah.
But it seems like John and company, the decision makers, made a great and necessary and difficult change, but it's exactly what they talked about. It was time for it, and it's going to be hard. Change is hard. New is difficult, but we want to keep this great culture that Pete and all of us have built over the last 14-plus years because we know that works. Mm-hmm. Now it's the other things that we just need to shift a little bit, right? The scheme, we have so many great players here. So let's just switch a couple of things, come into 2024 and see what happens. So, yeah, man, I'm really excited and intrigued. Just, again, having been through something similar, not exactly the same, but similar to last year and seeing how good it was for Philly, I've got a really good feeling about this too. And I know you and I have talked about it, Brock. It seems like so far so good, even though we're in the toddler stages of this transition.
Well, Kate, I think you'll appreciate this before we let you go here. 206 number text in. B-Rock, Puyallups most wanted.
Pretty good. Yeah, that's pretty good.
There you go. That rapper tag.
You just got to lean into stuff, right? I mean...
Well, I don't know if Lefko knows this or not, Kate. You don't know this.
40-plus-year-old white rapper.
Yeah, you don't know this, Kate. Lefko doesn't know
40,
this.
That's kind of
I don't even think Barnes and Mora know this. My freshman, when back in the day when they could haze, University of Washington, freshman.
Yeah.
Started training camp. You got to get up front of the whole team, stand on the table in the cafeteria and sing a song.
What'd you do?
What do you think B-Rock did? I started.
Were you doing like Rapper's Delight?
I mean, I had some of my freshman peers started to drop the beat a little bit. All right, stop. Collaborate and listen. Ice is back with my brand new edition of something. Grabs a hold of me tightly, flowed like a hop through daily and nightly.
Wait,
Will it ever
for
stop?
once in your life,
I don't
you
know.
remembered the words to a song?
Yeah, for once in my life, I remembered it. Yeah, and I think I was carried off pretty close, pretty much carried off. And yeah, I did that. That was started my B-Rock's career right there.
Let's go.
In the end, it started in the end.
Yeah. And that right there is why I highly recommend you at least give it a try when Madden 25 comes out in August, because you may get some Brock rapping in there. You may get some B-Rock. It's a whole lot of fun. Great analysis, too. You guys know what a great analyst he is. He brings all that and more. So I'm really looking forward to it. And, yeah, 3 more 3-hour sessions for me next week. So the recording does not stop, Mike. It keeps going because there's updates throughout the year. I was just recording a bunch of lines for our first and second round rookie draft picks. So it's a lot of work, but it's a ton of fun and repping for Seattle along the way.
Yeah. Well, Kate, thank you very much. Appreciate you taking the time with us this morning.
Thanks for having me, guys. Good Good luck putting up with B-Rock for the rest of the show.
Man.
Yes, indeed.
Good
Thank
stuff
you.
there. Kate Scott, the Seahawks preseason TV announcer, Sixers TV voice, and now play-by-play voice in Madden 25, Brock. She knew the name of it.
Thanks.
You did not. That's why she's the play-by-play. You're
That's
just
right.
the analyst. But there are some things you do know well, so let's get to that. And Blue 88.
This is Brock and Salk's Blue 88.
Blue 88! Blue 88!
We take you to the field as Brock Ewart breaks down 3 football questions as only he can.
Now here's your hosts, Brock Heward and Mike Salk.
All right, Brock, we got some time off, the quiet time, the vacation time in the NFL. But why are these next 4 weeks a little less worrisome for NFL teams than they were a decade ago?
Yeah, you weren't here with Malik McDowell, right, when he got in the ATV accident. And you heard, I mean, we had sound from John Schneider, I think Coach Carroll, right, is those rookies were departing. And they even kept the rookies around a little bit, Mike, because they didn't want to send them away with all this coin in their pocket, with all this freedom and all this liberty they've never had, and an opportunity they've never had before in their life, right? So they sign their contracts, they get their signing bonuses, their bank accounts are large, and all of a sudden this month before training camp, you would see it every year, man. Guys get in trouble, guys get in trouble off the field, guys do have accidents. I don't think that's as problematic now because these guys already got coin in their pocket. I mean, that's the one thing about NIL over the last couple, 2, 3, 4 years, especially. These guys have had to handle lots of money. I mean, Byron Murphy had an agent through college. You know, it wasn't like he had to hire a new agent. He had an agent through college. He made a lot of money down there at Texas. He already had to start to handle and process that. So I don't think, I mean, there's some negatives of NIL, and I've spoken to that over the last couple of years and some challenges, but this is one of those positives. The guys do have to grow up pretty quickly, have to handle their finances at an even younger age, and I think because of that, maybe not quite as much fear around these NFL organizations as the guys depart for a month before training camp starts.
All right, number 2. Brock, what was one thing that Brady mentioned a number of times on Monday that we should keep an eye on during training camp?
Yeah, the barking of these coaches. As Kate just talked about Ryan Grubb, you know, that one of the things that Brady saw when I asked him to kind of compare and contrast this new staff and this new regime is he said, man, there is a lot more hard coaching at times publicly. And you're going to have that. You're going to have that with guys that come from the college game. You're going to have that with a young staff. You're going to have that. And I mentioned to Brady, like, remember the early years with Ken Norton when he taped up every single finger, like every digit, like every knuckle, and he's out there getting ready to just spar, and he is into the face of KJ and Bobby and those guys. I would say, like, at that time, Pete was good cop, and there was Ken Norton, man. He was bad cop, barking. But, you know, over 14 years, you started to see less and less of that, I think, on the field. You know, they were certainly demanding, and there was certainly still great accountability, and guys played their butts off. But you're going to hear more barking. You're going to hear more teaching, and you're going to hear more pats. When we get to training camp, it is, if I think Mr. McDonald learned anything from the Harbaugh brothers, both in Ann Arbor and back there in Baltimore, and learned a little bit about what Matt Campbell did there in Detroit of building the foundation of that team. He's going to ask these guys to be a little bit more physical. And they got some good depth. They've got a pretty good roster. I think enough depth in enough positional areas that are going to be highly competitive that I think we're going to hear pads popping a little bit more than we have over the last few years.
All right, number 3. Brock, what was a gambling line that you saw yesterday that should make football fans in our area pause? And not just stop, but just a pause.
Yeah. Not a hard stop.
Not a hard stop.
Just a pause.
Okay.
I was looking at some of the top college football games of this upcoming season. I think it was Circa down there in Vegas that put out some lines of the top 30, 40 football games. I'm like, I wonder if I get to call any of these big games here. And there were a few maybe Colorado games that our crew is going to get this year. And certainly not going to get the Oregon-Washington game. That will probably go to Clad or to one of the other top crews. Do you know what the opening line right now for the Ducks and Dogs is? I remember Washington and Penix beat Oregon twice last year and beat them in Eugene in the game Benetti and I got to call the year before. Do you know what the opening line is for the Dogs and the Ducks?
You know, I got to be honest, haven't quite looked that far yet.
How about minus 19? How about
For
a
Oregon.
nearly 3 touchdown favorite for those Duckies down there in Eugene? they are building a power. And obviously the finances and the Nike money and everything, they've had a lot of resources over the last decade plus. But, man, their roster at the line of scrimmage, their roster, NFL dudes on the O-line, NFL dudes on the D-line, NFL dudes at corner, NFL dudes all over the place. So, yeah, Eugene's not going to be very friendly to Mr. Fish in the old dogs when they head down there. And at least the boys in Vegas, a nearly 3-touchdown underdog going into the season.
What do you think? Have you guys talked about this, you and Salk?
That's
so
Blue
the
88.
Seahawks, that is Blue 88. Thank you, Brock. The Seahawks over-under total is at 7.5.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about that?
I'm taking the over.
Yeah.
I think their floor is a whole lot closer to 8.5, and I think their ceiling could be 10.5, 11. I don't know. I find myself, maybe not with the Huskies. I think their number is about 7, and that feels right to me. But the Seahawks, I don't know, man. That feels, and I get it. They're baking in lots of different factors, and they've got their algorithms, and they've got numbers that I'm not privy to, but my gut tells me this roster is better than I think a lot of people believe. And if Ryan Grubb can assimilate quickly and Mike McDonald does what he does with this talent, yeah, I think 9, 10, 11 is very much a possibility for the Seahawks.
That is Blue 88. It's a lot of entertaining football talk there, that segment, especially with Kate Scott. That was a fun conversation. I'm not sure. Well, it's not up to me because I'm not permanently on the show, but I'm not sure B-Rock will catch on.
No,
it's up to
probably
Maura
not.
and
No.
Justin and Salk, but that's a good little nickname you have. But,
No, that's kind of my kid nickname with her. No, I don't think that will really rock you.
It's video game only.
What I am okay with catching on though is now that we have this drop.
Dang it, what an idiot!
Whatever Brock says something dumb.
Pretty much. Yes.
That's a good one.
It is. It is challenging. It really. Kate talked about that at the end of the session. And I'll finish up, and Molly is just laughing because she's upstairs and she can hear it. And she's like, yeah, go take a nap. Because my beta waves after 2 hours of doing that, it's broadcast, it's voice, it's creative, it's artistic license. It is for her. She has some very just mundane, robotic, very much. For me, it's here's the script, but I don't want that. I'm giving you the baseline. I want you, and the producer will keep saying that to me. Come on, give me you. And I'm like, I'm kind of tapped out. No, you got it. You got it. And seriously, I get done and my brain is just totally fried in a way like it is, similar to working Left Go with you at 9:55. I'm going to be fried. My brain's going to be done. I'm going to need to go nap. My beta waves are just totally spent.
Yeah, I figured it was coming back around to me. As long as you're not thinking about me anymore in the shower, I think we'll be good. So we'd rather have that. You give it all, you leave it all out in the field, and then you're spent at 9:55. So we appreciate that. We still got a lot to get to though, Brock. So don't get completely exhausted.
No, I'm good. Beta waves are still good. I will
fire you up. This is going to fire you up next. An atrocity has been committed against the Mariners. Seriously, a great atrocity. And injustice has been committed against the Mariners. We will get to that next. This is Mike Lefko and Brock here with you. Brock and Salk on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
Seattle Sports, your home for Wyman and Bob.
He is the one, the only John Morosi with us. They need at least one bat at the deadline. But just as quickly, number two is they are good enough that adding a bat is such a clear and obvious approach that the front office has no choice but to do it. This time, this season, with the rotation as strong as it is as clear of a buyer as I can remember covering.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
I started Davis Law Group 30 years ago with the goal of bringing the highest quality of legal representation to accident victims. Seattle has changed a lot in that time, and the needs of drivers and accident victims have grown. I'm happy to say that we have too. We've expanded our team to take on the biggest challenges for accident victims across the state. Contact Washington's best personal injury team today at 206-888-8888 or visit us online at davislawgroupseattle.com.
Everyone loves a road trip. Start yours at the Harnish Auto Family Road Trip Sales Event. Hey, Brock Hewitt here, and this month, the Harnish Auto Family is offering a chance to win a $500 road trip package from Sportco and Outdoor Emporium. Test drive any vehicle and enter for your chance to win. No purchase necessary. Just stop by your favorite dealership, Volkswagen of Puyallup, Subaru of Puyallup, Kia of Everett, Chevrolet Buick GMC of Puyallup, or Chevrolet of Everett, and take a test drive for your chance to win. HarnishAutoFamily.com. People matter. See dealership for details.
What do thousands of students that rely on free school lunches do during the summer? It's G. Scott here. Sunbucks is a SNAP program that provides free, healthy food when school is out. If you could use the help, simply fill out the form online to determine eligibility for $120 of free food per child. This message is presented by Safeway, where customers can use SNAP to match their produce purchases as well as shop online. Learn more at hungerfreewashington.org/summer EBT.
I don't want to dig up my yard if I don't have to. That's why I hired O'Neill Plumbing. They're Seattle's trenchless plumbing pros. All rooter, all trenchless, always professional. O'Neill Plumbing. Since 1917.
At Buc-ee's, we'll get you ready for summertime. From factory maintenance, AC, brakes, tune-ups, to oil changes, wiper blades, and tire rotation. It's Buc-ee's Complete Auto Repair. Carefree summer driving. No appointment needed and financing's available. Check Buc-ee's.com for the Buc-ee's near you.
It's Dave Wyman for R&R Foundation Specialist. Your home's foundation supports everything that sits on top of it. You know, the most common cause of a settling foundation is a condition in the soil called differential settlement. It goes back to inconsistent soil compaction when your home was first built, which in turn causes your entire home to bend and twist. And what you'll notice in your home when that occurs? Sloped floors, bowed or cracked walls, or windows and doors that don't open and close properly. R&R Foundation Specialist raises and restores settling foundations by repositioning the load of your home onto steel piers that they drive deep into the ground. Then they gently lift it back into place with a hydraulic lift. It's a permanent solution to restore your home's foundation and its structural integrity. If you suspect your foundation is settling, do what I did. Have R&R Foundation Specialist come out for free. They'll identify the issue, and they will resolve it. Schedule your free estimate at rrfoundationspecialist.com.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. 120,000 miles of night drives, daily commutes, and who knows how many.
Are we there yet?
Through countless fixes, elbow grease, and a new radiator, you kept your ride alive. With eBay Motors, you have over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Whether it's expanding your business, upgrading your equipment, or covering payroll, you can score big with swishfunding.com, the slam dunk solution for your business funding needs. If you have at least $25,000 in monthly revenue and been in business for at least 1 year, qualifying's easier than a layup. We fund up to $5 million in 24 hours. Go to swishradio.com. That's SWISH radio.com. Swishradio.com.
Suit up in your sweetest stars and stripes for July 4th weekend at T-Mobile Park. The Mariners are celebrating with a post-game fireworks show on Wednesday, July 3rd, presented by T-Mobile. America's pastime and fireworks? It's a patriotic palooza at the park when two of the AL's best, the Orioles and Mariners, square off at 7:10.
He struck him out! What a night, George Kirby! A dozen punch-outs.
Catch two great shows for the price of one. Mariners baseball and a fireworks spectacular featuring a dazzling display of red, white, and Mariners blue. Visit Mariners.com to get your tickets and check out all the action coming to T-Mobile Park this summer. Be here for a 3-game weekend series versus the Blue Jays July 5th through 7th. And more fireworks nights, including the T-Mobile Park 25th anniversary show on July 19th. Mariners baseball. Tridents up.
Let's go!
This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports.
Give me a freaking auto!
This is Brock and Salk.
I don't read the internet, guys.
Take the bull by the hands.
On Seattle Sports.
And Brooke, you are. And Brooke, you are.
Styled by Simply Seattle.
Now here are your hosts, Brock Eward and Mike Salk.
We've had a lot of fun already this morning. Mike Lefko and Brock Eward with you. It's time to get serious, though, Brock. 'Cause I'm mad. I'm fired up. And I didn't even know how mad I was.
Can you really get mad? Seriously.
Yeah, have you ever?
I mean, let's be real.
You ever been around me when there's no food
That was
to be
the
had?
least threatening I'm mad that I've ever heard.
I would agree with you. That was kind of sissy. I'm not going to lie. You know, you can do better than that.
How mad can I be at 8 a.m.? That's the problem. That's the thing. It's more of a tired mad.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I'll get mad later. Hey, third day of this, I'll get mad. All right?
Yeah,
If
maybe grumpy.
Something aggrieves me.
You
Yeah,
are
you're right.
You're so nice.
I
You
will
ever
get
heard
grumpy.
that? You are so nice.
Yeah, I need to channel the
more
rage of
Justin,
someone else
like
I know.
if there was a niceness poll, I know that Salk ranked all of us as bald-headed people last week. If there was like a niceness, like, oh man, who's just the nicest, guy over there at Seattle Sports? Come on.
You're not helping my getting mad cause here, Brock.
Lefko, you're the nicest guy. So if you're getting a little fired up, if you're getting a little
fiery, thank you.
Getting a little angry, what are you angry about?
Cal Raleigh. Did you know? And you did, because you read me something that I didn't even know. I saw the numbers yesterday. MLB released the top five vote-getters at each position.
Top 5.
And then you rattled off more, and then I was digging through and realized, not only did they reveal the top 5, that was their big, hey, look, here's the big splashy announcement. We're going to hide the fact that we've unveiled the top 10 in the first wave of All-Star voting. It does go through June 27th, and then the top 2 at each position advance to finalists, and you can vote them in. So they announced the top 10, and not only is Cal Raleigh not in the top 5, he's 10th. 10th out of American League catchers. He's 10th.
86,000 votes. He's got 86,000 votes. Polanco has 57,000.
Brock, there are not real catchers in front of him. There are guys
JP's
that
hit
dabble
205.
in other positions.
He's got 80,000 votes. Ty France has 85,000 votes. They're only separated, Cal and Ty France, by 1,000 votes.
Now, look, I'm not saying that Cal Raleigh should be the all-star starter, because Adley Rutschman is terrific, well-balanced offensively and defensively. But Cal Raleigh is the second or third best American League catcher, and he's sitting here 10th. Bo Naylor, I couldn't even believe. You said Bo Naylor. I thought you were reading off a list from last year.
No, Bo Naylor's 7th.
Bo Naylor, 7th.
143,000 votes.
Jonah Heim, 5th. Logan O'Hoppe, 9th. The guy barely plays. What is this? A great injustice has been committed against Mariners here.
I really don't get it either with Cal, because you would think with Cal from a national, I was passing about this as well, and I remember there was a list that came out before the season, top 10 catchers, both American League and National League, and I think Cal was either 10th or off the list. I mean, he was near and I was just befuddled by it, and I think Passan was equally just, I don't really get it. And what kind of strikes me as the most curious and crazy about this, Lefko, is Cal's gotten big moments. It's not as if like the national folks haven't seen the big dumper do his thing. I mean, he ended the drought 2 years ago, right? Clutch, big time in some of the bigger markets that he has been in. There's even been a little testiness and a little back and forth with the Blue Jays and John Schneider, their manager, not the GM here, their manager kind of calling him out. And certainly even at the end of last season as he made public waves and that, like, okay, I would kind of get it maybe for an underrated, if we had kind of an underrated player, or I kind of get why Josh Rojas is not even in the top 10 of third baseman, even though outs above average, he's right near the top, and OPS, he's doing phenomenal and much better than some of these vote getters at third. Get it with Rojas. But with Cal? With the big dumper?
Yeah, and his basic stats are good power number-wise. Like, what are you voting on if you're a fan? I know you're not looking at these advanced metrics like we are. You're not looking at the 19 caught stealings that lead baseball, lead all catchers. But if you're looking at home runs and runs batted in, yeah, he's right there. He's the third most home runs out of any catcher, Adley Rutschman and Shea Langoliers, the two in front of him. And then third in the American League in RBI, Rutschman again, and Salvador Perez. So you're telling me that there are 9 American League catchers better than Cal Raleigh?
No.
So that means people are just not paying attention, which probably is the case, or they're somehow not looking at any of his stats and just seeing batting average. So that's the only thing where he's deficient, but he's got the home runs. He's got the RBI. He's got, as you said, the name recognition because he has these clutch moments. And it is kind of a reputation-based thing. That's why I'm only slightly surprised that Julio's not in the top 10 just based on name and star power alone. Now, he's not having the season that warrants it, but...
I think he is 10th, by the way. I think isn't he
is
right
he 10th?
I think he... Let me see. I think he is right at 10th.
He wasn't top 5. But...
No, he's not top 5. He is exactly number 10 with 219,000 votes, by far the most votes of any Mariner. So he's right there at number 10. Now, I would generally say, and I'm sure the old man Muppets that you work with in the afternoon would get in the mic and say, none of this matters. Oh, who cares? It's just a bunch of pundits. It's a bunch of nobodies. It's a bunch of baseball fans in other markets that don't care. It really doesn't mean anything. And I think in this case, though, I would challenge that a little bit. Because unfortunately, I think in this case, with Cal in particular, it does. And it's not Cal Raleigh, and it's not the big dumper, and it's not the fact that he was the one that Buhner shaved his head and the most aligned, I think, with the JP. None of that has anything to do with it. It has to do with a guy by the name of Scott Boras. And that is his agent. And that is where I think, unfortunately, this does matter a little bit. I think a power agent and the power agent of all agents at all sports, and Scott Boras, that likes to direct things and have his hands in everything and be Mr. Puppeteer with every single move. I think he looks at this and goes, yeah, Cal, I mean, you're just up there in South Alaska, man. I don't know what to say to you. You just don't get your respect. You don't get your due. I don't, this isn't right. This is an injustice. This is a joke. This is absolutely insane that you are not the third catcher in the American League behind Richmond and Salvi. Really. And I don't know what to say to you. I don't know why there's 80,000 votes for you. This just doesn't add up. It doesn't make sense. So, hey, Mariners fans, if you get a chance to get to those ballots, one or two last times, well, I guess you don't at home, right? They don't have a home game before the 27th when this closes. So,
Brock, you can vote online now.
You can vote
I don't know
online.
if you realize that.
You can?
Yeah.
Seriously?
Yeah.
You're able to vote online?
I think it says up to 5 times a day.
Technology has evolved that you can
Well,
vote
the Mariners
online
fans, please vote 5 times a day for Cal Raleigh, for crying out loud. Because honestly, I do think that matters just a little bit with the agent who represents him. Like, this is an absolute travesty that he's sitting there with 80,000 votes.
Mariners.com/vote.
Mariners.com/vote?
Yeah.
Okay, you know what? I'm going to put my money where my mouth is. Mariners.com/vote.
And here's the problem while
I'm
you're
gonna
doing
vote
that.
5 times.
509. I could care less if any of them are at the All-Star game. Okay. That's just a terrible attitude to have.
Yeah.
Don't you want to see your team, your representation of this city and this first-place team on the biggest stage? Get a little rest, get a little Baltimore material. Let's be playing in October. Those two are not – one does not lead to another. It's not cause and effect. Everyone goes to the All-Star game. They're going to go anyway. Julio's been in the home run derby the past few years. It has not had any effect on his game.
Actually been positive.
What about the Rangers? So the Rangers team, hey, 509. So the Rangers team, you remember that last year, how insulting it was to see the entire Rangers infield and their starter on this field? It didn't seem to affect them when they won the World Series. So if that's the mindset why people aren't voting for Cal Raleigh, get out of that mindset and go vote for him.
Come on.
Just to see some Mariners
A lot
representation.
of prizes you can win, too, if you go to there.
Okay.
So you're incentivized.
If you need an incentive
one more time,
outside
Justin,
of
where is it?
Mariners.com/vote.
Mariners.com/vote.
Also, why the Mac and Jack's text line really irritated me this morning.
Now you're
A lot
getting
of
mad.
people are hung up on Cal Raleigh's batting average.
Mm-hmm.
Who cares? Who cares about his batting average? Batting average is not an important stat.
How about his WRC plus?
You don't need to worry about that. But if you care
Well,
about
they're
power
saying
numbers,
that like there's a specific set of standards.
Right.
It's just fans. You can vote
Yeah.
for whoever you want.
if you think
Vote
Cal
for
Raleigh's one of the best 3 catchers, which he is in the American League, go vote for him. That's it. All right. I'm going to get really mad, so we're going to move on. Some things you
Nice.
actually need to know. Brock thought I was fake mad. I'm going to get really mad. So before that happens, we're going to move on. Everything you need to know
I
about
just
this
voted.
upcoming
You
series.
go
There
do
you
it.
go.
Vote. I voted.
Now
Put
vote
a
4 more
sticker on me.
times.
Thanks.
All right, throughout the course of this show, vote 4 more
Sticker on
times
me.
after this. But we will come back with everything you need to know about this upcoming series. Mike Lefko and Brock here with you, and Brock and Salk on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
The Dugout. Go in depth with the Mariners.
Leaps up and he makes the catch.
With voices like Ryan Roland Smith, Gary Hill, and Mike Blowers.
Long-term pitching, if you have that foundation, good things are going to happen.
It makes him so valuable when he's hitting.
This team is a team that's going to have to bunch hits together, put pressure on the defense.
Hear from the players and coaches, and go behind the scenes with insider Shannon Dreyer.
They find a way to grind it out, stay in the game. I thought it was a really good win for them.
The Dugout, Tuesdays at 1 p.m. on Seattle Sports.
Hey, Brock Hewitt here, back again with my good friends down the road at Tila Mortgage. And I get it. This economy's been tough. Higher interest rates. And Tila, well, they've been working hard through all of it, helping folks just like you during these uncertain times. And if credit card debts and car loans or other payments are hurting your credit score and just month to month killing your cash flow, Tila can help you take control of your finances with programs like a home equity line of credit. You maybe heard that term before, a HELOC. This tool allows you to keep your low fixed rate first mortgage in place, but it does start to access your home equity so you can consolidate those high interest bills into one lower much more manageable payment and put some cash back in your pocket. TILA's helped Washingtonians consolidate debts with HELOCs and refinance loans for well over 25 years. They're experts at purchase and reverse mortgages, too, with hundreds of 5-star reviews. TILA, well, they're committed to honest and ethical lending, and you will feel it the second you call them this morning. 206-766-8888, 206-766-8888. TILA Mortgage is a mortgage broker, MLS 247-2046.
Hi, I'm Henry Winkler. My eyes are very important to me. My eyes connect me with everything I love. I loved my late father-in-law dearly. He always lit up a room, but his vision dimmed with age. He had age-related macular degeneration, or AMD. And since partnering with Apellis, I've learned there's an advanced form of dry AMD called geographic atrophy, or GA. His struggle with vision loss made me want to help others know about GA's warning signs. For some, colors appear dull or washed out. For others, hazy or blurred vision make it hard to see details, like fine print on price tags. Many have trouble seeing in the dark, making driving at night difficult. GA gets worse over time and cannot be reversed. If you think you have GA, don't wait. Treatments are available. Ask a retina specialist about FDA-approved treatments for GA and go to GAWon'tWait.com.
Hey everybody, Bob Stelton here. I recently met with Anthony, the owner of Asset Roofing, to talk about a metal roof which can last twice as long as ordinary shingles. Asset Roofing is seeing a huge push in the market for metal roofing. They create each metal roof at their headquarters, custom to each job, and that allows them to offer metal roofs with up to a 30% discount over their competitors. Check them out at AssetRoofingCo.com.
Certified work that's never in doubt. Asset Roofing, excellence is on the house.
A slow network is no network for business. That's why more choose Comcast Business. And now we're introducing Ultimate Speed for Business, our fastest plans yet. We're up to 12 times faster than Verizon, AT&T, and T-Mobile. And existing customers could even get up to triple the speeds at no additional cost. All from the company with 99.9% network reliability and advanced cybersecurity. It's Ultimate Speed from Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Don't miss out on our fastest speed plans yet. Get started with internet and security for $49.99 a month for 12 months with a 2-year contract. Plus, ask how to get up to an $800 prepaid card with a qualifying internet package. Don't wait. Call 1-800-501-6000 or go to ComcastBusiness.com to switch today. In 62324, restrictions apply. New customers only with 150 megabits per second internet and security edge. Eco bill and auto pay required. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra. Compares Comcast Business 1.25 gig to 100 megabits per second of Verizon 5G Business, AT&T Wireless Broadband, and T-Mobile for Business. Up to 3 times download for existing essential and standard internet customers.
Subscribe to the Seattle Sports YouTube page to find new and exclusive content from your favorite shows and personalities daily. Just head to YouTube, search Seattle Sports, and click subscribe.
Fargo, the new virtual assistant from Wells Fargo, makes banking faster and easier. Like this.
Fargo, what's my checking account routing number?
And this.
Fargo, turn off my debit card.
And this.
Fargo, what did I spend on groceries last month?
And that's just the beginning. Do you Fargo? You can in the Wells Fargo mobile app. Learn more at wellsfargo.com/getfargo.
Terms and conditions apply. Your mobile carrier's availability and message and data rates may apply. Wells Fargo Bank, N.A., member FDIC.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car can be picked up as soon as the next day. Receive a tax deduction and vacation voucher.
1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
That is strikeout number 7 for George Kirby. Absolutely sensational.
A Mariners game at T-Mobile Park is the perfect place for a get-together. Whether it's a small family celebration or a party for your whole company, there's a suite or space perfect for your guests to enjoy 9 innings of great views, food, and drinks. You'll even impress Barbara from accounting. Don't let that stoic appearance fool you. There's a party animal under there. The more people you bring, the more you can save. So to earn your rep as the host with the most, visit Mariners.com.
He is safe at home. Julio stole home.
Mariners baseball. Tridents up.
The next Mariners homestand gets started with 2 can't-miss giveaways as the team takes on the Twins. On June 28th, the Mariners are debuting their first-ever City Connect bobblehead. The first 20,000 fans score a J.P. Crawford Trident bubble. Then on June 29th, the fun continues with Aloha shirts for the first 15,000 fans. Get tickets to both games at mariners.com.
Need to know.
15 minutes past every hour with Brock and Salk.
Here's what you need to know. Up first.
Brock, what you need to know, and you did learn, I think, is that you can vote for the All-Star Game online, and then apparently there's some resistance to voting for Cal Raleigh. But just go do it. Go vote for Cal Raleigh, because that's the only guy you really can vote for. Starting pitchers, and pitchers are picked by the managers, so you don't get a chance to do that. So if you want any Mariners representation, go vote, like Brock just did.
Mm-hmm.
How many more times are you going to do that today?
I'm going to do it 5 times. I can do it 5 times a day.
Perfect. Look at that. That's what you need to know right there. Also, Brock, there's a big series about to happen between 2 division leaders. It is the Mariners and the Guardians. It takes place a couple of 3:40 starts, then a 10:10 first pitch on Thursday. This is a good Guardians team. It's going to be a good test for this Mariners pitching. They don't strike out much. They put the offense up there, and they did what they did in April, and Scott Service talked about it after the loss that they suffered against George Kirby, where he gave up 10 hits and 8 runs.
They had a game plan. They were going to stay super aggressive. They were going to swing. They were going to put the ball in play, which they're really good at, and we didn't make some plays behind them. So that certainly got away from us early, and before you know it, we were out of the ball game.
What do you want to see out of this series? What are you kind of looking for with these 2 teams matchup?
Just a series win. Just go win a series.
That's it?
That's all that they've done. They've won 9 in a row at home. Just go win a series out on the road, right? Win 2 of 3. They've done a whole lot more than that at home, tied for the best home record in all of baseball. And then go have a 500 road trip. So on this road trip, go 4-5, go 5-4. That's really, just over the years, I've just kind of learned and the Graz helped me with this. Hey, man, slow down. You move too fast. You got to make the moment last. Little Simon and Garfunkel. And you just got to slow your roll, man. If you can win a series against somebody like the Guardians, the way they play, and you want to compare and contrast all-star votes, it's not even close. I mean, they're in the millions and millions with all of their positional players. Ramirez leads the way at third base. Quan in the outfield will be an all-star. They got a lot of dudes that are getting a lot of hype. And the Mariners, not so much, which, part of me understands the 509. Okay, don't be so hard on the 509. I know where they're coming from. Part of me understands that Pacific Northwest chip on our shoulder. Nobody gives us any due. Nobody gives us any respect. And you know what? That card worked really well for the Seahawks for a decade. And if the Mariners want to play that card, and they've got that opportunity with this first, wave of all-star balloting out there, I'm not going to hate on the 509. Now, still go vote for you people. But don't be so hard on the 509. A lot of really good people in the 509.
Well, I was going to say, no, I think the thing is, if no one else is going to give you that respect, you got to go do it yourself. So that's the whole point.
You do. So vote 5 times a day for the next 9 days.
Right. There you go. Still us against the world. There you go.
Here's the second thing you need to know.
The Celtics won their 18th NBA title last night, a 106-88 win over the Mavericks. Brock, I feel bad for any Boston sports fan. Anyone maybe sitting in the next room.
You ever fly into Logan Airport?
Maura Dooley, interminably long wait.
You ever fly into Logan Airport?
I have.
Do you like seeing all those titles in the terminal?
I have not been since 2008, so they've won a lot more since then.
Titletown.
Yeah.
Titletown. The Bruins and the Patriots and the Red Sox and the Celtics. Did you know this was their 18th? I don't know if you knew that or not. One more now, or 19th, one more than the Lakers. Did you know that?
Didn't I just say that?
Long-suffering Boston sports fans.
I know.
Did you just say
most NBA history.
Is it 18 or 19?
18.
18.
You know who doesn't like that? Michael
The
Bumpus, Lakers fan.
Yeah, I will say.
Magic Johnson tweeted about how
Magic Johnson tweeted about it. Yeah, he was upset.
I will say this about this Celtics team and about the NBA right now, and we're going to have, and you can play that Adam Silver sound in just a second. We're going to have the NBA back. Kate Scott's going to be making trips out to the West Coast once again with those 76ers as the voice of the 76ers. It is going to happen, but this is a different NBA. If you kind of open your eyes, and I know a lot of fans here have closed their eyes to the NBA, but if you open them, do you realize they've had 6 different winners the last 6 years? This is not like the dynastic runs that these teams had in the 70s and the 80s and the 90s, the Bulls and the Lakers. It's just not. The way it is set up now with the current salary cap, like it is not. And this is a great Celtics team, but they're not that much better than Oklahoma City or Minnesota or Denver or a bunch of teams out there in the West. And, yeah, this was a kind of like the the previous 5, when I took a look at them, when I looked at the Nuggets, when I looked at the Raptors, when I looked at the Warriors, you know what they were? Selfless. Really, really unselfish. And a big group of unselfish dudes did it. And here's Adam Silver, by the way, so I'll stop rambling, talking about expansion. This was with our own PJ Carlissimo and Marquez Teixeira. Expansion's coming to Seattle. Just listen.
The next round of expansion will be more focused on continental United States. And in that case, the factors go to the amount of interest there are in those markets. Certainly markets that maybe have historically had NBA teams. You would know that well, PJ. You know, that comes into the mix as well. So those are largely the factors. And I'd say we also look where other leagues have done, where we've seen success for major league sports.
Seattle.
There you go.
Next.
Here's the third thing you need to know.
Well, Brock, we were talking a little bit about the College World Series. Tennessee and Texas A&M are in the Catbird seat. A couple matchups today, UNC, Florida State, and Kentucky, Florida. But did you know that the Panthers have a chance to close out the Stanley Cup? They host the Oilers in Game 5 tonight.
I did, and I'm rooting for Edmonton.
Okay.
Yeah, Canadians. You know, I did my Southerners last time with the College World Series. You know, I do have some Canadian already in me with the bag and the A's and everything else. The long A, whatever.
Throw it out there. Let's hear it.
No, I'm not going to do that, A. But I am A. I'm rooting for them, A. I'd like to see them at least make this a competition, for crying out loud. Yeah. People thought, wow, you know, maybe the Mavericks will get one. They can bring it. No, they were done. They were cooked. Connor McDavid, the best player in the game. I kind of like to see that series go back to Edmonton and go win down there in Florida.
Yeah, that is everything you need to know. Somehow we haven't gotten to this yet, Brock, but I'll pigeonhole it in here. There you go.
Pause it. Stop. Oh, stop. Yeah, I'm going to do that for Passan. Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
You told me, you said if this wasn't played by 9 o'clock,
no, I know.
No, So we almost got to 9 o'clock.
We almost did. We almost did. No, I don't mind that sneak tease. That's a great tease.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to play the rest of that because I finally figured out what the heck is happening to the Rangers, who are now 9 back of your Mariners, 6 games under 500. The Astros, 6 games under 500. And I figured it out. I had to do some deep digging last night. Was I on Baseball Savant? No. Was I on Baseball Reference? No. Was I on TikTok? Yes. And I figured out why the Rangers are so terrible, and I'll play that for Passan when he joins us next.
Yeah, I'm terrified. Brock, you were TikTok superstar. All right, we'll go to break on that. Brock and Salk on Seattle Sports.
Seattle Sports, your home for Wyman and Bob.
I'm just sort of marveling at the lack of belief in this team. Not that the Seahawks should be considered a top 5 team. I'm not making that case at all. But there seems to be a really dim view of what this team's going to be. First of all, what was their record last year, Bob? They were 9-8 with a bad defense. So we all assume that the defense is going to be at least somewhat improved. How much, we'll find out. And the offense is bringing back almost the same cast. I don't see them getting worse.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Oh, how nice is it to have these long days back? Mike Salk here, and it really does make waking up for this show at 4 a.m. a whole lot easier when it's already a little bit light outside. And then after work, maybe even sneak in 18 holes all before that late sunset. Well, you know who else loves these long days? Riverside Roofing and all their customers. Long sunny days, that means they can turn around jobs more quickly. Have a roof project that you've been kicking around? Call Riverside Roofing and get on their schedule now. They're cranking out jobs all over Western Washington. I've heard from customers texting into the show who've trusted them, and I myself have been such a pleased, proud customer. The sooner you decide, the sooner you can have this project done, and additionally, you can handpick the best roofing company on the market. For me, that's Riverside Roofing. Go to riversideroofingllc.com right now and get a quick quote on your project. It won't even take 60 seconds. It's Riverside Roofing, family-owned and Master Elite GAF certified. Riverside Roofing, the roofing company you can trust.
Tingling and numbness or burning pain in the feet or hands are warning signs of peripheral neuropathy. For years, Sound Pain Solutions has helped thousands using our innovative narcotic-free approach. Now we're excited to introduce our most powerful treatment yet. I'm Dr. Mark Shelley, a chiropractic physician and functional neurologist at Sound Pain Solutions. We've discovered a new bioelectrical treatment that produces remarkable results. Studies show 85% of neuropathy sufferers report a 50% reduction in pain. Our new therapy can reduce pain and regenerate damaged nerves. It's performed by medical providers and naturopathic physicians. It's a breakthrough treatment that has changed the lives of thousands who suffer from nerve pain. At Sound Pain Solutions, all our therapies are non-surgical, FDA cleared, and narcotic free. Learn if you qualify for our new neuropathy treatment. Schedule a free consultation by visiting soundpainsolutions.com. soundpainsolutions.com.
Are you looking for a construction loan to build your dream home? Are you a local builder needing a better financing option for your next spec project? Hi, I'm Scott Rireka, CEO of Legacy Group Capital in Bellevue. Stop wasting time with local banks and credit unions and their endless guidelines. We're the experts for common sense residential construction loans. We lend our own money, we make our own decisions. And if your deal makes sense, we'll get it done fast with flexible terms. For homeowners, we advise you every step of the way with things like budget and timeline, ensuring the completion of your dream home. For builders, Legacy's not only your lender, we'll source your next deal, provide permitting services, and if you're short on equity, we'll invest alongside of you. Legacy Group Capital has lent more than $1 billion, helping over 130 local builders and hundreds of homeowners. We can help you.
Construction loans don't have to be hard. Borrow smart with a common sense construction loan from Legacy Group Capital. Visit LegacyG.com. LegacyG.com.
Are you curious about who offers the best deals on top-rated Samsung, LG, and Sony TVs? The answer is surprising. It's not online, and it's not the warehouse clubs. The best deals on top-rated TVs are at Video Only. Don't believe it? Then check out the trade-in deals at Video Only. How about $500 for your old TV? Try doing that online. Before you buy that new TV, drop into Video Only. If you don't, you'll be sorry.
For Down Territory, going inside the game with Michael Bumpus.
I like this. More quarterbacks should start doing this.
Every day at 11:15 and 1:15 on Bump and Stacy.
Oh no, your furnace died. Your hot water heater's leaking. Your drains are clogged. Your AC's blowing hot air. Inconveniences? No, they're emergencies. Don't fear. Call Deere Services. Visit deerservices.net. Make an appointment, and we'll be there within 3 hours or give you $100 credit. And get this, you will never pay a service fee. Bookmark DEARservices.net. Because if you're a homeowner, it'll happen to you someday. Deere Services, there when you need us most.
At Buc-ee's, we'll get you ready for summertime. For over 50 years, Buc-ee's Complete Auto has been servicing and repairing cars and trucks with modern-day technology and good old-fashioned customer service. Buc-ee's is the largest independent family-owned chain in the Northwest. There's a Buc-ee's just about everywhere for factory maintenance, oil changes, wiper blades, air conditioning, brakes, tire rotation, tune-ups, everything you need to get you running smoothly this summer. No appointment necessary, and financing's available too. Check Buc-ee's.com for the location near you.
Well, we were all hoping for good news from the feds, but without any rate cut in sight, Americans are still paying crazy high rates on credit cards and other loans. Don't wait for things to get worse. If you're struggling, act now. Hey, this is Brock Ewart for my friends at Tila Mortgage. Contact Tila for information on their home equity line of credit, or HELOC. With a HELOC, you can consolidate high-interest bills into one lower, manageable payment while keeping your current low fixed-rate first mortgage. Tila's been helping Washingtonians consolidate debts for over 25 years, and they're experts at purchase and reverse mortgages, too. Take control of your finances and improve your monthly cash flow. Don't let debt payments control your life. Call Tila Mortgage today at 206-766-8888. That's 206-766-8888 or
Tila Mortgage LLC is a mortgage broker. NMLS 2472046.
You're listening to Brock and Saul.
Weekdays 6 to 10.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Mike Lefko and Brock Ewart here with you on a Tuesday morning, joined now by ESPN's MLB insider Jeff Passan on the Emerald Queen Casino Sportsbook Hotline. Brock, we have a lot to ask Jeff, but I think you have a very serious baseball question to ask him to start this off.
Yeah, I do. We're trying to figure out what in the heck is going on with the Rangers, Passan. And I know you've got Baseball Savant. You've got GMs that you talk to. I go to social media realms, and I think I finally figured it out. Did you hear this yesterday? Did you see what is going on? Are you familiar with Mariachi Creed? Because this...
Let's take our escape, so let's go there. As can we stay?
I just figure it out, Passan? Did I just figure out what the heck is wrong with the Rangers?
Stunned silence.
Passan?
Can you take me higher? You got that in my head, you turd.
You're welcome.
You evil, evil man.
You're
Putting Creed in
Sure.
the head and the ears of your listeners.
Well, hold
What
on
are
a
you
second. Okay,
doing?
fine. I'll stop then. I'll play some other Middleachi for you. How about Crazy Train? Do you like it?
Can you take me higher
Okay, well,
to
yeah,
a
it is.
place with golden trees?
Yep.
Like, this is your fault.
Yep. You're welcome.
You can blame the Rangers all you want, but we need to let that exist in a vacuum, Brock. We don't need to continue broadcasting that out for people's bleeding ears and getting me to sing on the radio. That's not like...
That catchy.
That's so good, though, Passan. I thought your Elmo was good. That is really, really good. You're an excellent singer.
Yeah, the Rangers stink, don't they?
Jeez.
Now, outside of that, which it might be the reason, but yeah, why are the Rangers so bad right now?
Well, we can start with the fact that their starting rotation is not at full strength, but they've still gotten really good performances from Michael Lorenzen and John Gray and Nathan Eovaldi, and we can look at their bullpen, and you think it looks like a weakness, but Kirby Yates has been awesome as closer, and David Robertson's been very solid. And, Jacob Lass has come out of nowhere. It goes back to the hitting. Like, it's very simple. Their lineup, which looks top to bottom pretty devastating, has been utterly mediocre. Adolis Garcia is a shell of his last 3 years' self. Evan Carter has been banged up and wasn't producing before that. Wyatt Langford has been disappointing in his rookie season. When you look at their lineup right now, guys, Corey Seager's been their best hitter. Marcus Semien is always awesome, but their third best hitter's been Josh Smith, who started the season as a replacement, like for Josh Young when he went on the injured list. Now, they're going to get Young back. And I have a difficult time believing this offense is going to continue to struggle as much as it has, but they've dug themselves a pretty sizable hole at this point.
And on the flip side, what are the Mariners doing so well to have that 9-game lead in the American League West?
Well, they're pitching the way that they have, and they're finally starting to hit. And it's wild to think that, as inconsistent as they've been with their bats guys, that they've got a lead as substantial as that. But they have finally started, I think, taking advantage of the weakness throughout the rest of the American League West. And the notion at this point that the Seattle Mariners have the largest divisional lead in baseball is kind of wild to think about when you look at their run differential.
Mm-hmm.
They're only plus 19 this year. So what that tells me is they're clearly doing a good job in the situations where they need to. You don't have a plus 19 differential and a plus 12 one-loss record if you're not hitting in clutch moments and if you're not locking things down on the pitching end when you need to. So this has been a very impressive run by them, but they can't rest on their laurels because I still think that the Rangers are a good team, and I still think that the Astros have something in them, at least a small run perhaps. But right now the Mariners, they look pretty darn good, and they're taking advantage of a softish spot in their schedule where they're facing the Angels and the A's and the White Sox and taking care of business with the Rangers.
Yeah, that'll change beginning this afternoon with the Guardians and then down to Tampa and obviously Miami sandwiched in between. Can you give me some historical context, what a 9-game lead means on June 18th in a baseball season?
Nothing.
I figured you were going to say
I mean,
that. Can you take
like
me higher?
I cannot. I wish I could say that 9 games in the middle of June means anything, but if you just look at it from a very logical perspective, that's 3 games a month for the rest of the season, and losing 3 games a month, it's not a very difficult thing to do. So, the longer they maintain this lead, the more cushion they're building themselves for injuries and for teams within their division being aggressive at the trade deadline. But the reality is, I think the Mariners understand organizationally the position that they're in right now. It's a very strong one, and it's one that they want to add to. And if they don't add in a substantive way, it's going to be understandably disappointing. You don't sit around when you've gotten off to a start like this, when you are so good at home, and they are so good in that ballpark. Like it is a horror show if you're coming into T-Mobile and you're another team right now, because the energy there and the way that the Mariners play at home, you got to take advantage of that and build on that. And I think that's exactly what they're intending to do.
Jeff, I know you've talked about Luis Robert with these guys, and he's the name being bantered around, but there are a ton of teams out there that might want Luis Robert. Who else? Who else could be a good target if it's not Luis Robert for the Mariners?
I think the Phillies are probably the biggest threat there, because they, like the Mariners, have a very good farm system, and they, like the Mariners, have a very acute need for an outfielder, and they, like the Mariners, are a really good team with World Series aspirations. And so I think Philadelphia is probably at the top of that list. You could look at the Los Angeles Dodgers, too. I know that they have such a surplus of talent already, and the idea that you're going to add Luis Robert to the mix and that it's going to make a demonstrable difference, I think the Dodgers may, because of Yoshinobu Yamamoto and Mookie Betts' injuries, take a step back, pump the brakes a little bit, and say, okay, let's assess where we are. Is this a year where we want to go full send? And maybe they make the argument that, we're getting about the best that we're going to get out of Tyler Glass now, and Gavin Sohn's been a great surprise, but we're going to make the playoffs. So, let's let the talent that we have right now, let's see if that's enough. That's certainly a possibility too. And then you've got sleeper teams. Like there's no better fit for Luis Robert than Kansas City, honestly. The Royals need an everyday center fielder. They need a middle of the lineup bat. Problem is, I'm not sure that they have the prospect capital to go and get him. But one thing I do know is that the White Sox are looking for bats. And I have said this on this program before, and I will say it again. I'm not sure there's a better organization in baseball when it comes to bats in the minor leagues than the Mariners. The farm depth that they have on the offensive side, considering especially where they were even 2 years ago, is just tremendous. And it's going to be the sort of thing that allows them to go and make a move, like getting Robert if they want.
Can the Mariners win a World Series with their current 40-man roster?
Yes. That's how good their pitching is. I believe in the pitching, and I believe in October, even though you're facing the teams that have the best lineups in the world, that the Mariners pitching can neutralize that. But just because they can, Brock, doesn't mean that they should go with this 40-man roster. It is a flawed group, and there are issues, and I really worry about the strikeouts in October. I really worry about that hindering their offense and putting just immense amounts of pressure on their pitchers to throw zeros up, because as it stands, as it's currently constituted, I don't think this is going to be a high-scoring offense, even though they've put up some runs in recent weeks.
Jeff, is there a good bat outside of Luis Robert that the Mariners could use? Maybe better contact, less strikeouts. We're talking about a team that strikes out so much, but who else could be a good option if it isn't Robert and the Mariners still need to get someone?
I mean, is it Pete Alonso? We're not talking great contact. He still strikes out. But isn't Alonso the guy? They need slug. Yeah. Like it's not. It's very simple to me. I look at this roster and I look at this lineup, and Cal Raleigh leads the Mariners with 12 home runs. I believe the next highest total is 7. I think Cal Raleigh leads in runs batted in as well. I think the next highest total is Mitch Haniger with 30. This is not a lineup that has enough pop in it, I think, to reasonably sustain itself throughout October. Now, can they go on a heater? Yeah, they've gone on one the last couple months. They're just, I don't know, Mike, that there are going to be a lot of bats out there.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's the thing. I mean, you look at the teams that are likely to sell. The White Sox, they have Robert clearly, but beyond him, is Tommy Pham the solution? Probably not. He's a good player. He would be a good complementary piece, but he's not that centerpiece that you want. The Rockies, I don't think they're trading Ryan McMahon. Even if they do, though, he's not like that bopper that you're looking for. The Angels, is Taylor Ward the answer? No, probably not. The Marlins.
What about the two guys? What about the two guys in Tampa we talked about before the season began? Their first and third baseman, their corner infielder guys. And I know they're not having the year that they have had in the past.
Well, Paredes certainly is, but
okay.
This is weird to say. I almost look at Josh Rojas at third base and say, he's gotten so good defensively over there. And you guys watch more Mariner baseball than I do, so if you disagree with us,
no, he's been awesome, and his outs above
really
average.
Good defensively there,
nope,
right?
Everything speaks to that. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And he's been he's been an above average offensive player. He's not a star, but I almost wonder at this point if you look at third base, and I would take Isaac Paredes over Josh Rojas, right? I would, because his bat is pretty awesome, and his pull side power is special. Yandy Diaz, sure, I'll take anyone who gets on base 40% of the time. But of the Rays guys, is Randy Arozarena not the most desirable one?
What is he hitting?
Positional need.
Is he hitting $158 or something? What is he hitting?
I don't even know if he's there at this point.
It's just terrible. Jeff, it's crazy to me. I was doing some digging last night, not only finding you that wonderful mariachi metal, mariachi metal composition of Creed. I was also doing. It's remarkable, the power outage in baseball. You told us last week about the batting average being at an all-time low. I mean, look at the home run numbers. I know we're not quite at the halfway mark. The Mariners are actually, I think, 7th or 8th in home runs hit in all the league right now. And when they finish this road trip, we'll be over and past the halfway total. And it's nowhere near what they were a season ago, or what many. They say the Braves hit over 300 home runs last year. They're getting nowhere near that this season. So it's not only the average. Have we kind of collectively seen a power outage as well?
I don't know if it's a power outage. I think it's just a hitting outage. I think that hitters are just overmatched and overwhelmed by the stuff out there right now. And there's a drastic imbalance when it comes to offense that I think Major League Baseball has real existential questions about, because remember what they did last season. I think I talked about this last week. They put in new rules, and the new rules didn't do anything except for that first year. Like, it's just regressed back to where we were before that. So what's the solution, Brock?
Yep.
I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But any solution, like, you can sit around and wait for things to rebalance as they have throughout the course of baseball history. Or you can be aggressive and try and legislate. But the problem with legislating is you don't know what the unintended consequences are going to be, and they can take a game that's already suffering and potentially make it worse. Is that worth the risk? I don't know. There are some novel thoughts out there that I'm doing some reporting on right now, just in terms of what to do offensively, because, not great.
Aluminum bats. Just put aluminum bats in the game.
Let's not.
Nah, let's do it. Let's go for it. Let's put lives on the line. Let's put a little risk, a little violence.
I'm okay with aluminum. I would actually like to see aluminum bats in the home run derby. I've long been on that bandwagon, and I think it would be super cool to see guys.
Don't put kids in the field shagging balls. You're going to see death.
Yes, that's correct.
You'll see death.
I'm sorry. I understand that Wu-Tang is for the children, but Jeff Passan is not when it comes to the home run derby.
All right.
Okay. You mentioned the home run derby, and Jeff, this brings me to something that Brock said I wasn't angry enough, but I was very annoyed. I was very frustrated by that ballot of all-star votes that were released yesterday to see Cal Raleigh 10th among American League catchers. Are you telling me that there are 9 catchers better than Cal Raleigh in the American League?
No, but I'm going to turn this back on you, Mike. Is your anger and animus at the situation not just slightly misguided?
Yeah, it's at the
Should
fans.
you be angry? Should you be angry at the average voters around the country, or should you be disillusioned with the fact that Seattle fans are not stuffing the ballot box in the way that they absolutely should be?
Yeah, I got into it a little bit with him because some people want Cal Raleigh to rest, and I said no. He needs to represent this city and this team.
Stop it. Rest. The entire All-Star experience is one big rest fest. Come on.
That's what we're dealing with. I had to tell Brock, go vote online. He discovered you could vote online. So Brock has done his civic duty today, and now we need the rest of them out there to get going, get voting. Hasn't happened yet, Jeff. Everyone's letting us down.
It's on you guys. Listen, nobody drums up like anger like sports talk radio. No one can do it like that. So listen, as somebody who has been on the wrong sides of Mariners fans and has come out of it, okay, and survived, you guys may want to take something out of the bank here. You have some built up goodwill with these Mariners fans.
Yep.
And if you go and challenge them and call them out for being lazy when it comes to voting, which I'm sorry, but that's precisely what the numbers say has been the case. Maybe you guys then not only can see Cal Raleigh at the All-Star game, but on top of that can take credit for having started a revolution. And let me tell you, there's something pretty special about that.
That's a crazy train.
I mean, they did it
down.
for Gene Segura, so if you can't do it for Cal Raleigh, that's kind of embarrassing.
That's a big dumper. That's a big dumper right there. That's just Mariners.com/vote, 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 Mariners.com/vote. You can do it 5 times, and then a drone comes and drops a sticker off at your house, and you can say, I voted. It's really, really, really cool. So just go do that. I said last hour, maybe you can shoot me down in a blaze of glory, as I'm just giving you more even 80s references. I said this actually is not a non-issue. I think it's easy to say, oh, this doesn't matter. Who cares? Just perception. Because of Cal Raleigh's agent by the name of Scott Boras. If I'm Scott Boras and I look at this situation and go, really? And Cal Raleigh's 10th with 80,000 votes? What are we doing here? Is a Scott Boras as a puppeteer is the way he is, as a guy that's raised his hand and said, I'd love to see Cal extended now. I'd love to see an extension now. You'd be at the front of my list right now. Does that play a little tiny role in maybe Scott Boras's personality, ego?
I think when it comes to Scott Boras, Brock, there is one number that matters, and that is not the number of all-star votes. It's the number with a dollar sign in front of it.
Yeah, the number of zeros.
That's it.
Okay. All right.
I think Seattle, even if Seattle's not showing up to vote for the All-Star game, I think Seattle as a city has shown Cal Raleigh an immense amount of love and said to him, essentially, we want you around here forever. So I think he feels that, and I think he gets that. And I think at the end of the day, and I don't anticipate there being an extension, by the way, because it's Scott Boras. Very generally speaking, he does not extend players before they reach free agency, but it's going to come down to dollars, plain and simple.
What do you believe? This is a professional question, nothing personal here. What do you believe in protection? Do you buy it? Is there something that in the metrics and the baseball savants and the next level stats that say, nope, protection does matter in a lineup? See also Perez for Bobby Witt Jr. and some of these other guys, and see what Julio maybe does not have surrounding him from a protection standpoint in the lineup. Do you buy that?
I'm sorry. You just keep talking about protection. I'm like, if you don't want kids, yeah, go for it. I buy the concept, but is it going to make or break it? Like, Shohei Ohtani didn't have any protection his entire time in Anaheim. Yeah. And he was still awesome. And I know there were points where he was at the top of the lineup, but Mike Trout was behind him. But Mike Trout was not behind him a lot of the time, and he did just fine. Great players hit regardless of who is in front of them or behind them. And I think that goes for Julio Rodriguez as well.
Hey, Jeff, Brian Woo's going to come back and make a start tomorrow. They had to skip his last start, and he's dealt with those forearm issues. When you have a young pitcher in a situation like this, is this just kind of you hold your breath and wait and see every time he's out there? Or is there anything specifically they can do to avoid just having to maybe skip repeated starts throughout the rest of the season?
It's just tough to tell. I wish I had a better sense of what's going on inside of Brian Woo's arm. This is something that has been the case with him throughout the course of his career. Like the one knock on him has been durability. And are we going to get Brian Woo for a full season, or is it better to, occasionally give him a breather and give his arm some rest and let it recover? Because when he's out there, man, like, he's been the most effective Mariners pitcher, and that is really saying something because that's rotation in baseball. So the notion that they can get Brian Woo out there and have him for a full season, I don't know how realistic that is. It's certainly not this year, but long term. But that's the hope. And any Brian Woo is better than no Brian Woo.
Oh, that's good. That's a bumper sticker. I'm going to leave you with this. I'm going to let you run on this note. I'm going to give you your choice. Do you want Creed or do you want Crazy Train? Do you want Higher or do you want Crazy Train?
Brock, I think he's determined what kind of,
like, are we just talking generally here?
No, I'm talking Metalachi, for God's sakes. Metalachi is what I'm talking about. What do you want?
Play me out with Creed. Play me out with Creed.
Okay. All right. Fine.
There we go. Let's hit it.
Can you take me higher to a place where blind men see? Take me higher.
Thank you, Jeffrey.
Fantastic.
That's what the people want.
Place with golden trees. Sorry, I had to go. Bye, guys.
Thank you. We'll talk to you next Tuesday. Love you. Love you long time. Goodbye.
Jeff
he's
Passan.
gone so
Always
fast.
entertaining. There's some other funny things
That
coming
was
in.
powerful.
That was.
Can you take me higher?
I'm haunted by that.
It's not as good as Mora's.
I don't know. I
She's
think
pretty good with Creed.
Passan could sing a little bit.
I don't think he's
pulled that
feeling the
out.
Crazy Train. But yeah, those are some pipes.
Yes.
I was a little intimidated.
Yes.
Like, how am I going to talk to this man after just hearing that transcendent performance? But
Well, we're going to react to a couple
got through
things
it.
here.
We are going to, a lot to talk
Yeah,
about.
Yeah, lots to talk about.
A lot to talk about. All right, a lot to talk about after hearing the pipes of Jeff Passan and some more Mariners and Guardians coming up, and then we will get to some Seahawks as well. A lot still to get to here on Brock and Salk. Mike Lefko and Brock here with you here on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
Seattle Sports, your home for Bump and Stacy.
What we're going to focus on is something that was said about this team by a player.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
Cal Raleigh.
It's go time now, and we want to be that team. We want to make it to the World Series. We want to win a World Series around here. We want to give these fans something to cheer for.
Last year's message was out of frustration.
Yeah.
This year's message is just out of urgency. Like, we got something good going
good
here.
way to see it.
Let's capitalize on it. Like, the vibe and the feel of the two messages were different.
Read up on the latest news and opinions at seattlesports.com.
Hey everyone, Jaden Schwartz for Techline Roofing. If your summer list includes 18 holes and a new roof, give Techline a call and we'll come out for a free inspection. Trust Techline. They shoot from the tips.
At Buc-ee's, we'll get you ready for summertime. From factory maintenance, AC, brakes, tune-ups, to oil changes, wiper blades, and tire rotation. It's Buc-ee's Complete Auto Repair. Carefree summer driving. No appointment needed and financing's available. Check Buc-ee's.com for the Buc-ee's near you.
Tired of spending endless hours on lawn care? Switch to Synthetic Turf Northwest, the Northwest leader in quality synthetic turf products and professional installation. With 28 years experience, we're your trusted source in Seattle, Tacoma, and Bellevue. Ask about our 18-month no-interest financing and start enjoying a beautiful, low-maintenance lawn today. Say goodbye to stress and hello to a lush green oasis with Synthetic Turf Northwest. SyntheticTurfNorthwest.com, 425-788-0718. Stop stressing about your lawn and start enjoying it.
Hey, it's Mike Salk here for Window Nation. If you haven't had a chance to take advantage of their semi-annual sale, you are in luck because they've extended it. Get 50% off all windows with no interest for 5 years and a bonus 10% savings when you schedule an estimate now. If your old windows are costing you too much for AC, that's a big deal. And now during Window Nation's semi-annual sale, you can replace them and save big. This offer ends June 30th, so schedule your in-home estimate now. Call 866-90-NATION or go to windownation.com.
Suit up in your sweetest stars and stripes for July 4th weekend at T-Mobile Park. The Mariners are celebrating with a post-game fireworks show on Wednesday, July 3rd, presented by T-Mobile. America's pastime and fireworks? It's a patriotic palooza at the park when two of the AL's best, the Orioles and Mariners, square off at 7:10.
He struck him out! What a night, George Kirby! A dozen punch-outs!
Catch two great shows for the price of one. Mariners baseball and a fireworks spectacular featuring a dazzling display of red, white, and Mariners blue. Visit Mariners.com to get your tickets and check out all the action coming to T-Mobile Park this summer. Be here for a 3-game weekend series versus the Blue Jays July 5th through 7th. And more fireworks nights, including the T-Mobile Park 25th anniversary show on July 19th. Mariners baseball. Tridents up.
Can't fix everything for everybody, but you can be there and listen and try to help with what you can. You're there to support them, and that's the best that you can do.
It's this commitment, this philosophy that represents the LJ way.
This is my life. This is my family's life. The people that work here, they're my family. When something's not right with them, it's not right with us. My wife and 3 kids in the house, there's always something wrong with somebody at all times. And if there isn't, then something's wrong. When you have 388 employees, there's never a day that everything is good everywhere. You have to be okay with that. You have to look at that as opportunities to gain a better relationship with people and help them through what they're going through.
The LJ way is the Lee Johnson Auto family.
A slow network is no network for business. That's why more choose Comcast Business. And now we're introducing Ultimate Speed for Business, our fastest plans yet. We're up to 12 times faster than Verizon, AT&T, and T-Mobile. And existing customers could even get up to triple the speeds at no additional cost. All from the company with 99.9% network reliability and advanced cybersecurity. It's Ultimate Speed from Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Don't miss out on our fastest speed plans yet. Get started with internet and security for $49.99 a month for 12 months with a 2-year contract. Plus, ask how to get up to an $800 prepaid card with a qualifying internet package. Don't wait. Call 1-800-501-6000 or go to ComcastBusiness.com to switch today. In 62324, restrictions apply. New customers only with 150 megabits per second internet and security edge. Eco bill and auto pay required. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra. Compares Comcast Business 1.25 gig to 100 megabits per second of Verizon 5G Business, AT&T Wireless Broadband, and T-Mobile for Business. Up to 3 times download for existing essential and standard internet customers.
Your new beginning starts now. D.R. Horton has new construction homes available throughout the greater Seattle area. With spacious floor plans, flexible living spaces, and smart home technology, you can enjoy more cozy moments and sweet memories in your beautiful new home. With new home communities opening throughout the Seattle area, D.R. Horton has the ideal home for you. Visit drhorton.com to learn more. D.R. Horton, America's builder, an equal housing opportunity builder.
This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports.
Give me a freaking auto!
This is Brock and Salk.
Brock Eward is my hero.
Jay Buhner just punched me in the kidney.
On Seattle Sports.
We're going to accuse you of the interview.
That really worked that way, Sherm. This is a show that has my name on it.
It kind of does, though.
Now, here are your hosts, Brock Eward and Mike Salk.
The people are loving it. They can't get enough. Well, some. Some not too fond of it. Mac and Jack's text line, as you can imagine, Brock. A lot of responses on that beautiful, serenading, orchestral, pipe-like version that Jeff Passan just unfurled on us.
Creed will do that to you. I mean, they get hated on a lot, but Creed will do that to you.
Well, here's the thing, too, and I guess we can make fun of the mariachi style because Creed was actually the Rangers' championship song last year. So I don't like that we're promoting that, but it seems like the mariachi version has been their bad luck.
I mean, they're just trying. They're trying to turn things around.
Yeah.
I think when you struggle the way they have been struggling this year, and as Jeff said, I mean, you look at the hitting, man. You look at Garcia, Hine, these guys last year that were just on fire. The young outfielder that's battled some injuries. They just, last year, man, it was one after another after another. And remember, it was a brilliant, blazing start where they built up a cushion and they built up a significant lead. And then Seattle and Houston chipped away at it and chipped away at it and chipped away at it. And, let's hope that that's not the course of action over the next 3 months for these Mariners, that they can just continue to build. And, the difference being the pitching, where Texas just ran out of pitching and injuries and bullpen and everybody caught up to them. That is not the challenge with these Seattle Mariners.
Yeah, certainly you can look back to that and think, yeah, okay, 9 games is great. And as Jeff said, 9 games, it's fun, it's good. It provides some insurance if someone, say, like Mookie Betts gets hurt like the Dodgers are going through right now. If the Mariners have these bumps and bruises that you will have over the course of the next few months, you have that padding. But you just said, and we saw it, the Rangers, they let that division lead completely slip away. They had to clinch in Seattle on that penultimate day of the regular season. They won the wild card, and then they went on the road, and the rest is history. But, 9 games right now is great. The pitching will help, and that's why this series, to me more than anything else, Brock, this series represents what could be the path for the Mariners. The division is great. You've taken care of that. 17-5, it's terrific. That's exactly what you need to do to get to the playoffs. And that's huge. We won't diminish that because having a home series in a playoff-type feel like we saw over the weekend is going to be a massive advantage. But then in those second rounds of the playoffs, the championship series, maybe in the World Series, if you get that far, you're going to play teams like this, like the Guardians, like the Yankees, like the Orioles. The Orioles are coming to town at the start of July. The Yankees, you'll see them soon again. The Guardians, they're here. This is a good team. This is a team that has the second-best division record. It goes Yankees, then Guardians, then Mariners. This is a team you're trying to chase down if you want that first-round bye in the playoffs.
Yeah, sometimes my memory is funny. It can be just absolutely almost photographic, and sometimes there's real holes in it. But that Guardian series, I remember vividly. Emerson Hancock came out, pitched first game, and pitched 5 innings. Remember, that was Woo's kind of first time being shut down at the end of spring training there, and Emerson did a nice job and sprayed a lot of hits in different places. And then, Luis wasn't quite as sharp in his first opening starts, and then, there were a couple just balls in play that for Kirby that just unraveled. Right. And I think for him emotionally, that can be a challenge at times when stuff isn't sharp behind him, when his stuff isn't as sharp. And Cleveland came in here with Stephen Vogt, right? The new manager there with Tito moving out and Vogt moving in. Like, okay, who are these Guardians? All right, what is the American League Central? And they were on it. I mean, Scott Service said it after. You could hear it in Scott Service's voice. Like, hold on a second. We're supposed to play with this edge. We're coming out of spring. And he was as confident coming out of spring that his guys were going to be as sharp as possible to begin this season. And instead, it was Guardians that took 2 of 3. And you could hear it in Scott's voice after losing that series at home.
Oh, you want us to play that clip?
Oh, I mean, I just tried to tease you.
Yeah,
Gosh,
I know. I was
going to
kind of wait.
I know that Bob and Dave don't listen to each other, but actually Salk and I listen to each other.
They had a game plan. They were going to stay super aggressive. They were going to swing. They were going to put the ball in play, which they're really good at, and we didn't make some plays behind them. So that certainly got away from us early, and before you know it, we were out of the ball games.
I still like Creed rattling around in my head.
Yeah, you do. He was irritated. You split with the Red Sox, right? Split with the Red Sox. You lose that series. So that opening homestand, I mean, it's hard to believe looking at the home record now, as Jeff said, and as amazing as they have been really since, the first couple weeks at home. But unbelievable. Best in baseball. Playing to that crowd, playing to that kind of ball. But not the opening homestand. And one little nugget in there. And Passan alluded to this as well. The kind of defense these guys are playing. right? Some of the plays and some of the balls that Canzone has gotten to and Rayleigh gets to out in that outfield, and some of the athleticism and speed. A great play by Locklear the other night to close out that series, and what Rojas has done locking down that third base. And I know maybe the range or whatever with the next level stats with JP isn't as extraordinary as some of his peers like Gunnar or Witt, but dude is making some dynamic plays at shortstop, and Dylan's playing a great second. Like, it is cleaned up behind him, and it's going to have to be clean in this series. Really, this road trip, this 9-game road trip is going to have to play some clean baseball.
And, Brock, for me, this whole series kind of hinges on Brian Wu. He's coming in game 2, so you're either going to have won a game and you can take the series, or you're trying to avoid dropping that series. So a pivotal start situation, coming back after missing a start against the team. Like we said, he did not face them the first time. And this is something where he has been so good before the injury, before this recent injury, where the 6 innings against the A's, just 2 hits, 6 strikeouts, no walks. The start before that against the Angels, 6 innings, 3 hits, no runs allowed. Brian Wu's only allowed 4 runs all season, and 3 of them came in that one blip against the Nationals. So can Wu channel that? Or will this be a pitcher still trying to find that feel? Will the forearm be there lingering? Will it be a mental aspect as well against an offense that will punish you?
I will give you one positive on this, and Justin Barnes just experienced it in his life over the last 4 days. When you get into a steam room, you tend to loosen up a little quicker. You really do. You know, I was back in St. Louis over the weekend, and it was 93. They got this like heat dome going on with humidity, and you're like, oh my gosh. So today in Cleveland, it looks like
toasty.
Yeah, it's going to be 90 degrees and 60% humidity. Tomorrow, 87, same kind of humidity. And actually for a pitcher, it's hot and it's sticky, but I think most of the guys I've experienced, and certainly as a thrower, like, that's awesome. Like, give me that. I get loose so quickly, and, maybe not have to worry in between innings, which have been a little bit problematic. Like, he ain't going to get cold. You're going to stay real toasty and real warm over these 3 days back in the Midwest.
Yeah, that's a good point, too, because I think then preemptively we have to issue that warning. Hey, you might see these pitchers come out after a shorter pitch count than you're used to. After throwing fewer pitches than people might get comfortable with. Like, Brian Wu came out after 66 pitches one time. I know Logan Gilbert was pulled on a similar situation on a very warm day. He had a pitch count in the 70s.
You know what? That is a totally myopic Mariner view. And I get it from the fanatics. I get it. But that is you were getting after the 509. I'm going to get after the Mariners fans just a little bit in this regard, because that is so myopic. Look at the innings pitched. Go look at it of the starters all around baseball, all 29 teams. Go compare and contrast. Get on your phone. Well, don't. Keep working. And keep your hands on the wheel if you're driving, for crying out loud. But you know what you're going to see? Logan's right there near the top of the list with 98 innings pitched. And Luis is right there behind him. And Kirby is right there as well. And Bryce Miller is right there. No, these dudes are throwing innings, getting quality starts, doing more than any other rotation has. So let's slow our roll a little bit on, keeping them out there for even more and more and more, because they're doing more than anybody else in all of baseball is doing right now.
Yeah, and it shows when you give these guys proper rest. Like, when you don't overextend them in a situation that might not need it, you get an 8-inning outing like Logan Gilbert turned in on Sunday. So these pitchers have provided everything and more. It does put a interesting weight on the bullpen if they're not going to go deep, which against the Cleveland team, it's tough to imagine them going 7 to 8 innings every start like they did a couple of times this year. And like we saw Logan Gilbert
Depends a little bit, though. If they want to be
Sunday.
hyper aggressive, which they were in that opening series, right? And they want to just swing at, Bryce Miller's a fastball guy. Obviously Wu's a fastball guy. Kirby's a fastball guy, and they were super aggressive in that opening series. So, yeah, this is going to be fun, man. This is going to be a great matchup, and just go find a way to win this series on the road.
Yeah, a couple more things you need to know about that. So we will get into more about this matchup.
Wait,
and then,
can I just say here, Brock, you brought up how nice Lefko is earlier.
Yeah.
And then you kind of bullied him that segment. Like, do you
What do you
even listen? You
he didn't listen. He didn't listen. I mean, he didn't. I teed it up. I let it go.
I was distracted by your orange and pink color palette.
Is that what it is, too?
Yeah,
okay.
I don't even know what
don't
color
be
that shirt
distracted.
is.
Don't be distracted then.
Just got me.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, you said he's like the nicest guy in the building. You might want to take it a little easier.
Now I know why Kate
fine.
Scott has never met Brock in person. I get it. It just makes sense there.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll be nicer. I'll put kid gloves on for everything you need to know with Lefko and me right here on Seattle Sports next.
Seattle Sports, your home for Bump and Stacy.
Joel in Tacoma says, what's more stressful to watch, the Seahawks in the fourth quarter or the Mariners in 7, 8, and 9?
Mariners all day.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
Mariners all day. They have shown they're capable of being in any type of game. I think we're slowly starting to figure out that they're capable of throwing hands with the best and keeping them in the game. The next step will be for them just to dominate the weaker teams.
Don't miss an hour of the show. Find the podcast at seattlesports.com.
For a road trip out there, the sun is out. You look at the forecast this week in the Northwest, it is going to be beautiful. And it's time for you to take the Harnish Auto Family Road Trip Sales Event to the next level. Hey, Brock Ewart here. And this month of June, my friends down at the Harnish Auto Family are offering you a chance to win a $500 road trip package from Sportco and Outdoor Emporium. Simply go test drive any vehicle and enter for your chance to win. There is no purchase necessary. Plus, you'll get an additional entry when you trade in or sell your vehicle. And that's not all. If you service your vehicle during the event, you'll automatically be entered into a giveaway for a solo stove. These are pretty cool. Perfect for those nights under the stars. And it's all happening right now. Just stop by your favorite dealership. Volkswagen of Puyallup, go say hi to Subaru of Puyallup, say hi to Ryan. Kia of Everett, say hi to EB. Chevrolet Buick GMC of P-Town, that's Stace as well. Or go say hi to Ward at Chevrolet of Everett. Take a test drive for your chance to win a $500 outdoor prize package from Sportco and Outdoor Emporium. And all you got to do is visit harnishautofamily.com for the hometown hookup and go check out all their new models and over 300 used cars and trucks as well. Tell them I sent you. It's a Harnish Auto Family, where people matter.
On Saturday, July 6th, Jackson Smith and Jigba will host the Seattle All-Star Softball Classic, presented by Wade's Lifestyle at Chidi Stadium, featuring your favorite athletes and celebrities. Tickets start at just $25. Go to SeattleAllStarClassic.com.
Are you looking for a construction loan to build your dream home? Are you a local builder needing a better financing option for your next spec project? Hi, I'm Scott Rireka, CEO of Legacy Group Capital in Bellevue. Stop wasting time with local banks and credit unions and their endless guidelines. We're the experts for common sense residential construction loans. We lend our own money, we make our own decisions. And if your deal makes sense, we'll get it done fast with flexible terms. For homeowners, we advise you every step of the way with things like budget and timeline, ensuring the completion of your dream home. For builders, Legacy's not only your lender, we'll source your next deal, provide permitting services, and if you're short on equity, we'll invest alongside of you. Legacy Group Capital has lent more than $1 billion, helping over 130 local builders and hundreds of homeowners. We can help you.
Construction loans don't have to be hard. Borrow smart with a common sense construction loan from Legacy Group Capital. Visit LegacyG.com. LegacyG.com.
Mike Salk here for RiversideRoofingLLC.com, where you can enter your address and receive a hassle-free quick quote on your roof replacement within seconds. Do it this spring and save time, money, and get your project done at RiversideRoofingLLC.com, the roofing company you can trust.
No one knows the importance of a great assist more than Lowe's and Leo Messi. That's why we've teamed up to give MVP's Pro Rewards members 10 times the points when Messi makes an assist during CONMEBOL Copa America USA 2024. Activate this offer starting June 20th, so when Messi assists, you score. Shop the day after an assist to earn those extra points. Not an MVP's Pro Rewards member? Join today.
Okay, we've got an hour to clean both cars. Grab the buckets. Cool. I picked up some 303. Their aerospace protectant is awesome, so we're going to try some of their other stuff. Grab me that bottle of wash.
Whoa, that smells amazing.
Yeah, that citrus is nice. Okay, now hand me the hose.
Hey!
I don't see a bucket yet.
303 Car Care, driven by quality. Available at most auto retailers and Amazon.
Subscribe to the Seattle Sports YouTube page to find new and exclusive content from your favorite shows and personalities daily. Just head to YouTube, search Seattle Sports, and click subscribe.
I saw her texting, coming up to a stop sign, and so I saw the accident coming, and she T-boned us.
In the blink of an eye, Crystal's life changed when she suffered a severe spinal injury.
The pain was something I had never experienced before in my neck. I got massage therapy. I saw a chiropractor. I was prescribed muscle relaxers so I could sleep. I got depressed. Nothing was relieving the pain.
Drugs, sleepless nights, and depression. Sound familiar? I'm Dr. Mark Shelley, a chiropractic physician and board-certified functional neurologist. At Sound Pain Solutions, our treatments include high-dose laser combined with spinal decompression and other comprehensive therapies to rehabilitate damaged discs. We use treatments that are non-surgical, FDA-cleared, drug and pain-free.
I was able to get off my pain medicines, and I was able to sleep through the night, and that was what I was desperate for.
To learn if you're a candidate for our treatment, call us. Sound Pain Solutions, 855-996-3536, or click soundpainsolutions.com.
It's Dave Wyman for R&R Foundation Specialist. Your home's foundation supports everything that sits on top of it. You know, the most common cause of a settling foundation is a condition in the soil called differential settlement. It goes back to inconsistent soil compaction when your home was first built, which in turn causes your entire home to bend and twist. And what you'll notice in your home when that occurs, sloped floors, bowed or cracked walls, or windows and doors that don't open and close properly. R&R Foundation Specialist raises and restores settling foundations by repositioning the load of your home onto steel piers that they drive deep into the ground. Then they gently lift it back into place with a hydraulic lift. It's a permanent solution to restore your home's foundation and its structural integrity. If you suspect your foundation is settling, do what I did. Have R&R Foundation Specialist come out for free. They'll identify the issue, and they will resolve it. Schedule your free estimate at rrfoundationspecialist.com.
Need to know.
15 minutes past every hour with Brock and Salk.
Here's what you need to know. Up first.
MLB unveiled its first batch of all-star voting. Got to get into this, Brock. It's been a source of frustration all morning for me.
Mariners.com/vote, Mariners.com/vote, Mariners.com/vote. You can vote up to 5 times a day, and you've got another week to do so.
There you go. You heard it from Brock here. Voting for Phase 1 ends June 27th, and right now, Cal Raleigh's 10th among American League catchers behind such deserving candidates like Bo Naylor and Danny Jansen, who barely play behind the plate. So, all right, I don't care about your morals or your batting average concerns. Go vote for Cal Raleigh, and we'll stop addressing that today. But maybe the push continues tomorrow. We'll see. We'll see where the voting is.
The folks in Cleveland, and I know it's Cleveland, especially in April and May. Cleveland in the summer, actually, a little underrated on the water. It's going to be very, very pretty. But they have been stuffing the ballots because you just look at this matchup on paper between these two teams today, and Cleveland's got all-stars galore. Juan's going to be an all-star. Ramirez over at third base is an all-star. Got a bunch of dudes sitting there at second and third and fourth in the voting all over the place in as far as positional players go. So the Guardian fans, they've been out in full throat, man, full voice of really voting for their guys. And they should. They're in first place in their division. Stephen Vogt, the local boy that was with the Mariners in the bullpen as a bullpen coach last year, as a first-year manager. And we saw them in the second series of the season. They've stayed hot, remaining in first place in a very, very competitive American League Central.
Yeah, 5th fewest strikeout rate of any team in baseball. They also have the best home winning percentage, the fewest home losses, the best home winning percentage right now. The Cleveland Guardians at 21-8. That will be the challenge for the Mariners. It's Bryce Miller, Brian Wu, and Luis Castillo. A couple of 3:40 starts with 2:30 pregames the next 2 days, and then a 10:10 first pitch, 9 o'clock pregame on Thursday.
Here's the second thing you need to know.
Well, Brock, the overarching storyline of the NFL offseason seems to be wide receivers, and wide receivers frustrated, getting new contracts, or holding out until they get new contracts. That includes 49ers wideout Brandon Ayuk, who skipped minicamp. And then yesterday, I don't know why you do this. Sometimes, less social media, the better.
TikTok, man, dangerous.
Posted a TikTok platform. Video of himself, FaceTiming his former college teammate Jaden Daniels, recently drafted by the Commanders. And in it, Ayuk says, quote, "They don't want me back." Well, it turns out maybe they do want him back, and it might be a little bit of a negotiating tactic, as Adam Schefter outlines here.
The 49ers have made repeated efforts to sign Brandon Ayuk. The two sides were unable to work out a deal. And now the problem that I think has entered into the situation, the scenario, is that some of these other wide receiver deals have gotten done at big numbers. And so when the talks break down, now Brandon Ayuk is saying that they don't want him back in a TikTok video. Well, they do want him back, but they don't want him back at the price that Brandon Ayuk wants to be back at.
Yeah, because the 49ers are I hate to say this, but with Shanahan and John Lynch, a really well-run organization. And so is Les Snead and McVay down there in L.A. this is a tough division. Arizona continues to be kind of a messy dumpster fire organizationally from the very, very top, but the other three, not so much. And I think San Francisco is going to do what the Seahawks have done over the years with Justin's buddy down there that he was hanging out with in Austin, Golden Tate. We've seen Paul Richardson, other guys, like, here's our number. This is what we can do. And if that ain't good enough, then go take your services elsewhere, and we will draft and develop our next batch of wide receivers.
Here's the third thing you need to know.
Oh, Celtics won their 18th NBA title last night. 18, Brock. That's the number of titles they won.
Oh.
Yeah. And
Is that
I
more
get
than
accused
anybody
of
else?
not listening. Wow.
Is that more than anybody else?
That is more than anyone else. Now more than the Lakers. I'm sure Michael Bumpus will talk about that coming up on Bump and Stacy. But yeah, 18th NBA title last night after the 106-88 win over the Mavericks. Brock, I think you've been asking for it because you added your own little editorial note to it. But here's what Adam Silver said. Now, as we look toward the NBA offseason and the future of expansion, he was on with Mark Hessisher and PJ Carlissimo on ESPN Radio.
The next round of expansion will be more focused on continental United States. And in that case, the factors go to the amount of interest there are in those markets. Certainly markets that maybe have historically had NBA teams. You would know that well, PJ. That comes into the mix as well. So those are largely the factors. And yeah, I'd say we also look where other leagues have done, where we've seen success for major league sports.
Yeah, Sounders, Storm, the Mariners, the Seahawks, all pretty good. And the Sonics back in the day when it was absolutely rocking in the 70s and the 80s and the 90s. This isn't even like a question. You said it appropriately and excellently, I think, in the last Need to Know. It's not a matter of if it's going to happen. It's a matter of when it's going to happen. And now that these new TV deals are being finalized and the ink's going to dry probably in the weeks ahead because they're going to need all that done for their offseason to begin, for all their aprons. Do you know there's aprons in the NBA?
Are there aprons?
There's aprons in the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. I don't know what they mean, but I've heard the term apron now a lot when it comes to like their salary cap, and you can only have a certain number of aprons in the kitchen or whatever. I don't know. I think it's offensive, crying out loud. Can we come up with a different term than aprons? Does anybody even wear an apron anymore?
It's how you keep food off your clothes.
Come on. Do you wear an apron?
I don't cook
Other
enough to
in
need
restaurants, do you ever see aprons? It's stupid. Come up with a better term.
I will say, and that is everything you need to know, that when the NBA comes back here, you thought the NFL salary cap was dense as we dive into the minutia of that. The NBA salary cap?
Yes.
Oh, whole new world there.
Yes, it is.
Get ready to learn the mid-level exception and all the other words that I don't remember.
Seriously, apron is a new term. Apron
confusing.
is a new term.
I'm sure it is, and there's a completely different salary cap structure in every other sport than the NFL because they're all guaranteed. So the things that you have to do to maneuver with the cap and then the luxury tax
and the
threshold
hockey is like down to dollars and cents on a daily basis.
Right.
Like it is like they like your bank account. It's just every single day, or your savings account. It's pretty outrageous, pretty crazy. I will say this about the NBA: the one thing that new commissioner has done is it is unbelievably competitive. 6 different champions over the last 6 years now. This talk of, in a sport that was built on dynasties, right? It was built on the Celtics dynasties of the 60s and the Lakers and the Celtics and the Bulls. It was built on dynasties. That's not happening. Not in that league anymore. Not with the structure of it, the movement of it, and everything else. And I think that can be a positive for the Seattle Supersonics when they do indeed come back.
You did startle me a little bit with the Nashville news, or those murmurs that have been, I guess.
Yeah.
They've been around.
I don't think that has anything to do with Seattle. I think that's just with Vegas.
Anytime you throw another city out there, it's a little concerning.
Okay.
Because it seemed like the foregone conclusion was Vegas, Seattle. And now just the fact that, all right, other teams, other cities are clamoring.
Well,
and
don't be
certainly
concerned.
A lot of people want it.
Don't get nervous, my friend. Don't get nervous because he just said it right there. He places that have had past experience, Vegas has not had that. So, this is going to be Seattle. And then maybe, I'm sure these owners would love for Nashville and Vegas and some others to Kansas City. He's got an arena. Try to, ratchet up that price, ratchet up that new, expansion fee and everything. It's, what it comes down to. Just like Jeff said about Mr. Boris and Cal Raleigh, it all comes down to the dollars and cents. But in the end, when that dust settles, the Supersonics are coming back.
Well, speaking of dollars and cents, the Mariners might have to make some financial maneuvering to get someone that they need for not just this year, but for the next couple years to build on this championship window. So we'll get back to a little bit of what Jeff Passan told us, some interesting names that he floated out there, and then some names that Brock and I have that the Mariners could use, the non-Luis Robert category, because outside of Luis Robert, there are some potential options out there for the Mariners. We'll get to that up next. It's Mike Lefko and Brock Huard with you. Brock and Salk here on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
Seattle Sports, your home for Bump and Stacy.
What we're going to focus on is something that was said about this team by a player.
Weekdays, 10 to 2.
Cal Raleigh.
It's go time now, and we want to be that team. We want to make it to the World Series. We want to win a World Series around here. We want to give these fans something to cheer for.
Last year's message was out of frustration.
Yeah.
This year's message is just out of urgency. Like, we got something good going here.
A good way to see it.
Let's capitalize on it. Like, the vibe and the feel of the two messages were different.
Read up on the latest news and opinions at seattlesports.com.
Hey, it's Mike Salk here, and if you're getting ready for a fun night out, you know Snoqualmie Casino is just the place to go and have a good time. They got Adam Carolla coming up Saturday, July 13th. You know Adam Carolla, comedian, actor, radio personality, television host, author, currently hosts the Adam Carolla Show, the Guinness Book of World Records for most downloaded podcast. And beforehand, go to Falls Buffet, back open, serving all your favorites. It is Seattle's closest casino, only 30 minutes from downtown, and online at snocasino.com. Seattle's closest, Snoqualmie Casino.
Summer's here, and it's time for you to put yourself in the game. But you don't have to do it alone. Come visit the incredible showroom and the all-star team at Toyota of Kirkland. With a large selection of over 70 brand new Tundras and Tacomas on the lot, you'll be able to test drive one and take it home the same day. And don't forget about that lifetime powertrain warranty. Now that's how you become the MVP. Come in today or visit online at toyotaofkirkland.com. toyotaofkirkland.com.
Chill or grill on a new deck this season. Get a free Makita Bluetooth radio or portable pellet grill with a qualifying PAR deck package purchase. But hurry, offer ends soon. Visit PAR.com for details. PAR, your total home building source. Go where the builders go.
Are you curious about who offers the best deals on top-rated Samsung, LG, and Sony TVs? The answer is surprising. It's not online, and it's not the warehouse clubs. The best deals on top-rated TVs are at Video Only. Don't believe it? Then check out the trade-in deals at Video Only. How about $500 for your old TV? Try doing that online. Before you buy that new TV, drop into Video Only. If you don't, you'll be sorry.
Hey everyone, Tom Nelson for Cressy Door. Since 1952, we've been installing garage doors for your home, building, or dealership. If you need Cressy Door service or a whole new set of doors, visit our friends at Cressy Door. Make your next garage door a Cressy Door.
Hey there, you in aisle 2. I see you by the fiber and laxatives. You still using those to manage your constipation with belly pain? If your symptoms keep coming back, you may have irritable bowel syndrome with constipation, or IBS-C. So you may need more than over-the-counter treatments to manage it. Ask your doctor about how Linzess can help you get ahead of it.
Linzess linaclotide is a prescription medicine that treats IBS-C in adults. It's not a laxative. It's a once-daily pill that helps you get ahead of your symptoms. It's proven to help you have more frequent and complete bowel movements and helps relieve overall abdominal symptoms, belly pain, discomfort, and bloating. These symptoms were studied in combination, not individually. Do not give Linzess to children less than 2. It may harm them. Do not take Linzess if you have a bowel blockage. Get immediate help if you develop unusual or severe stomach pain, especially with bloody or black stools. The most common side effect is diarrhea, sometimes severe. If it's severe, stop taking Linzess and call your doctor right away. Other side effects include gas, stomach area pain, and swelling. Learn more at linzess.com or call 1-800-LINZESS.
Do you know a woman who gives her all to the sports community, encourages diversity, and empowers those around her? Stacey Rost here. Seattle Sports is once again partnering with the Seattle chapter of WISE, which stands for Women in Sports and Events. We want to recognize a woman in our community, and we need your help finding her. Nominations for the 3rd annual Women of Inspiration Award are open until July 12th. The winner will receive a donation to the cause of their choice. Nominate an inspiring woman at woiseattle.org.
You want to talk about this part? You really want to do this?
I do.
You really want to get into this?
Yeah, I got some questions.
All right. Well, I got answers.
The Brock and Salk Show is brought to you every day by Simply Seattle.
Transform your outdoor space with Synthetic Turf Northwest, the Northwest's leader in synthetic turf solutions for 28 years, serving Seattle, Tacoma, and Bellevue. Specializing in residential backyard golf greens, custom play areas, and pet-friendly systems, we create stunning, low-maintenance landscapes for every need. Our artificial grass systems offer unmatched durability and beauty tailored to your lifestyle. Plus, ask about our 18-month no-interest financing. SyntheticTurfNorthwest.com, 425-788-0718. Synthetic Turf Northwest, where expertise meets excellence.
Lexus is electrified, and the first ever RZ450E has the performance and range to get you where you need to go with the exclusive Lexus Direct 4 all-wheel drive technology. Lexus of Bellevue has over 50 RZs available for immediate delivery with electrifying savings up to $17,000 lease cash on every RZ450E. Visit LexusofBellevue.com.
On approval of credit through LFS, lease cash from Lexus available on select 2024 RZ styles. Must take delivery by July 1st, 2024. A documentary service fee up to $200 may be added to the purchase price or capitalized costs. See dealership for details.
June is Men's Health Month, and Swedish Cyberknife wants to make a positive difference in the life of someone listening right now. After skin cancers, prostate cancer is the most commonly diagnosed cancer among men. 1 in 8 men will be diagnosed with prostate cancer during their lifetime. Right now, it is estimated that more than 3 million U.S. men are living with prostate cancer. As men increase in age, their risk of developing prostate cancer increases. About 6 in 10 cases are found in men over the age of 65. Men with relatives, fathers, brothers, sons with a history of prostate cancer may be twice as likely to develop the disease. Prostate cancer can be silent. It's important to get checked, even if you have no symptoms. If you or someone you know is diagnosed with prostate cancer, consider treatment at Swedish Cyberknife right here in Seattle. It's one of the shortest, requiring only 5 treatment sessions. Swedish Cyberknife physicians publish a 97% effective rate. Go to swedish.org/cyberknifeprostate.
This is Brock and Salk.
Weekdays 6 to 10.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
We got some time before we turn you over to Bump and Stacy, and pretty nice of the Mariners, I guess, on the East Coast. They break news a little bit earlier. We get to break it on our show. So, Brock, Ty France is back. Reinstated off the 10-day IL.
Nice.
Can you guess the corresponding move?
Yes.
Well, you saw it, so okay.
Yeah.
Kind of ruining it. So, the corresponding move, not Tyler Locklear.
Good.
But Sebi Zavala. Yeah, Sebi Zavala, designated for assignment. So, Ty France back, Tyler Locklear stays around, and Sebi Zavala DFA'd. What does that say to you about what they just did?
Yeah, it says that Mitch Garver's going to play some of that catcher when Cal needs his spots, and I think that's better for him. And that's something I clamored for really since April. You know, when he started slow, it's just, hey, man, this guy's played catcher his whole life. He's not been a designated hitter. Even in Texas last year, I think he caught 26 or 28 games. And I don't know, is that why, you know, when he's been in the lineup as a catcher, he's, you know, started to heat up a little bit with the bat too. I think it helps. And he's competent. He's great. And George in particular, I think, loves throwing to him behind the plate. So, yeah, you're not gonna carry Zavala on this roster without him, you know, catching. And he's not been the backup catcher. That really has been Mitch the last few weeks. And frankly, I kind of like what I see out of Locklear so far. Some swing and miss, some strikeouts, but a couple pretty nice home runs, and he plays a great first base. So, yeah, I don't mind that move and applaud it, actually.
Yeah, the strikeout rate high for Locklear, a little over 41%, but he has made some fun plays out there. He brings that good spark that I think Mariners fans have rallied around. It's just interesting to me because Garver has strictly been George Kirby's catcher. And I don't know if that was by design to start, but you have seen him gradually. So he started the first 2 games, then Cal finished those. The last 2 times that Mitch Garver caught, he caught the entire game, which included a 10-inning game against the White Sox. So Mariners are pretty confident that he's going to get back there. And I know they originally wanted him to just be a DH because of the injury history. But this is the push, and we saw it already this year with Luis Urias. Brought him over. Hey, it didn't work out. They're cutting ties. They're not going to have a guy hang around who is not producing. And to me, with that, with the Brant Brown move, and now with Sebi Zavala, the Mariners are saying, look, we have no time to waste. This leads kind of right into what we want to talk about, what Jeff Passan said about the trade deadline, about potential pieces to still add to this team. And I think these past 3 moves, yeah, they didn't work out, but it should give you some optimism that the Mariners have adapted and they're ready to move forward.
Yeah. There is a sense of urgency. They're not going to rest on their laurels. Justin and Jerry know what they have, and they have an amazing, amazing pitching staff. that, has put together, 8 more quality starts than anybody in all of baseball. Philadelphia, second to them, I think, at 39. The Mariners at 46. I mean, just you have a foundational young building block. Now, can we work around the edges a little bit? Can we work in the margins a little bit? That's what the offseason was about. Those moves that you just referenced right there, Zavala in particular, and Urias. Those were just kind of fringe edge moves. And all right, so didn't work, didn't move the needle. And now let's see what's next. I will just say this: my gut, and I may be 180 wrong, but my gut and my instinct is Luis Robert is not on the table. Mm-hmm. When you hear Passan talk about all the other teams, and those teams in particular, Philadelphia, the Dodgers, the Royals, right? They're either through capital, through farm systems, they've got enough of it. I don't see that fit here. As Jeff said, and Salk and I talked about last year, there's, you trade for him because you need a center fielder. You have a center fielder here, and he's young and he's dynamic, and so you're not going to get the benefit that the Dodgers or the Kansas City Royals, who have a huge void in need there, are going to get for Luis Robert. So I don't see that as realistic. And then when it comes to the polar bear, I mean, the Grimace Mets right now have won 6 in a row. I mean, they're right in that thing, and he's right in the middle of that lineup. And rentals have never been in the DNA of this organization. So I know those are the two familiar names, but I'm just not feeling it.
Yeah, and what's an issue, and what's interesting is that the National League is kind of a mess. And we didn't have time to get into that with Jeff Passan, but that's going to severely restrict who's available. And I think he did kind of mention it's just the Rockies and the Marlins. Literally, it is every other team is within 2 games of a playoff spot or in the playoffs, except for the Rockies and the Marlins. So, yeah, to your point, Pete Alonso, hey, the Mets probably want to hang on to him. We know their owner out there loves to be aggressive, so now they're thinking they have a chance. And I kind of wonder if keeping Tyler Locklear up symbolizes that, not that they don't need Pete Alonso. He could provide that nice slug, as Passan was saying, but you now have a glut of first basemen. You have Ty France, who's not going to play anywhere else. You have Tyler Locklear, who's not going to play anywhere else. So bringing Pete Alonso over, that's just redundancy at this point.
Yeah.
So who now, Brock? Who's a name that you like? Who's someone that the Mariners could use?
Yeah, my buddy Luke Arkins and I, when I wasn't listening to mariachi music last night and wasn't doing my crazy stuff, we were DMing one another, and he's going to put together a great piece. I don't know if that's going to be out today, but pretty soon. And he talked about the 2 targets we talked about in January and February, and that is a team and an organization the Mariners like to do business with. An old Larry Hillsism. People do business with people they enjoy doing business with. And it sure feels like Justin and Jerry have done a lot of business with the team they're going to see down there in Tampa, right? So begin the series in Cleveland, then it's down to Miami. They wrap up the series with Tampa. And, both of their corner guys were people we talked about in the winter, right? Yandy Diaz being one of them at first base, not having a great year. I know that Jeff said you love guys that get on base 40% of the time. He's doing it like 32% of the time. So not been a great year for him. But Paredes, and it looks like Isaac, but it's Isak. Paredes on the other side on third base, he's having that year. 830 OPS, 10 bombs, plays a really good third base, which you could kick Rojas back over to second. He plays a great second base too. So, that would be a name. That would be an organization. That would be the kind of move that feels a little bit more to me like a Jerry and Justin move.
Yeah, here's what Jeff said when we talked to him about that last hour.
I almost look at Josh Rojas at third base and say, he's gotten so good defensively over there. Like, he's been an above-average offensive player. He's not a star, but I almost wonder at this point if you look at third base, and I would take Isak Paredes over Josh Rojas, right? I would, because his bat is pretty awesome, and his pull side power is special. Yandy Diaz, sure, I'll take anyone who gets on base 40% of the time. But of the Rays guys, is Randy Arozarena not the most desirable one?
That's why you just don't look at batting average, Brock. Because you mentioned his bad batting average, so it wouldn't necessarily sell you on Arozarena. But it feels like if you're not going to go get Luis Robert, which you think that's not going to happen. And I agree, because of all the teams that need him, and Passan outlined pretty much every one of them. That includes the Phillies and potentially the Dodgers and all those teams that could offer a lot. It would take the farm and more, perhaps, from the Mariners. So if you're not going to get Robert and you're not going to get a pure first baseman in Pete Alonso or Vlad Guerrero Jr., well, who is there? Well, it could be a combination of guys. I mean, and then what if you get one of these guys that John Morosi mentioned in addition? So he told this to Wyman and Bob last week about guys he would like outside of Luis Robert.
I would much rather, to be honest with you, make a play for someone like a Luis Rengifo with the Angels. Maybe Taylor Ward there as well. There are players that I think would change a bit more of the lineup feel and look than bringing in Luis Robert. I would rather have a Rengifo or a Ward than Robert, for me, in my opinion. I would even go, if you're going to go with an outfielder, Brenton Doyle's having a great year with Colorado. They're always an interesting team to try to trade with because of their they just don't really run their team like everybody else. So I think there are other players that are more durable and available than Robert, who I would recommend ahead of him.
All right, so give me an infielder and an outfielder.
Mm-hmm.
Call it a successful trade deadline.
Mm-hmm.
I think we figured it out. We got it.
Yeah, I think the challenge there, and I think Passan would say this, and I know Salk would say this, like the Mariners are not doing business with the Angels. So just the exact opposite of that Larry Hills, isn't it? Larry Hills.
So give me Brenton Doyle then and call it a day.
Does he have any track record? Does he have any real resume? He's having a nice year in Colorado. People have nice years in Colorado every once in a while.
I honestly don't know anything about Brenton Doyle.
Either do I.
Well, if he came here, I'd look it up, and then we'd figure it out.
I know McMahon. I know the third baseman over there. I know he has been a pretty darn good player as well. But, I mean, those just, again, to me, feel, if you have 8 years of history, and every once in a while, you have 14 years of history with John Schneider and the Seahawks, and we get to the, around the draft, and you're like, or you get these free agent moves, like, oh, that's not a John move. That's not a Seahawk move. That's not a culture move. That just doesn't fit with what they have always done. It doesn't mean you never go outside the box. Because Luis Castillo was outside the box, but he had a resume. He was the rock. He was the ace. He was, and you had the right prospects at the right time for that move. I don't think that matches up with a Luis Robert, and I do not want to get into a bidding war for his kind of services. Not when you already have a center fielder, and you wouldn't get the same value of him playing a corner spot that others would with them playing center field. So I'm more into, again, that Tampa Bay vein, man. I go back to relationally where they have seemed to trade every single year, every offseason, find ways to get a deal done that's good for both sides. And, they're struggling, and they're looking way up in the American League East, and they realize, man, we got the Orioles. Whew, these dudes ain't going anywhere. They're young, and they're sprung, and they're hungry, and they're talented. The Yankees, they're not going anywhere with Judge and some of their young pieces, and certainly they're going to throw the bank at Soto. So if you're the Rays, what do you got to do? You got to replenish, as they always do with young bats. And what do you have? Young bats. So to me, that feels much, much more like a trade partner.
Do you think they do it when they're down there? Probably not. Too early. It would be nice to just grab a win over Tampa and then bring a guy back with you. But it might feel like something where the Diamondbacks last year, you played them, and then a couple weeks later, you end up making the trade. There is another option that we can spend a few minutes on, and it's something you brought up. And it's something that some have addressed on the Mac and Jacks text line. It would not be the most popular option, but there is the option of keeping all your prospects and really not doing much to part ways with this young, very bright future of this position-laden group of prospects that now has replenished the farm system, that you have 5 in Keith Law's latest top 50 of prospect hitters. Yeah. So there's that option of
that's why I asked Passan that question.
Yeah.
That's why I asked Passan that question. Can this 40-man roster win the World Series? What do you say?
You want to hear it?
Can this 40-man roster win the World Series?
Yes. That's how good their pitching is. I believe in the pitching, and I believe in October, even though you're facing the teams that have the best lineups in the world, that the Mariners pitching can neutralize that. But just because they can, Brock, doesn't mean that they should go with this 40-man roster. It is a flawed group. There are issues, and I really worry about the strikeouts in October. I really worry about that hindering their offense and putting just immense amounts of pressure on their pitchers to throw zeros up.
Yeah, and I know. And there's a part of me, honestly, that's like, oh, my gosh, can we just cryo-freeze this whole pitching staff and then just speed everybody else up for a year and a half? Can you imagine if this wave of young arms that came through that you drafted and you developed and you honed, and first rounder after first rounder after first rounder, who right now is spitting zero after zero after zero, quality start after quality start after quality start, if you could then pair them with that next wave of all of these bats that Jeff said right now, farm system, best in baseball. Your offensive bats are the best in baseball. And you just would love to see those two things coalesce, right? Like, what if? Because you know it's a crapshoot. You know, out of the 6 top guys, right? Out of Farmello, and I know he's injured, and Cole Young, and Ford, and Montez, and Pete. Like, you know that 1 or 2 of them is going to hit, and 3 or 4 won't. But if you deal 3 or 4 of them, what if they were the ones that hit elsewhere?
Well, I will say, dealing with the Rays and the names you mentioned would not cost you like it does if you're getting Luis Robert. So there could be a combination of that, and I think that might be the most viable option, that maybe you part ways with 2 of those guys. And then you still have your core non-tradable assets, because there are prospects, and you guys have talked with Jeff about this over the last few weeks, there are prospects you are not trading. So you don't trade those. You part ways with some of them like they did to get Luis Castillo. They gave up all their good hitters, and yet somehow they found ways to replenish them.
But a 25-year-old Isaac Paredes is going to cost you.
It might.
It's not going to cost you what Robert is.
Yeah.
It's not going to cost you Robert, but it is going to cost you.
I think you got to do some combination of both, and we'll see. And certainly things will evolve over this next month, because we do have a little over a month till the trade deadline. So the teams could be vastly different. Now, maybe in the National League, all these teams that are within 2 games, they start to falter. You might have more trade partners, more viable options outside of just the Marlins, the Rockies, and the Rays, and et cetera, of the bad that are happening right now in baseball. So there's plenty of time to get to that. We can get to that tomorrow, too. We can keep talking about that. But, Brock, we got to get to a topic that might be near and dear to your heart. We're going to rank some things.
Got a list? Time to put it in order.
Fred Dwumfor's house. Top 5 meals that I have ever had.
This is Ranked.
To be honest, that list was really biased.
Every morning at 9:45 on Brock and Salk.
Top 10 list. I'm not buying that.
Ranked.
Yeah, we're gonna do more traditional ranked. I don't know if that's allowed to happen here on this show, Brock.
No, we did it yesterday. I mean, when Salk is in Bulgaria or Brussels or wherever he is, Belgium.
Okay.
Portugal.
Did you just throw out a B name, not knowing which one?
Portugal.
Hoping you hit it.
Portugal.
He's only going to P names, Brock.
Paraguay.
Yeah, Portugal.
So he's not going to any B names.
Prussia. The old Prussia.
Hey, Brock, how about this? I think you could chime in on some of these. Now, you're going to probably pull a Dave Wyman and spoil it and go right to the end.
Pamplona.
But sports villains. What do you think? Rank some sports villains.
Sports villains?
Yeah.
Like Albert Bell? Are we talking real sports?
No,
villains?
we're talking villains in movies.
Sports movie villains.
Sports movie villains. Yes, thank you.
Yes.
Yeah. You had that idea, Justin.
Well, I was going to, just in case you switched it up at the last minute, I wasn't sure.
I have sports movie villains, and of those, there are plenty. Now,
was this because of the Celtics winning their 18th? They're kind of
I don't know. What was the
Boston's
motivation
kind
for
of
this,
villains.
Justin? Was it because of that?
No, I think this probably had to do with me meeting perhaps maybe one in the top 3 sports movie villains of all time this past week.
Ah, look at that good tease. Okay.
I don't know what's your list. I don't know which one it's going to be.
Well, Brock.
Could be an honorable mention.
Now, Kate Scott, who joined us at 7:30, she listened to the portion of the show before she was on. Sounds like you did not listen to the portion of the show before you were on. You might have been doing your quick other duties, so we'll let you go with that one. But all right, sports movie villains, and yes, Justin's right. His motivation for this is on the list. But we have to start with all varieties of honorable mentions.
Okay.
And I'm going to not Major League, where that would be the obvious one, right? The owner from the Cleveland team. You know, that's timely. The Mariners are playing there in Cleveland. No. The best sports villain out of that Major League series, Jack Parkman.
Thank you. The amount of hate I get for enjoying Major League 2.
Trying to blank stare from Brock. Thank you, Justin, for knowing who Jack Parkman is.
Jack Parkman.
White Sox legend, Jack Parkman.
Brock.
Which one was he? What role did he play?
Major League 2, Brock.
Oh,
Jack Parkman.
Jeez.
Wow.
You don't remember Jack Parkman?
I don't.
You know what? You made
now
Mora.
You get to see Left
I was
going
to say, last time you made Mora watch a movie, last time I hosted with you, you made Mora go watch a movie as her homework.
Yep.
This is your homework. You got to watch Major League 2.
Major League 2?
Played by David Keith.
Major League 2, yeah.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
There's actually a third one, too. Major League
There
back to the
was?
Minors. But, yeah.
Ugh.
Brock, your Major League knowledge.
All right. Okay. All right.
Come on. Okay. Jack Parkman. There you go. Okay. You might get this one.
All right.
How about the Warden from The Longest Yard?
Oh, what a jerk.
Yeah.
What a jerk.
There you go. It's a good movie villain. Some people might say Paul Crewe is a bit of a movie villain at the start, and then he got a heart and all that, but, Don't.
I'm worried
throw
about
games.
spoiling anything, so I'm worried if I'm going to say one of these. Your top
No,
five.
you can spoil. That's fine. That's fine. Brock, I got another.
Is John Voight from Varsity Blues on your list?
Yes,
pretty good.
it is.
What?
That's another honorable
Hey.
I
mention.
thought that was going to be too
Gosh,
specific.
what a chump.
Yeah, Bud Kilmer. No, that's an honorable mention. That's good. Yeah, we're just all Googling once. Here's one you don't have, and it just kind of came to me, not in the shower where Brock does his best thinking, but as we were sitting here before the show began. How about the
wrong.
Monstars?
You're
You
just
wanna talk
wrong
about
again.
Villains.
Lefko, you're just wrong.
What?
I don't think in the shower.
Just the tub?
Thank you.
You said this morning you were thinking about me while in the shower.
Very in and out,
Yeah.
very quick.
Okay.
For 90 seconds. But
right.
most of my thinking is where?
In the tub.
Thank
Tub
you.
time.
That's where the mariachi and metal band came together last night.
Okay. And it was brilliant. It gave us one of the greatest moments
It
in the
did.
show's history.
Yes, it did.
But the Monstars, pretty good.
The
Pretty good,
Monstars.
Lefko.
They stole all the great basketball talents from around the country. How dare they?
The Monstars?
Oh, Brock.
Space Jam, Brock.
Wow.
Gosh. What movie was that?
Space Jam.
Oh my God.
You got quite a
that's
list.
Brock,
50
this is bad.
That's 40 years ago.
It's not 40
Golly.
years ago. You
Pretty
have
close.
kids. They watch
When
Space
was
Jam.
Wildcats, Brock?
And when
But
was
that's the
Varsity
sport
Blues,
of
Brock?
kings. Better than diamond rings.
Wow.
That's football.
All right. Well,
Challengers for the ultimate game. The Monstars.
hey, the Monstars in their heyday. Don't mess with them. All right. Well,
What about Summer's
what a
boyfriend
disappointing-
in Napoleon
what a
Dynamite?
that's not a sports movie.
Oh,
It's
sorry.
not sports movie villains.
Are you sure?
You're doing your own list. If we're doing that, though, Rex Kwon Do from that movie, right? Wasn't that the Taekwondo guy?
Yes, it was.
So if we're just going way off the list, which I guess this has gotten out of hand because Brock has no idea about any of these movies.
You better start ranking. You got 3 minutes.
All
Here
right.
we go.
I mean,
Number
when
5.
they do music, Brock usually has no idea too.
All right, that's true. It's in good rank
what I
fashion.
spent my life doing? Watching game tape, okay?
You watch
Sorry.
this guy. Hey, you watch this guy. Johnny Lawrence, Cobra Kai, number 5.
Oh, put him in a body bag, Johnny.
Number
Oh.
5. That's how
Put him
good this list is.
In a body bag.
That's how good this list is. That Johnny Lawrence, some call him the true Karate Kid.
He was worse than
Have you ever
Sensei.
seen
What was his
How I Met Your
Sensei?
Mother?
Oh, that guy. That guy was a jerk.
Get him a body bag! Yeah!
Oh, I hated those guys. Hated them.
All right, number 4. It gets better. Team Iceland, Mighty Ducks 2.
Great call. Great pull. Let's go.
Thank you. You've seen that, Brock, right? Please tell me
Yeah,
you've seen
yeah.
classic America versus the World movie.
Bits and pieces. Yeah, bits
So you don't
and
like
pieces.
twos, I'm learning. You don't like the second movie
No.
of the series. Okay.
Nope.
Well,
But the fourth,
the
man, he really loves.
The fourth, yeah. You know, the
Fourth
second
ended
one
a
might
war.
be bad, but the fourth.
Fourth saved the globe. So,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay, well, here we go. So Justin ran into this guy. Number 3 on the sports movie villains list, Shooter.
Shooter McGavin, baby.
Shooter McGavin.
Just happened to
You
be
hear
at
that
a
story?
Triple A
I
baseball
did.
stadium.
I
Father's
did.
Day.
The Rainiers swept away Round Rock as well. Is that right?
I actually don't know if they swept, but they definitely that was a.
They won the
that was
game
a
you were
blowout.
at?
Yeah, it was a blowout.
Yeah.
It was really good. I just missed Max Scherzer. He was pitching the day before, and Clase took him deep. I
What
wish
was
I would've seen
the Josh Young scouting report? Does he look good? Is he
yeah,
coming
he
back
did.
soon?
Yeah, he did. And I was wondering what was going on because it got really loud when he got up to bat. And I was like, oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Josh Young rehab. Sorry. He hit a single.
And he's from San Antonio, so a couple hours away. They got up there, watched him. Number 2, White Goodman. Brock, come on.
Dodgeball.
Brock, come on.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
no. That's That's
It's the hair. It's feathered
Nobody
and lethal.
makes
Yes.
me bleed my own blood.
Exactly.
Yes,
Come on.
yes,
You
yes.
cannot top White Goodman, one of the best all-time movie villains. And
he played that role really well.
he played
Stiller.
it so well. I mean, it was kind of a heavyweights carryover. But
Better
he
in
played it
that
well.
or the Meet the Parents?
I think
better as
in
Fokker,
heavyweights.
or
no,
you think
best
so?
in heavyweights.
Oh,
Tony
really?
Perkis, the Perkis
Okay.
system. But then he carried it over very well. White Goodman, dodgeball. Number 1. This was obvious. So this, of course, is number 1. But we had to get to the rest of the list before we got to it.
Sure.
It had to happen.
Yeah.
Brock,
Had to.
It had to happen for Brock.
Yeah. I mean, even more, I would have felt really bad for Apollo Creed. Like, why do you have to die? Because if he dies, he dies.
Yeah.
Well, after watching the movie, it was just like extra embarrassing with all the hype he did beforehand.
There it is.
I must break you.
There's the list. You got it. I
Pretty good
knew
list.
you get number one. You got some
Yeah.
movies to watch, Brock.
I
That's
do.
what I learned.
I do.
So we'll,
Yeah, some
we'll
sequels
discuss.
for sure.
We'll figure it out tomorrow. But
Man, I hope our
that'll
sequel
do it
tomorrow
for
is
our
as
show.
good as our original
Yeah,
today.
I
That
know.
was
we
pretty
will try to follow
impressive.
it up. Until then, big thanks to Kate Scott and Jeff
impressive.
Passan. Bump and Stacy coming up next. Thanks for listening, everyone.
Hayes in the barn. That's where it goes, in the barn. The Hayes in the barn.
Seattle Sports, your home for Bump and Stacy.
Someone said Cal's batting .211.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
I mean, I don't think Cal needs to do much of anything. He's so clutch. Also, Cal's not your cleanup guy. Cal is your catcher. It is okay for him not to be leading your team in average.
Yeah.
Cal is doing exactly what a great catcher should be doing. He works well with your pitchers. His average is above 200, and he's leading the team in home runs. He's slugging.
Hit dingers.
I don't even want him to hit third in the lineup. Like,
Yeah.
he's a great leader in the clubhouse. That is all I want from Cal.
Streaming live on the Seattle Sports app.
You ready for a road trip? Because it's time for the Harnish Auto Family Road Trip Sales Event. Hey, Brock Hewitt here. In this month, the Harnish Auto Family is offering a chance to win a $500 road trip package from Sportco and Outdoor Emporium. Test drive any vehicle and enter for your chance to win. No purchase necessary. You'll get an extra entry when you trade in or sell your vehicle. And if you service your vehicle during the event, you'll be entered into a giveaway for a sleek solo stove. Just stop by and take a test drive for your chance to win. HarnishAutoFamily.com. People matter. See dealership for details.
Hey everybody, Bob Stelton here. I recently met with Anthony, the owner of Asset Roofing, to talk about a metal roof which can last twice as long as ordinary shingles. Asset Roofing is seeing a huge push in the market for metal roofing. They create each metal roof at their headquarters, custom to each job, and that allows them to offer metal roofs with up to a 30% discount over their competitors. Check them out at AssetRoofingCo.com.
Certified work that's never in doubt. Asset Roofing, excellence is on the house.
Guys, did you know your testosterone affects everything in your system, including how you feel and perform every day? Right now, Revive Men's Health Seattle will check your testosterone for free. Knowing your T levels is the first step in understanding if you have low T. Your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED. Maintaining an appropriate T level can change your whole life. Most men start to see changes in their hormone levels in their 30s. Experience and results matter. So what are you waiting for? Get your T levels checked today by local, experienced, and trusted men's health experts. They've helped thousands of men since 2011. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Call Revive today and schedule your free testosterone test, free exam, and free consultation. Call Revive Men's Health at 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111.